this river, and they're going to throw down Shelly just to make sure that they retain it. Ginger is going to drive her in, but we do have the wall being set up, and so it's going to have to be a different place now to get a headache. Never mind, just swings by, just bypasses the wall.
Oh,
bypasses the turret.
he
That's not what you want to see. There is the cease and desist, and
missed
Ginger will immediately get punished, but he does have the subjugate, and Zeka just kind of evaporated
Wait.
off the back end. They still get the charge.
They
How
still
hell
got
did
the
that
charge.
work? That is so odd. It looked like he missed, but maybe it was part of the play.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Absolutely. We have to.
And they won the fight. What the hecky? Oh my gosh, Jay. You're my first YouTube
really
chatter.
to assess things based on the result. Is now
And he gets out
up here
for
by Zayas, looking for the
free.
target, and doesn't finish him off. The flash from Peanut will be able to get on in there, and Zayas getting so many knockups in this fight. It is going to be the troll finally
What
going
the
down and getting punished.
hecky?
Viper is at full health in this fight.
This game is not real. This is fake.
His front line has ran out, and HLE are just trying to get themselves out of there, and Honkyu is going to say nope, as they all do take the Realm Warp. And so Zayas might be able to just buy some time here with some tunnels.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. We'll go down for sure here. We'll see who they give the kill to. Looks like it is going to be Rest. Well, maybe an opportunity here as the Dragon is started. Vi does have a good amount of damage here.
Vi is on the Drake.
They're going to get the time.
I'm not
Mayhem, Betty.
Perhaps this is an
Babes.
overestimation
There's no
of the
way.
amount of
You
damage that he
don't
can
do
do
this
because
quick
this
enough,
is nowhere near
Peanut.
close, as Rest is going to move himself in. Doggo is teleported over at the same
All right,
time.
maybe
They go
Peanut's
for massive damage onto
smites
Zeka,
are goated.
as Honkyu could be in a little bit of trouble,
Maybe
but
Peanut's
Kylin
smites
is
are
keeping
goated.
him safe. Peanut realizing
Or
that he's made
he's
a big
deceased.
mistake here as well, as Delight
I don't
gets
know
the
why he
headbutt to
thought he
save
could
his
get that
jungle, but,
dragon.
I mean, this is still just a leash, so they get soul point.
Yeah, I think Almost should be happy that they don't just outright lose the
What
game. That
is
could have been
happening?
the end of it. CFO's, what are you doing? We're not the only one thinking what is going on.
What
This
is happening?
play
What's up,
started with
Sky?
Herald being used mid.
How you doing, babe?
Yes,
God.
and I think
Okay, now bring us through.
Yes.
this
What is
genius play
happening,
from
bro?
Jojo.
The ultimate from Zeka means that there's no path. So what does he do? He goes around the roundabout, naturally. This gives him an angle, but then he misses. He misses the tower. But
Does
he
he?
knew that this would
I'm
bait
watching
them
you in
into
double.
a fight.
Does the
Clearly, that was the plan from
YouTube
the very start.
stream,
because
like,
notice Zeka's position.
that's
He gets
so
airborne. He gets
close.
airborne, and then the chain CC comes through.
How
he
does
immediately
it
dies.
still
Junja ulties,
get the
allowing him
charge off,
to buy
bro?
enough time to flash away to safety. All
No,
the
I
while,
feel like
no
the game
one
is
focused the
rigged,
Heralds.
bro.
And then here we
I
see
feel
that
like the
damage
game is
being done to
rigged.
help ourselves. How my life is enough.
No,
to
because like
already take
Munchie,
them out,
what
and then it's gonna be a
intonation?
hero play from Zayas
Does
here
the
as Doggo,
YouTube
I think
stream
they-
sound
He
okay?
really does, and especially as
And
you
look
don't need
okay?
to do that. Zayas follows up with the
Defiant,
flash,
thank you so much
doesn't
for the
quite
gifted
have the
sub.
damage,
Hope you're having a
which
gorgeous
is what
day
leads
today.
Peanut to
That
flash, and
was
I think that's what makes this
crazy.
fight awkward. If they
Alright,
have a
it's
little
good.
bit more there, if they're closer to the rest of their team, maybe Viper is in a better position to do damage.
What
but
the
Viper
fricky
isn't
is
that big in this
happening,
game.
man?
And with Zayas already as low as he was, having used all his cooldowns, staying for Peanut, and not able to get more. 3K gold lead now. Soul point for CFO. And I really wanted this to go to Freaks. Game 1 was a banger. So far, so good.
Yeah, we're looking real good for those 3 games, and we'll be looking even
go.
better
Oh, no,
if
no,
CFO can get themselves an Otacon.
No.
I got a Q on my
Steer
phone.
clear of the Otacon. This time, that engage is amazing. Just play
No,
for the fight.
no. Based on the last play that we just saw, I want
It's
someone
the first
to
one.
use
CFO is
Otacon.
fighting, it's a good thing.
You have your
Absolutely.
2 item spikes, right? You have your Renekton with level.
Kind of like the name,
the ultimate,
Herald.
2 items. You have 2 items on mid. No.
So just start a fight on Otacon.
Stop.
Hope you've been
Yes,
well
here
as
we
well,
go.
Defiant.
Well,
Thank
it's
you
going
so
to be
much,
HLE
love.
starting this fight as the wall is going to be put down. Zeka is knocked off it a little bit early, though, as Mega Inferno Bomb just pushes Viper out of the fight entirely.
Viper isn't
They do
able to
trade
play
it for
this
Honkyu,
game.
As Viper with the redemption
Viper
might be
is
able to stick around
always
for like a
running.
little bit longer, but the Otacon not going to be a target that they can collect.
So they
CFO,
kill
is this an
Honkyu.
Otacon angle?
That actually does, by the way, that ult does save the play, because otherwise Homelife is 100% playing for Otacon. Instead, because of the damage done to
Should I
Viper, they don't
put
feel
in
safe, they have to
to
back off.
interview
Honkyu, the death is unfortunate, but
for the Friday
doesn't
match?
give up too much.
Yeah, Honkyu overextends on the top side of the map. HLE overstack. Make
I
sure
can put
think
in
there
to
were 5
interview
people collapsing on the
Ben.
top lane, 'cause
Pretty
there
sure
wasn't
Zayas
really
team
much.
as well.
Oh, he did. Yeah, that explains.
And then
why
I'll put
it
in
was
to
fine.
interview
And the
T1,
reason why they
honestly.
could afford to do that was because
All of
there's nothing
T1.
really that
I kind of want to
CFO
put in
could
to
cross
interview
that for, which is
Dokla
what Honku
But I
really
feel like
didn't
Dokla is a
respect the
hot
ability
commodity
and
right
rationale
now.
for
The
HLE to
like
clash.
China
Still going.
loves
They
him.
have the TP.
He's been really catering to the China audience. China loves Dokla right now.
Or Rift Herald impression by being a void monster in the pit. As there's a flick back onto Doggo. Peanut looking for that angle there, but it is just going to be the satchel that tries
I'd
to
love
get
to
Doggo
interview
out of
Stunt, but
dodge.
he
Zeus now could be
doesn't
the one
play
in trouble with
pro.
Solar Flare. The circles are layered, and
I could
it's
just
not enough
interview him
damage.
randomly.
He just tunnels his way out, another shove to buy that space, but the Otacon down underneath half health. As HLE still wanting to go for this one. Redemption to get those health bars back again. As Peanut, can you get the steal? That's the question. He gets himself in, but it's not going to be stolen away. And down goes Peanut immediately. It's a brilliant knock-up there from Delight, but Honku is still alive somehow. And CFO are just trying to limp themselves away with the Otacon in tow.
Heist successful for CFO. They get the objective. Peanut can get the steal. And that's going to be them getting the pedals.
And you doubted CFO's Otacon.
Okay, my bad. My bad. I apologize.
CFO, after losing their mid laner, they TP back and they start the objective. It was a sketchy situation because Doggo lost so much HP, but Honku, he takes matters into his own hands. He tries to keep Peanut out of the pit. He slows him down, he makes it as awkward as possible. You can also see the satchel charge there as well. He can't quite get in range of the smite. It is secured.
I don't think he was in range. And Trundle, like, Trundle's smite is really hard to outsmite because he's got bite and smite. So if he presses it at the same time, like,
looking a little bit perplexed as to how this one's going. Is pedal count actually very, very even. So lucky for CFO that they did manage to take down the Otacon. Even that one out quite nicely, but it's not going to spell too much of an advantage just yet. 3,000 gold. Certainly a big deal here.
All right, this is Soul, guys. This is Soul.
Just Soul. And the thing that's ridiculous is that I said before that it's not exactly the most
So
popular
HLE has to stop them here.
Like, they will not die.
They love that. That's great stuff.
Everybody's got their
Their
ultimates.
kits, between the passive to subjugate. Renekton with his Q as Highwing is looking aggressively. Viper needs to do some damage. How alive? Get it low.
Well, there is the solar flare towards that backline as Junja in a bit of
oh
trouble.
my gosh, huge Ziggs ulti. Okay, Caitlyn firing. Caitlyn 2 kills. Caitlyn 2 kills. CFO having to run. Trundle the jungle is in the pit. Oh my gosh, huge engage from Delight. Viper on a rampage. Triple kill.
Of cooldowns, but is able to at least get rid of the cow. And HLE
all right, they stop it. They stop it. Well done.
And at the
well done. Well done. Well done. Well done. Well done.
CFO just don't fight the fight that they were looking for. I think a little bit disjointed as we see the ultimate comes in. But look at Viper in this fight.
The positioning was fantastic. Just keeping it arm's length away from any of the threats. The wall from Zeka dividing CFO as well, meaning that the usual in-your-face Doggo that we typically see was separated. And the moment that HLE could just play the front to back,
let's go Viper, let's go Zeka, yeah!
And just like that,
Viper still has flash. He didn't go too crazy, too stupid.
The Rex actually had a really big impact.
There we go. There we go.
Multiple members away, so he basically created 2 split fights. On one hand, Viper was completely safe, but on the other hand, the backliners of CFO couldn't join the amount of damage that was being done, and now Viper 4-1-1, and
hopefully Doggo will learn his lesson after this game to never tease or hover Samira without the full intention of locking it in.
You know, because there's so many of the situations where, you know, Zeka
but
is making interesting decisions. A lot of, like,
what if we go to game 3 and he locks in Samira because Caitlyn is off the board?
As the Mega Inferno Bomb comes down, but he takes another tunnel.
I appreciate you, Sky.
Could this just be the setup?
I appreciate you.
This is
what's
one
going
of
on,
the downturns for what we've seen from him as well, as they have just started this one up. HLE looking for an outer turret as well as Zeka on a flank angle.
Oh, they're just going to do Baron.
He doesn't want a face check, and these health bars are actually getting softened up. 50% on that Baron right now. And HLE still wanting to look for the 4 versus 5. I don't know about it, as there is a teleport available from Zeus. They need to buy some time. Only 15 seconds left to go, and they back away from the objective.
I love how the way I imagine Viper, the moment he sees his top laner dies, he takes a deep sigh and says, here we go again.
Doggo could devour
just the positioning
on
in
Samira.
that Baron pit, he was
Truly.
chipping away at Junja's HP bar. Zeka found a bit of a pick, but is he in danger himself?
No, I guess not. As Kaiwing gets on in there with the Mega Cone.
Why do you think it's unplayable?
As well as River, not
Holy.
gonna face check, gets a ward down. Peanut will be spotted, moves away. Man, these setups, it's scary. It's like jump scares waiting in every brush.
My goodness, the tension is at an all-time high, as it feels like
Range
it's Viper
diff?
versus the world right now.
Ooh,
If
what
CFO
was
can
that?
lock him down, then CFO can... I feel like there's very
Why did he
few
ult?
threats that they need to be wary about. But the challenge is getting to the Caitlyn, and we've talked a lot about it. CFO need to find quite the flank in order to do that, and you just look at the minimap and look at the vision coverage on the top side of the map. You can see
I
the
guess their
advantages.
range comes from
Is it happening
Ziggs.
again?
That's all they really have.
Ginger's going to get the flash out of Peanut. He's got a Mega Cone to get
You have to
himself
hope
to
that he lands
safety,
his
which
abilities.
is obviously what he knew he had, so that's why he was in the enemy jungle like that.
Oh no!
Oh, there's a brilliant little flick, but the headbutt pulverize doesn't work. As Delight gives him the thumbs up.
Loving the emotes today. Loving them.
Peanut and Delight in this one. Peanut giving up.
There's the bell
flash
curve of HLE, and we've had both sides.
I
of
see.
it
Yeah,
so
no,
far.
yeah, I can see that.
for not Raptors, and then Delight obviously also almost, or not getting the combo there. I want to highlight, though, looking at the item finishes, Doggo is so close to that death cap, and I do think very funny that Zeka is like, I am
so
not the
right now
carrier.
Viper
I'll go
is
Rylai's. Went that
on
second, actually. But it does mean
Collector
that for
RFC
Rest, for
LDR,
Junja, and for
very
Honky,
different
actually playing
build.
the fight
Not
gets a
gonna
lot
lie,
harder,
never
especially
seen
with
this
Viper's
build
positioning as we've
before.
seen so far. Their main range
I don't know
is
why
Doggo,
he
and
would
needs to
rush
get to that
RFC. I know the
All
thought
right, well,
process
then we
is
can start
more
a new fun
headshots,
minigame.
I like
but
games.
Doggo is, as of right
I'm-
now, 300
I just feel like
gold
IE
away
would be
from the
so
death cap.
much better.
Okay,
But
just got himself
probably
another
about
we trust
90, so now
Viper
he's
in
about
this household.
200, give or take.
I do think he is
So 200
currently
gold, needs
purchasing
200 gold from
IE
somewhere.
or working towards
He can get 200
IE.
gold. The problem is
So
the Dragon
once that
taking down, he
IE
needs
is
to get it
completed and
before
in his
this objective
inventory,
spawns. They might
I
hand the red buff over to him. You
do
can see him passing
think
down
this
right
game
now.
is wrapped
as well.
because he's going to
The
be
thing is,
one-shotting
CSGO don't really
at
need
that point.
to fight tooth and nail for the Drake, though, right? They're the
That's
team
true,
that has
you are
the
right.
sole
He
point.
also has
That's
the
balance of
ugliest
that.
skin
But it is
on
CFO.
Caitlyn
Yeah,
on
Come on now.
and equipped. Very confused at that.
Gentlemen,
CFO's the credit.
we've reached that time. He has received enough funds in order to make the purchase of a game time. I was going to say lifetime, but it's a game.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
here we go.
Maybe it's the most important Rabadon's
He's getting
purchase, though,
Rabadons,
of his
yeah.
life so far. Probably not.
Probably
but he's
not.
an 80 carry, so he doesn't buy that item very often.
Here we go. Death cap completed, level 16 as well.
All right, Junja in position now. We're getting the snap traps down, though. And HLE, they have
Also,
pulled this one
I
out. Zeka
asked
on that
about,
angle
well,
once again to try and get that
let's-
wall in.
Caitlyn.
Junja is trying to keep himself there. He's pushed all the way out. And so this dragon should go over to HLE.
Oh my
They
gosh.
Soul yet again.
They're really
But
stopping
can they win
Soul, but
themselves
can
the
they
fight as
live?
Kaiwing goes
Can they
in
live
and
through
then
this
uses
fight?
Delight to taxi his way out. They're both in that backline as Honky is delivered to the open arms of Zeka. And
Wait,
Rest
so
is
they
now just
killed their
trying to
only
slice and
ranged
dice his way out.
individual?
They'll take a crab. They get one kill, but it's exactly the one they needed.
Yeah,
And it's again
they killed
Zeus
Doggo.
in
The fight
backline
is
that is able to keep
cooked.
Doggo out of the fight, which means that even with that death cap being done, he doesn't actually get in the
Wait,
position
I think
to
you're kinda
outdo
right,
DPS.
Holy. Yeah.
If the TP comes in,
I do
CFO
see what
know
you
that
mean.
they cannot give up this Baron.
Every teleport is going to be employed
They got
to try and stop
exactly
this one
who
from
they
going
needed to
down.
get.
25 seconds
hello.
on Doggo as well, who doesn't have
All right,
teleport when
it's
he does
another
respawn.
4v5.
Still they're looking for the angle as Zeus goes in. It's a beautiful flick back, a double knock up again. The pulverizer.
Viper just auto-attacking cleanly.
As everyone is ceasing.
All right,
member of
CFO has
and that
lost.
just allows Viper
It's
to
a wrap.
shoot them. The Baron gonna go down next. It felt like a hint of desperation because CFO, it was 4 versus 5.
Hey, remember at like minute 10, I was like, okay, we're going to game 3.
Get into Mega Inferno
I don't think
range.
he can. He's
Come
gonna
on, come on,
try.
come on.
And now I'm saying it's wrapped.
Oh, well, it's down to
It's
2,000 now.
gone.
He's not going to be able to get there.
Oh,
And it probably wasn't going to happen anyway.
Yeah,
There's a
that was
large
supposed to be the
circle
swing.
saying, "I am
Maybe if
throwing
he
down
wasn't the
Costreamer."
only person that got caught here, I actually want to
Just
rewatch this and watch
fantastic once again
Doggo
to split up the
exclusively.
fight. Rest
Oh, no,
comes
and
in from
Ginger
the flank.
Flash in between the
Yes, he
wall and the
does.
wall.
Zay, if
It's
it
so
wasn't for
awkward for
Zeus,
Ginger to
maybe
get
they
into the
don't
pit,
win
and then
that
look at
as
the
hard as
backline.
they do.
Viper
But
is
Zeus
not under
found
threat.
his
This is what we
freaking
talked
mark
about. They
like
cannot get on top of
perfectly.
it. Meanwhile, Delight and Zeus, the Bash
But
Bros
like,
on the
does
back
anybody
line
like?
make it so difficult
Is anybody
for Doggo to
surprised
play
by
the
that? I
game?
don't think
By
so.
the time we come
Like
to the
Zeus
Baron,
is
the numbers
him.
are not in their favor. The flick from Zeka again. The quiet carry of Zeka this game.
Facts. Yeah, he's been getting his cheeks
That's the one I'm looking for. His
tooketh.
shoves have been fantastic. His walls have been on point.
You know how J4 has like one of the worst win rates in Worlds, but HLE played J4 last game and won, and Rek'Sai also has a really bad win rate in Worlds, and now they're about to.
Get away from him and into the open arms of the damage.
For CFO, the wave play was amazing that they do have right between the Rise, who obviously does need to get into range, but especially with the Ziggs. So they might be able to stall it out. They need to be very careful, though. I think they really need to exercise restraint to get another shot, because Hanwha Life is not going to win the game off of this just as Baron push if they're not able to actually break open the base, and they are not even
This is so cute, though. I love his little waddle.
Well, you've got Zeus in that mid lane.
Just
CC eaten by a tunnel.
Let them have the turrets. It's okay. Come on, CFO. Oh, my game free.
See whether we can get there. Another double shot comes on through, though, as Zeka. I think he just wants to go back to the hotel, Chronicle. I don't think he wants to give you that game number 3 as Junja down so incredibly low. Peanut to try and set up here as well. The solar flare is decent, but the shove, the knockups all over the place, just chained so beautifully by HLE. They'll use that to take down this inhibitor turret. And no Crocodile to stand in that front line and defend. The inhibitor might actually be defended, though, as we can see here. That's not going to go down just yet, but they have now broken open the base. A 6,000 gold lead here for HLE as well.
Yeah, that's kind of tough. Not gonna lie.
As the siege continues, Delight gets the headbutt in triple pulverize one more time as it's Zeus that assassinates Doggo yet again.
Trundle tried to do something to Viper and it was truly embarrassing. Not Zeka lives with less than 100 HP.
And they were asleep at the beginning of this game. But no, it looks like it's going to be a 2-0 and our second.
Yay, go Zeus! 100 international wins. Congrats.
Peanut's last dance is still alive.
I mean, it felt like HLE figured out the formula. The use of Zeka's ultimate to just break apart CFO's composition to make it hard for them to leverage their poke, really bring anything together,
to quarterfinals,
so they could play the fights the way that they wanted to. And Viper, I mean, you see what happens when you let this man do what he wants to do.
Oh, look at Peanut smiling.
The good things we saw off CFO, right? Their ability to go for these fights. They're big plays, but the fact that Zeka is actually arrived at Worlds, for me, is the main takeaway for Hanwha.
Yeah, the lock-in from Zeka, absolutely ridiculous in this series and has got them to the knockout stage.
I do too. I love that for Peanut.
Out of HLE, phenomenal performance out of HLE. They told me the Great Wall was in
this
Beijing,
is supposed to be his last Worlds. He's supposed to be doing military after this.
And over again. Zeka just keeps on building the wall bigger.
How
like we found it
cute.
yesterday. Apparently there's 17 parts to the wall, and I think I just saw 18 of them built today. It was absolutely insane from Zeka. This man was beautiful
even win
with the way he was able to
one
set up those
game.
fights and isolate everyone on CFO.
Not just that, I think there's a lot of props to be given. We saw it there, the 100 international wins. Is that correct? That was correct.
Yeah,
when I was saying it, I was like, that's crazy.
It is.
So,
I know why, because I just saw it in our HyperX Reflex replay when they have to stop CFO.
I can't think when other people are talking, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, let's see this actually.
The bounce house bros. You see
If it wasn't for Zeus, man.
Delight comes in, knocks him up again. Zeus gets his ult off into the E just enough before
Just in time.
there. They assassinate him. But my favorite part about that replay was
Okay.
Zeka's wall bumping Junja.
So HLE has officially advanced to quarterfinals. So they have officially made it. Ooh, Zeus need to update this picture, baby. Zeus, babe. Babe, with haste. We gotta update that one, baby. We gotta update that one. You are too much of a cutie patootie to be having a picture like that. Anyways. What was I saying? I'm fully distracted by that. Hanwha has now officially advanced to the next stage for Worlds 2025. Next up is FlyQuest versus G2. Next is FlyQuest versus G2. If FlyQuest wins, they automatically advance to quarterfinals. They automatically. Next is quarterfinals, right? I'm not just making that up. I'm not just making that up, right? Yes, next is quarterfinals. Okay. So yes, the next series we're gonna see is G2 versus FlyQuest. Hopefully it's a quick 2-0. Hopefully Inspired leads us to victory. Hopefully Quad pops off. Hopefully Whippo doesn't int. Hopefully Hansama runs it down. Hopefully Broken Blade runs it down. I mean, there's a lot of hopefullys that are here to be done. A lot of hopefully. Hopefully Bucio gets his bard and pops off. Hopefully Masu locks in Kaisa and doesn't int on Lush. A lot of hopefullys. A lot of hopefullys. I'd be fine with Whippo inting. Yeah, but like we also want to advance, right? And that will decrease our chances at advancing because Lil Miss Caps wants to win. Lil Miss Caps wants to win. So I just hate how none of them smile. I know they're told not to smile, but like Caps is doing a little smile. Anybody close to... Oh, we got some people close to Binko. Okay, Sailor Moon, what you need? You need somebody to throw or get aced at Otacon. Okay. Okay, I see you. Anybody else close to Bingo? Anybody else? Anybody else 1 away? Okay, you need Ocean Soul and an insane outplay by somebody. Ooh, who's this? Lalina? Broadcast, freeze, or skip, or there's a delay. Okay, okay, okay. Who else? Anybody else close? Anybody else close? Lucian pick, Jinx pick. Oh, babes. Wrap it up. Due to unfortunate circumstances, you might have to choose another row, Pookie, because with the way that these hoes been playing, they stingy with they picks. They are stingy with they picks. Okay, so we got like 2 people who are close to Bingo. We got 2 people close to Bingo. I'm rooting for y'all. I'm rooting for y'all. I am rooting for y'all. The idea of Inspired losing the skew on sounds ridiculous. I just know Inspired is about to carry. I just know. For Masu, it's Quirky, Zaya, and Varus and Ezreal. I just, his Kaisa is really good. His Kaisa is really good, but I feel like we're gonna see him play Yanara, unfortunately. And I just don't want, no, you're good. That's right, chill. I just feel like Yanara is not T, you know? Wait, you feel sick? Solar, I hope you feel better. Yeah, so today is a 6x6. I'm kind of seeing like if we like the 6x6, does it make it like super duper hard, or does it make it accurately or like appropriately timed? Oh, anxiety. I'm terrified, Solar. Terrified. Do we have to be an NA to participate in bingo? No, I know of ways to like get RP to other regions. The thing is, Riot Games has said that they want to like sponsor the bingo. So with Riot Games giving out RP, like I don't think it'll be a problem if you're in a different region. Somebody has already won from Latin America, so. I'm so nervous for this game, y'all. I'm so nervous for this game. I'm gonna go get a broom. I want to sweep the floor. So I will be right back.
Welcome to the match you've all been waiting for, the legendary face-off of EU versus NA, the battle for the best in the West, made assault flow endlessly. It's FlyQuest versus G2, the first seeds up versus each other for a spot in knockouts with an amazing panel that is, I hope, as excited as I am. Welcome, Azale.
Thank you. I'm hot dropping in for some EU versus NA.
All right.
The desk.
I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
I actually wanted to, but then Kobe came up to me and he looked me in the eye. I was like, Chronicler, come on, buddy. And that's why I'm here. I can't wait, and I have no emotional investment. And I'm not gonna lie.
That's a lie.
I am.
That is a lie. That's a lie.
I'm feeling great.
May God bless
I'm just here.
FlyQuest.
Talk about some League of Legends.
True. Maritz works in the LCK.
And
which
God
is
bless
better
NA.
If LCK is
Despite
not
being
in the
tough.
match.
Hey,
So
hey,
it's
sometimes.
2v2.
My
Sometimes.
floor is
It's just so that's even, you know. It's
Okay,
Pretty dirty.
Okay.
Anyways, Azale, give us your 2 cents then, because it used to be all about EU, but NA has been winning so much over their counterparts in the last couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, since the NRG upset over G2, it's actually 13-4
They broke 'em.
internationally
They broke 'em.
for NA over EU. Has been going really, really well for us. But I gotta say, it's always that feeling of stress, because then it's like, wait, it's gonna feel so bad if we lose now. I got used to success and I like it.
But I think the thing is, that trio that we saw at MSI was, for game 1 and game 2, incredibly close. It was so back and forth, and then you kind of got smashed in game 3. But I think this G2 has...
He had to say all that.
Minor region versus major region clash. You know, you think
Stop,
you're
cue
close.
the tweet, yes.
I think it is a case of like G2 stepping up over the course of the year and finally winning a title.
He had to
They're
say
now
all
the
that.
second seed, and now we're gonna have to see if they're gonna be able to take it against FlyQuest here.
Yeah, Maurits,
Like
I
the
think for
candles,
FlyQuest, we know
candles
what we are
have
getting.
been
They are
lit.
incredibly strong. They hold the head-to-head for this best in the West title, and for G2 it is, can you be better? Can you show that you have become better?
And for me, it not only like to stay a bit more recent, for me it goes to that series we saw last year, which obviously left me with a lot of trauma, which was the FlyQuest Gen G series.
Yeah.
Because that really, even though I rated FlyQuest, for me came out of nowhere because Gen G had been so untouchable up to that point. And we know that G2 have had those glimpses, right? Some of the series against TES, for example, come to mind. But I think both teams still have a lot of opportunity to oscillate one way or another because of the little, relatively, we've seen of them thus far because of the best of one.
What I'm hearing is 3 games. I love it. And this
yes.
match,
I honestly
this match
do
does
think
also
that
feature
this
a clash
series will
between
go
2 of
3
the best
games.
players in the West.
I do believe
Today in the featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz, Inspired and Caps fight for a spot in the quarterfinals in our latest installment of NA versus EU.
Come on,
Hailed as the
NA.
best in the West right now, the Polish jungler
Come on,
has
bro.
had G2's number for a while, sweeping them 3-0 only a few months ago at MSI.
Caps makes his way in with a TP. Broken blade flashing away, barely staying
EU
alive.
versus EU imports. Crazy work.
Are gonna get wiped. FlyQuest.
But you're not wrong.
Moment instantly.
G2, however,
But you're not wrong.
Player of all time on their side. And despite EMEA looking weak as a whole, you can never count Caps out. He will make the necessary sacrifices to achieve victory.
Caps is a good player.
Will Caps be able to carry G2 out of Swiss for the first time? Or will Inspired repeat their MSI performance and secure FlyQuest a spot in the quarterfinals?
On Inspired!
Our featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz, Inspired versus Caps. And I know, Azale, that you also had a tweet about these two, right? Specifically citing their kind of level and what they should be called.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think so many people are just conflating like what greatest of all time is versus the best player now. And I think that is what these two players are. Caps, to me, is by far away the greatest Western player of all time. I don't think it's close, but I think Inspired is the best Western player this year, today, current form. I think he's the king.
You know what they say, if you can't beat him, go to another region and beat them from there. That's exactly what Inspired did.
Best ever?
What a great matchup, and there's so many to talk about. We don't have that much time. If you had to name one, maybe Busio, maybe Skewmon, what can he do versus Inspired? Give me your one take.
I mean, it's Busio versus Lebrov. I want to see who takes over in the early game. Lebrov's been stepping up. Can he keep it going?
It's true. That's going to be such a deciding factor today. Let's see, of course, how the fans have voted in our MasterCard.
Whenever they say Lebrov, I think they're saying like LeBron.
Because if there's a euphoria,
Ollie's so cute.
Close. Very
edge
close.
to G2 in this one.
I think that's fair. We're basically looking at 50-50.
Yeah.
And
Aww.
I'm expecting it to go to distance today. I also expect that for last series I was wrong, but Vetty actually called it at the top of the day, and he's saying a 2-0. So I'm a little worried. I think he's wrong though. I think we are actually going to see it. And for me, one of the things that I want to highlight, as you already asked, for me, Inspired, that man got praise from Canyon. And let me tell you, Canyon basically doesn't say anything ever in interviews. He's just like, I love Canyon. One of my favorite junglers of all time, arguably the most, but he doesn't say a lot. So when he praises you, that's big deal.
It's true, big words to live up to. Let's take a look at our predictions. We had to do it for this one. I will just preface mine by saying I voted against them a lot. Oh, actually, we have a little bit more time, but I will still, I'll bring up our predictions later because that does mean that we have a little bit more time.
We got our predictions right now.
Never mind, spoiler alert. Oh, they're gone. Well, we're going to bring it up again later.
Okay,
that does
if you've
give us a
got
little bit more time to maybe
broadcast,
talk about some of the finer points of this matchup.
broadcast
I know
mess
that
up.
we're talking about Inspired versus Caps, but Azale, is there something that is on your mind that you think is going to make this close that you haven't said yet?
I mean, I think the creativity from G2 is kind of like what is most concerning to me. I do think that, you know, like over the last couple of years,
broadcast
looking
mess
purely
up.
at form, I think FlyQuest is the better team.
Yeah.
But we saw how good G2 looked in that game against BLG, and I think largely it was because of the creativity of their draft. I think they completely headshot BLG in draft. The Poppy and Nivea, the Braum made it so impossible for them to fight through, and I think they're really creative, so that's something that I'm always worried about going up against G2.
Yeah, and I think if it's me, I'm worried about Busio. Like, I kind of got to hit on a little bit, but this guy has been incredible. And honestly, like, I know Inspired gets so much praise in this team, but Busio has been holding this team together for me in the early stages. He's been impeccable. His early game roams have been fantastic. His ability to play around mid lane has been great.
I was talking to you earlier, wasn't I, Sproutsy, on TikTok?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Busio got a little bit of a raw deal because we did, for MVP, it was MVP of the year, which I think Inspired rightfully won. If it was MVP
Wait, do they
of the
actually
split,
have a direct
I think Busio wins. And I think he was the best performer of the split.
And if it's MVP here at Worlds, I think that story continues. I think Inspired has been a little quiet, honestly, in the early stages, but Busio has been holding down the fort, and it feels like nothing happens on this map without Busio being involved in some way.
I still have
I didn't even
nightmares
notice.
from MSI and from that Bard. I will just say it, it's true. I think also for FlyQuest, I think in an interview also, by the way, he did say like, oh no, we don't think about EU. Like we're thinking about beating the LPL or the LCK teams. The good thing for FlyQuest is you don't have to, just like last year. You can actually just beat EU and make it into the knockouts. And I think for them, they need to take advantage of this draw because you don't want to run the risk that you have to face a stronger opponent later. For G2 goes the same, but they of course already did beat BLG. But it's not easy if you end up back in that 2-2 pool, right? For nobody.
I mean, you could potentially have T1, BLG, CFO, like so
Hi,
many of these teams that
is
are
BLG still considered a strong opponent?
100 times better than T1.
Yeah,
you know,
beat BLG, you know,
Boy, maybe.
It's okay, Azil.
Do we?
Right?
Hi, do we still consider BLG a strong
but it's almost
opponent?
too perfect, isn't it, Azil? They've always beaten them. There's not really a rivalry anymore. They don't even care about them. They only care about LPL and LCK.
They seem to get their cheeks taken very easily.
Happen.
I actually want to piggyback off of that point, because for me, one of the big differences between now and MSI, although best of 5
Just wanted
will
to
feel different
ask
from best
that
of 3
one.
as well, is the performance
2 more games.
Hell yeah. Is the
Sometimes.
performance of Broken
One more
Blade
game.
specifically. I
Yeah.
think Broken Blade really is a player that I hold in high regard when it comes to top laners from the West, and I think that he really didn't have a great MSI. I think what we've seen of him thus far does give me room to believe that that might be a bit of an equalizer as opposed to what we've
Rumble?
seen in that series.
Yeah, and I do also want to highlight like how much Scuman and Labrov have been difference makers now. Like when you look towards finals, Labrov played out of his mind against MKOI, and he's talked about in interviews how much he's been getting help from the G2 staff on how to deal with pressure and how to perform under these situations. And I think that's why even now on the world stage, we're still seeing him have some fantastic performances. And Scuman as well has really integrated into the team. So even like in games where Caps is not performing, G2 can still look great and win playoffs and win
So no
finals,
tatted
which is
men,
not
huh?
something we've been able to say about this team all
For
year
the
long. I think that's why it's a very
tatties.
different form of G2 coming into this series today.
For the
Yeah, I mean,
tatties,
honestly, I
tatties.
just feel like I haven't learned anything about FlyQuest at this event, which is part of the problem for me, you know,
Yeah?
as far as seeing like current form. We had like an
That's
absolute
facts.
stinker of a game against T1 where it just felt like Inspired wasn't even there. And then we had
Facts.
2 games against teams that were heavily favored against where they kind of got the job done and it's expected results. So I just don't feel like I've learned anything new about this team so far.
I see what you mean. They really have to show you what they are made of in this one. Let's head over to those predictions. I will just say in the past, maybe I've always been delusional, and I'm still delusional today. Broken Blade said Delulu is the Salulu. So if I don't believe, then what is that 6? What is that?
Oh, it's predictions. Sorry, I thought they were asking me how many years it's been since G2 has beaten NA team in a series. 2019. 6 years.
How many times did you play him?
Did I misunderstand the assignment
Like
here?
Bucio
I'm sorry,
said,
I'm sorry.
like Bucio said, G2 just wants to beat an LPL team or an LCK team.
Come
I
on
mean,
to
are we
this
trusting
desk.
this guy who can't even read?
What about you? What about you?
I think it's 2-1 G2, I'm fully honest.
Them. The casters.
All right. So.
Crazy
I've,
work.
changed jobs. I was a play-by-play commentator. I am now playing mediator. Moving into today's match. And,
Let's go, buddy. Let's go.
I think the hat doesn't really help for the intimidation factor here,
Oh, it
Kirby. I may
does.
have,
It provides cushioning in case maybe he lands any headshots.
does help on that front, as we do have the players walking out. G2 got skipped, unfortunately.
If FlyQuest loses, they will be up for elimination. They won't get eliminated. So this is a promotion match, so whoever wins will be promoted to quarterfinals for Worlds. Just like last game, CFO is not eliminated from Worlds, but they are now officially in danger of going home. So their next best of 3 series will have to result in a win if they want to stay at Worlds. Otherwise, they will be eliminated. For this game as well, FlyQuest versus G2. Whoever wins will be promoted on to that quarterfinals. Whoever loses will not go home quite yet, but they will be in danger of elimination upon their next best of 3.
Firstly, this is a fantastic opportunity,
No
but
problem.
2 years ago, when G2, when all of Europe thought that it was a free ride into the quarterfinals, reality struck hard and they lost 2-0 to
Are we gonna
NRG.
consider
So I think
Inspired
that all
a
of Europe is
Tatty
very
Zaddy?
cautious right now.
Because I
We saw the
did
fan
just
prediction
see
being slightly in
a
favor of
tattoo.
G2. But yeah, it's going to be
Do
an
we
interesting
consider
one
Inspired
as
a
we're getting
Tatty
ready for draft.
Daddy?
Yeah, I do like that you try and claim underdog status after
I just
having
don't consider that
positive
man a
side on the
Zaddy.
predictions. That was it's very well
Oh, my
played,
predictions
Vedius.
are delusional.
But he is
That is a whole
Tatty.
motif.
Yeah, I don't know about. He's like, oh yeah, everyone's really cautious. I'm like,
But like, is anybody with a tattoo
It hasn't
a
necessarily been
Tatty
represented
Zaddy?
in the predictions, but that is just fine. We are getting so close though. And
He's
here
a
we are
tatty
into
baddie,
Champions
not a
League, powered by
tatty
Omen and
daddy.
HyperX.
Okay.
And gentlemen, let's see whether
I'll co-sign
FlyQuest
that.
Be able to use this blue
I'll
side to their
co-sign
advantage.
that.
Already, the Pigeon going to be taking away at the Orianna as well. So in our previous series, that was the first.
You said
midlane
you
matchup.
loved
That
him
was
over
that
Faker though.
Now
Yeah,
that
now you're
Sion
full of
is looking so
cap.
much in priority, I'm curious as to whether or not G2
I will not co-sign that. All right,
because we know
lock in G2.
We also know that things like Trundle, and we've seen Kled,
lock out G2. My bad. Lock in FlyQuest.
So
let's go.
Fly is happy to
let's
let
go.
It go through so that G2 can take it for themselves. I wonder where it will fall.
Nah, my lips are dummy capped.
Depends on pick order there for sure. As you're going over, especially if Trundle is up.
Right. Like, why am I rooting for G2 all of a sudden?
In this match, because G2 red side opting to ban it. I think that is going to become a lot more prevalent. Red side opting to ban.
Yeah, you might get a Bard pick or a Bard ban, honestly.
Really prove otherwise. You know, the Ambessa counter pick hasn't quite been as effective.
Inspired is definitely tatty, but is he zaddy?
Of course, still is a very big one. Yeah, Cap showing the LeBlanc. This is one of the things that you know, we were talking about leading up to this series. Was going to be some of the things that Caps can use to put pressure on Quad, because Quad is a very predictable champion pool, especially with Orianna and Azir taken out. You know, he really does like to almost always sit Quad on these control mages that are all very, very similar, and so they don't want any of these like LeBlanc plus, you know, kill oriented jungle pressure.
Personally, I don't like the idea of calling him a tatty zaddy.
Be locked in first because we're not trusting that Kaiser hover just yet.
The jury is out on that one. Yeah.
Pro players have a 51.2% win rate on their birthday. And it's Busio's birthday today.
I like that. Any extra odds in our favor? That's slightly above average. Let's go.
I like to think because it's a 52% fan vote prediction for G2 in their favor, this pushes it back to completely even. I can't do math, so that does help.
Well, the Wukong is definitely something that FlyQuest have put a lot of effort into. They've used it over and over. Very comfortable style for them because they like to have Inspired really focusing on the farm, being very efficient. And so they invest.
They locked it.
Yeah, they're going to steal away the Bard. This is a good strategy against FlyQuest in Fearless mode, because then Busio is not going to be able to obviously use it later on. This is just a best of 3, so it's not super long Fearless, but it's still Fearless for the rest of it.
But it's an interesting approach for sure, because very rarely do we see teams deliberately prioritizing champions that what they know could be a threat in the series. We've seen Lebrov's Bard before, but to first pick it is quite a surprise from G2. This is a very different look, and for Skewmond, he is that, I mean, him and Inspired are very comparable in their approaches, so for him to also pick this like heavy utility team-orientated Maokai, while we've seen it from him before, it is a surprise to see them lock it in so early in the draft.
Yeah, and we saw a lot from them at MSI, and it still did not save them versus FlyQuest. Good thing too about Busio, he's not just a Bard one trick, so they go with the Alistar instead, who has been such a huge engage support here.
And Quad hovering his favorite champion, which is, of course, the Cassiopeia. That's where he rose to notoriety, but instead we'll be locking away the far more comfortable and meta picker here in the Taliyah.
Question is, how do you round things out now for Caps? Thinking about what mid laners are available, he could... No, I mean, normally we'd see, for Caps specifically, Tristana would be something, but I don't know if it's really great in the current meta. Yone is a possibility, but again, into what FlyQuest have drafted, I question whether or not that makes a ton of sense.
Gonna make you keep guessing.
Yeah, I wonder how deep in the pool we'll have to go.
We're not guessing.
Oh, I see. The new tech, Caitlyn mid. Let's see
no, it's old tech, isn't it? That's season 1 tech.
We're going way back now. I mean, Caitlyn Bard lane on the bottom side, you know, into the Alistar, they are going to have priority. Is going to give some time for roams as well.
I wonder if Corki's going to make its way to the ban table. Thinking about things that can do well, Varus is another one that Hans Sommer already brought out against BLG. Just that extra bit of range can match up. Ezreal is something that's also quite safe, and also, given we know how much Busio likes to roam, could be an option for Marsu. But they're going to need something. Alternatively, they could just look for an early swap as well to just avoid the Caitlyn lane completely.
Yeah, I also like, you know, possible Ashe or something for Masu. Hawkshot, really valuable for this squad, playing against a roaming Bard. Trying to scout out some of these movements.
He's sweeping up her LPs everywhere. It's all on the floor, man.
Yeah, but they're global as well alongside the wall.
Yeah, the Poppy band though, of course, you know, you're running Alistar and Wukong. So that one's definitely pretty straightforward.
About Cassante blind top as well. We'll have to wait and see what direction Whipper will go on that top side, as G2 seem to be focusing 80 carries.
He's just gonna pick Mordekaiser.
Like, don't like fire.
Yeah, I guess they want to limit the amount of backline threat that Hans Sommer's going to be put under. I feel like
just gonna pick Mordekaiser
for us.
Honestly, that's not really a big deal for Blippo either. Like, Blippo does not care about that.
I was going to say, Rumble was not going to be a contested pick for me in this series.
One last ban to come through from FlyQuest. We'll see what they are going to be taking away here, whether it is going to be still just aiming towards that top side. Brookblade's champion pool is relatively wide, but still going to be taking away the Renekton. Things that are blind pickable, they do want to remove to make sure that it's Caps that is going to be giving away his option there in that mid lane. Of course, already quad with his champion locked in, so it's not necessarily the most important, as that's a Graves.
That would be very interesting.
I think they're just hovering it, surely.
Surely they're just hovering
Maokai support, maybe?
The time has been out for a long time, and it is finally going to be switched
calm
over
down,
to
calm
Victor.
down.
Love the brief little delay there to make sure that we're as baited as possible.
I love too. This just like, oh, they hovered it for
CFO
a long time.
lost.
Everyone starts theory crafting. All right. Is this going to be a a Graves lane like later?
I just had like Canna flashbacks of like Graves top that meta, like 1,000,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And by 1,000,000 I mean 4. It still feels like a long time.
I feel like Ambessa could be a pretty strong top lane option right now, along with the Cassante. But it looks like Bwipo's going for the more defensive approach. And that's going to be locked in. So now we're looking around out with an AD carry. We talked about a bunch of options. Vayne, I think, would, strictly speaking, be quite bad.
Yes.
Into Caitlyn, yeah. That would definitely be painful. But Vayne, then you could do it in the solo lane,
True,
and you could
do
like
the swap, you're right.
force the top lane AD carry swap extended. But
I hate the Corki, bro.
Very solid options. Corki.
So tired of the Corki.
Auto mobility, long range poke, ties in nicely with the Taliyah. And it's looking like a very well-rounded, straightforward comp from FlyQuest.
Yeah, I think the key that you kind of hit on there was the mobility for Corki. Okay. You're facing the Bard and the Maokai, so definitely want that.
Yunho, they're not eliminated though. We do still love CFO, despite their actions tonight. We do still have a soft spot for them in our hearts. They're not eliminated from Worlds, but they are up for elimination now. Okay, Gwen.
It's pretty ridiculous.
I see you, Pookie.
G2 have drafted a very traditional front-to-back composition. I think that
so yeah, they are up for elimination, but they are not eliminated.
I don't even know if there's even much options to use that prio. Don't be surprised to see G2 set up a split map early on.
Let me go ahead and click in to interview Ben, Kyria, and maybe Doran.
Backline access will Inspired have alongside the Cassante. Because if you take out Hansama, a lot of the damage is going to disappear, and this Cassante won't die if there's no Caitlyn to melt through it.
And this is a very fun statistic.
Is tomorrow when T1 gets swept away? T1 plays on Friday, Jay.
80% win rate. Inspired 16-4 on Wukong. Also 80% win rate. A battle in the jungle.
Can we get a fun champion once? I'm saying.
His career. So,
I'm
I mean,
literally
that could
saying.
be going down, or he could be 10-0 and getting there at Worlds. That would be absurd.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a comp that FlyQuest are very, very, very comfortable
100 Thieves versus T1, and then
surprises in game number 1.
BLG
so
versus
I do have to feel confident from the FlyQuest
VKS,
side,
which is...
the fact that they know their enemy quite well at this point, too, for G2. I guess the Bard is a little bit of a wrinkle, and we'll see how well Labrov can play the Bard in this game versus Busio versus FlyQuest, and see if we can actually, have that, improvement from Labrov, from Skumont here to make this different from
Let's go, FlyQuest.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're under the rift for game number 1 of this EU versus NA battle. FlyQuest, I think probably feeling pretty good about this draft, but I think the same thing is going to be the case on the G2 side. So this is exactly what we wanted. Even footing. Moving into game number 1, and let's see where the shenanigans will arise.
I guess I'm just a little surprised by how scaling-orientated G2 have gone. Traditionally, I expect them to have a little bit more skirmishing power, at least given how they've recently been playing in summer. So to see them lean more towards this, as Hansama has matched the swap on the top side of the map. So now that Caitlyn versus Corki is going to happen, whether Marsu wants to or not.
All right, and as we can see here, it was what we were talking about. It's like
hopefully the Rek'Sai top is a free win.
Yep.
We've nailed it.
Both of them up here matching the AD carry swap. So Caitlyn with the long auto attack range and trying to use brush there for the headshots. See about the push on bottom side though as well. So G2 getting the push on bottom side as well as the push on top side with their Caitlyn.
Knockups, knockbacks, all sorts of things happening.
The lane
here
swaps always mess me up,
If you were
man.
to adjudicate these 2v2s, how are we feeling?
I think Broken Blade and Labrov should have the push simply because Labrov is the only one with a ranged attack.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
He just gets the kind of
Corgi buds drive me nuts. They're so cute.
I think that once a couple levels,
They kind of chunky.
Control.
They kind of big.
Once they get more levels, it'll be better. More levels, good. Blind goes bot lane.
Love it.
Alistar not known for his level 1 prowess
They
at
kind
all.
of big.
Level 2 looking all right, though, as we can see. Bit of a pushback, but we don't want to watch that. Don't want to watch that because Labrov going for an early roam. Does get the meep slap,
he
doesn't land
misses.
the Cosmic Binding, so Quad is going to be okay.
I accidentally said Busio is starting to move. That's how I'm so much used to seeing his
Busio's moving too!
Yeah, he is moving. Look at him go. As we get the flash away here, as Broken Blade getting himself out of there. He is not, it's not his turret that's there in this 2v1, and so does have to use the flash to avoid being headbutted to death.
So
I get asked that a lot because I think Chim Chim is a Nigerian snack. But no, that is not why.
An early ward is utilized though. The pings have come down onto Busio as he looks for a bit of a roam. Oh, I say a ward. There is no ward. They're just reading the play very well. He's covering.
Pick with how many C's? At least 4.
Making sure the Quad gets through it safely.
At least
it looks
4.
like he's going to do just that.
So Masu with the early back on the Corki to get the tier purchase from the push from Caitlyn. And Hansama, the Caitlyn doing really well up there in the answered one-on-one swap. So Masu is going to be in a lot of pain. This wave is pushing away from him, pretty low on the CS count overall. And even though he went back to get a purchase, it's just a tier. That's not combat power for him.
Not going to quite be helping, but it does help the scaling. Trying to get to that 2-item spike as quickly as possible. Bit of a 2v1 here, but it looks like Broken Blade is going to be feeling just fine as Caps is just eradicating the waves over and over again. And I'm feeling like if this game remains pretty slow, G2 are probably going to be pretty happy with it. Right now, Labrov moving towards his top side. Master going to have to get out of there. Valkyrie employed nicely. Some more biffo here towards the bottom side of the map.
So just a small jungle thing is that Inspired did a full clear, got the Scuttle Crab on the top side, went back to base, and is now picking up his Krugs. However, for Skewmond, he started on his Wolves. He doesn't have the same wave clear speed as the Wukong does, but what he does do is once he grabs the bot crab, he immediately goes back
I guess
to the
I need to try it one day.
already. So he's actually on pace in terms of jungle clear. He just hasn't had an opportunity to go back to base yet, which I imagine he's now going to do, impressively keeping up with the Wukong early clear.
Yeah, so just a clean re-clear for Inspired. He'll end up towards this top side. And again, the top side is kind of the success story so far for G2 with the Caitlyn prowess in the 1v1. And we'll see if Masu can recover here because stacking up his tier, but is going to be pretty low if they do have that early skirmish up there. Of course, the Wukong is going to need another scuttle after the re-clear to try and get to the level 6.
Yep, Turtle Port meant that we had to wait a really long time for that seismic shove as flash out from Labrov. Didn't want to get pulverized there.
Nice flash. So that was very reactive. Yeah, this is game 1 of the second series of the day. There's only 2 series. This is the second one. This is game 1 of best of 3.
Just naturally as this game goes on. As BB having fun with these tunnels, moves back towards the bottom side once
He's
again.
too good, Holy.
It's a very stock standard, slow early
Go,
game.
Fly, go, yeah.
Both top laners continue to trade HP back and forth, but as you rightly said, really a lot of this gold advantage going the way of Hansama.
Yeah.
And once Caps catches this wave in mid, it should equalize the gold in the mid lane matchup as well.
You know what they say, Atlas, your network is your net worth. It's usually a business term. But for Rek'Sai, it's also true because that allows you to escape ganks. And so you pre-make your network of tunnels to allow for outplays for later. You know, it's an investment.
This is facts.
I love it. I actually hadn't heard that analogy before.
Yeah.
Well, BB currently has like 1 tunnel, so we're going to need to increase that network.
Is not that big
but like, does like more tunnels equal more tunnels? You know, is it exponential?
It is about quality of tunnel too. Yeah, so
okay.
you know, going inside of the
all
Dragon Pit.
All tunnels aren't born equal. Is that sort of how it works?
Yeah, quite. Okay, let's see. Top side here. This has been pain for me to watch, and it looks like it's going to continue to be pain.
Yeah, Busio is like, I don't want to take this, but I will. And does, and still they are looking a little worse for wear. Headbutt Pulverize here, as Busio does go in, but it's like when it happened, I was like, I don't know whether this ends well for them. But there weren't too many
thank you
other
so much
options.
for the raid. Hope you're having a good day today. Hope your games are going well. Yeah, Jamal, you were just talking about Will.
Probably utilized his,
hope you're having a beautiful day. Hope your games went well. And I hope you get you some good sleep, fam. Y'all, Will drove us to and from TwitchCon, a freaking trooper. A freaking trooper.
Yeah, he's just sort of taking
Appreciate him so much.
Whippo, but there's those tunnels. That one probably not going to stick around, and oh no.
Tunnels all over the map, low key.
You'll notice
Holy.
do a lot is actually just move into that tri-brush to see if the Tremor Sense will pick up anyone roaming towards the bot side of the map. Also keeping his eye on the Dragon in case Inspire tries to start that one off. But it's been a very timid start for both junglers. As nice knockback.
Yeah, Quad finding the angle of the double pulverize, but there's not very many people here to follow up.
I feel like Bucio is getting at least 2 people in every pulverize that he does.
Yeah,
low key.
Looks like FlyQuest at least going to start up
every
these
single
grubs.
last one.
Labrov and Skumon want to head over. Caps actually had to go get honey fruit though, so Caps is going to be a bit delayed getting to the grub fight. And you see Victor trying to clean up those minions by mid tower, so that gives enough time there, enough priority for FlyQuest to grab at least the 2. They want the final grub for the might.
Yep, they should be able to get it here as well, as in they go. Magical Journey does get Labrov out of there. But that was just G2 watching as all of the grubs fell down. And Fly then just gets back away. Still behind in
we
gold,
take those.
Those grubs going to
we
really
love a free objective. We really do.
Recognizing, oh, hang on, my mid laner has a health advantage.
Love
He's
those.
just chunked out enemy mid. We should have prior over this topside river. Corki can collapse first. And so an uncontested objective just from smart play there from the FlyQuest jungler.
And, you know, props to Quad for actually hitting that seismic shove and achieving the health difference.
Absolutely.
It's like, yeah, Inspire, good job. You recognized that your mid laner made a good play.
I'm gapping it,
bro. Quad with a big double seismic shove for the big chunk there. So, you know, nicely done. And we have had a really calm early start.
Yeah, this is kind of what I'm used to. It wasn't what I was expecting, but I'm feeling more and more at home as this game is going on. So I like it a lot. We call this the Bro and Brew.
I got buffed too, but I forgot what. I think it's a huge buff too. Really? This man has been so prevalent in Worlds. I'm surprised he got a buff.
Going to have just exponentially increased, and now you expect Caps to pretty consistently be the first one to get that push in the 1v1 matchup.
Look at the CS gap in bot lane. Despite the fact that nobody has died, he's up 30 CS, which is equivalent to almost 2 kills.
Both these teams pretty confident in their ability to team fight. Interesting little kind of deep invade here, though. Labrov linking around the
Kate
other
really
side,
is
so
a
they
bully.
have really good vision. Super
That's
deep
probably
wards
why
for
they did the
G2
lane
through the red
swap.
quadrant of FlyQuest jungle. And
Or the
as you saw,
ADC
they push
swap,
Inspired away
rather.
from his Raptors, so yoink those on the way to their Dragon.
Oh, there's a stat that we need to find as well. What's the latest first blood in World's history? Ooh. We need to get that one. I don't have that one.
That's a good request.
Yeah, I put on bingo no deaths prior to 15 minutes.
No
We're 5 minutes away, 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
That we just saw from Labrov as the Dragon was being started.
Are you the music picker DJ in road trips? No, not normally. Normally I'm the person in the back going to sleep.
Caps, though, taking a bit of damage,
I normally go to sleep on road trips because I get car sick very easily. So I like to clock out so I don't get car sick.
Just hovering around mid in the event that Caps overstays so that he can threaten a dive with Inspired over the wall. But TP going to come back through from Caps as he completes his first.
I do not know what time the battle pass comes out. But I don't know if I told y'all, but a new League of Legends partner perk is we get to give out free battle pass codes for our viewers. So whenever that perk rolls in, I will be able to give y'all free battle pass codes.
It's all right. It's not very far, isn't it? I don't know how long a foot is. I do the meters thing.
I do not have them yet, though, but I do believe they are on the way.
The gravity field is going to work. The Arcane Storm doing a fair bit at the same time, but the Seismic Shove also lands. Death Ray comes in. The flash at first blood is a Cap solo kill that's
Bucio with the knock back into turret.
Bucio pushes him back.
That was kind of fire.
The turret, but man, we had no action, and then a solo kill.
Yeah, I mean,
Both
Quad just kind of
mid laners
stands
dead.
in there. He wants to commit to the play because Busio is coming, but Cap says, fine,
Wait, like
I
it
will
unlocks
flash
the battle
in. I will
pass
make
fully?
sure I
Yes.
get the kill
Like, I
before
purchased
dying.
the battle
now,
pass
the
for
FlyQuest one
you.
is assisted as far as the kill, so you get that extra 50%, you know, money for the team, but the focused gold
I'll take a Cap
does
solo
go
kill.
into
Thank you.
Caps. He did have to spend his flash though, Vedius, so how are you feeling about like repeat plays there?
Oh, I mean, I think there's
Wait,
ample
that kind of
opportunity for
tracks.
FlyQuest,
No, the
especially with
ADC is
Wukong
napping in the
and
back,
the
farming
Alistar
the whole
by your
game
side.
while their
Cap's
team
though
does all
playing
the
with
work and then wakes up
confidence
once
as he
they
finds a
arrive at their
solo kill
location
in
late
mid.
game
In terms
with
of the
full
goal, it's not
items.
going to change that
That's
dramatically in the mid lane matchup, so I don't think Quad is
crazy.
too
That's insane.
upset about
That's
what
insane
took
work.
place, but the fact that Caps is able to finish those upgraded
Insane
boots
work from
means
you.
he's now going to be a little bit ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I think that because Busio has Hex Flash on Alistar, as well as Spellbook, he's still going to have some mobility. He might need it.
Yeah, he is ghosting, so that's going to move.
I don't know when those
quickly,
perks are going to come
let's just get
in,
into position here. Twisted Advance does come on down, but it's Skumon that does get
but
pulverized.
it is on the
Another
perk
brilliant
list.
flick from Quad to pull Skumon back, and in the meantime, Caps, oh, that flash is gone, and Inspired will take
Caps.
him out because of it. Now Quad looking for that angle once again, and they have corralled them underneath this turret, but it looks like FlyQuest, they're just happy to get that one pick and then set themselves up elsewhere.
It's
They'll have
you
inside
for
track
real.
with mid lane, for
Dude, I
example.
want to play some
we got an
League.
instant
I have not
answer
played
on our
League in
question.
one
Is
full
the Flash
week,
going to get
guys.
punished? Yes, it is. Inspired immediately
Wednesday
jumping on
was
that,
the last
punishing
day.
That cooldown here for Flash, getting the kill. Wukong returning to force Vedius.
No,
It's
it's
the exact
Thursday.
right
We left
time
on
to go
Thursday.
looking for a victor wandering through the jungle.
Okay, it's
And-
almost a full week. It's 6
He doesn't
days.
see them because they're stood still.
Oh, the Flash Pulverize going to come on through. Another headbutt
I
back
am
here.
having
Even
withdrawals.
the Valkyrie damage is helping out. Trample going to come on through, but he does have part of that network set. And the flash forward does need to come in, but it's not enough. The little
Wait,
bullet
he
from the
ate.
Corki couldn't do it. And out goes BB once again.
Rek'Sai
He
so
ate.
obnoxious to lock down as Labrov throws the ultimate mids.
Yeah, Tempered Fate comes on down there as Hansama gets on in.
That was a
Didn't
little
quite have the snap trap, but he just
Premature
flashes
to
over
Hansama, and I
the
feel like you
seismic
know
shot,
that.
and we'll be able to get the last hit onto Quad. So Hansama gonna even things up once again, as in this top lane, Whippo taking some damage from Caps.
Okay, so the gloves are coming off now from both sides. They're getting a little bit more warmed up on stage. Items are coming through, and they're
Oh,
looking
is
to
there a
punish
patch
where they
right
can.
now?
Mid lane has clearly been the focus from both sides. But Hansama
Yeah.
picking up that kill.
Did
build up
Hans
to a
have to
huge
flash for
lead of
that?
1K over
I feel
Masu.
like Hans really
last time
pulled the
Vedius, I
trigger
was like,
kind of
oh,
early
yeah, you know,
for those.
Quad, he just took his death, and it was good, you know, because Caps flashed and Quad didn't. But that one, well, wait a second.
Yeah, got a bit of a flash forward here from Whippo, who's gone all out onto Caps, has Inspired alongside him, and down goes the victor once again.
A fantastic punish comes through from Whippo. Again, Caps had no real way to get out of that situation given he had no flash available. The gravity field also just doing nothing to Whippo as he used his ultimate to get away
what
from
are
that.
they
And with Inspired
doing?
at his back, it's an easy pickup as FlyQuest get that feats of strength of 3 kills.
And the point I was about
What
to
are
make
they
there, you know,
doing?
about Quad, he should have flashed the Bard ulti. Like, Caitlyn is there, and Caitlyn's going to be able to follow up with the trap, so really nicely done.
Oh,
from
are the
G2.
B skins
But
in the
Quad
battle
that
pass
time holding a little bit too
coming up?
long on that flash. Maybe it will still be useful for a
Look at my
play
little
imminently
ears.
as they teleport up topside, and Busio is seen by the ward.
Yeah, this time BB just going to be able to make his way out, but saving the turret, that's a big
That's
deal.
fire.
As FlyQuest, if they're able to get that first turret, that will be feats of strength locked in. The moment we are locked down as far as the objective feats of strength are concerned, so another 2 going to be required from either team.
I mean, if you are a G2 fan right now, you're looking at Whippo and being like, that's kind of scary. If you're a FlyQuest fan, you're looking at Hansam and you're going, that's kind of scary. But admittedly, I don't think that she quite has the tools to get through what already feels like a very tanky Cassante, even though
Not yet,
it's
at
G2 that's
least.
close to this objective.
Trinity Forces are pretty good, aren't they, when they're built? As you can see, Hansama getting the brunt of that. Masu does have that first spike complete. I'm also looking at Inspired. I think he's pretty scary as well.
Absolutely.
Hola,
Double train spike is a big
Mick.
one.
How are you doing?
Yeah, redeeming Masu here. Does get the heal. Almost walks out a little bit early, but isn't going to.
Probably should trade the Dragon, yeah, for Rift Herald
Oh,
here.
I'm sorry
for
to hear that,
FlyQuest,
Sky.
Because it is on a Caitlyn
But I am
recall
glad
timer.
that
Hans had a decent amount of money
your
to
week
spend. Full
is
BF
getting
sword there
better.
back for him, so good value there for him. 2 dragons stacked up by G2, but again, the top side objectives, the Grubs and the Rift Herald, are the ones that turn into early game gold. And so FlyQuest here, if they can use this Rift Herald knock down one of these outer towers, really does set them up for a lot of wait a seconds. Could they do it early here? They've got an Alistar as well, so Caps has to be a little bit careful. FlyQuest have been targeting him fairly successfully.
All right now, Lebrov just using as much information as he can. I think Busio is unseen for the moment, but does just walk out of that brush.
Were you playing Valorant like a week and a half ago? Yeah, probably.
Caps just up here. Does get the flick back, very nicely done. 50% of his health bar goes missing.
Probably, yes.
Squad able to really handle the pressure here on this top side, and he needs to because this is very, very close to first Turret Blood going down in favor of G2.
We'll say,
now who got you into that? Chat. I did a
nice pick for sure,
sub goal for a 2-hour Valorant stream.
Allowing him to build almost a full level advantage
I had to
over
play Valorant.
G2 set the sights on the tower.
Yeah, Nature's Grasp does calm down as Caps is getting pushed out of the fight. Ace in the Hole comes on through here as well, but looks like G2 decide against going for anything more. Net over the wall will get Hans Sama to safety, and the Rift Herald going to then try and turn the tables
gonna get a charge off?
as far as this push. And this could actually just be feats of strength right here as Shelly decides that she wants to give them over to FlyQuest, and that will come on through as soon as we deal with these minions. No real defense here by G2 going to get set up, and there she blows.
Tower achieved, as you say, the feats as well as the extra
I wonder why they
here,
didn't just drive her in.
Soaked up by everybody, and Busio as well as Masu kind of helping Inspired usher that Rift Herald up to make sure there's no counterplay there from G2 to put
You're not wrong, Munchie.
Inspired now building a 1.4k gold lead of his own. Just been passively building up this farm, securing towers, and you can really see that gold advantage just slowly continuing to mount for FlyQuest. Obviously, the tension still feels very high because we're yet to see that first fight and how things will really play out in the 5v5. Both teams have really just been trading objectives, but Artican alive in 1 minute and 5, along with the Dragon in 2 minutes' time. You expect these to be the next major objectives that both these teams will turn their attention to.
And honestly, I would expect Lebrov to go for an ultimate on quad pretty early, ahead of time, if you can get that flash out from the Taliyah, or if you can even just make a play on him straight up. You know, the Bard has a lot of options.
Her from the previous play did not want to speed up and run into defense.
Before the Dragon, it's 1 minute and 40 seconds here on the clock for that
also,
one.
hello, Bang.
Yeah, 35 seconds on the Artican
How are
as
you?
well.
How are you?
It's going to be spawning towards that bottom side of the map, so does mean that that Dragon's even more dangerous because you can just follow it up immediately if you are able to win a fight prior to or after that Dragon being taken. So it could be a battlefield here in this game, because there hasn't been much of a battlefield so far. There's 5 kills all up, but it's a lot of posturing as Lebrov able to walk out of the way of the wall.
Okay,
Seismic Shell
flash
does go
from
wide.
Hansama.
Not quite able to get the net for the slow, but
Dude, this is such a low kill game. In comparison to HLE versus CFO, where I feel like both teams are just a little bit more confident in ensuring their decision making.
Yeah, where are you going, buddy? Busio sits him down, and
This is
Whippo
a
trying to
little
sit
bit-
Broken Blade down, but the flash is enough.
A little bit
Beautiful
different.
play-by-play there, Kobe. That's what we actually had some feedback after the last series. We're like, we should probably have 2 play-by-plays because there's too much action. And see, we managed to utilize it here in this particular moment.
Is this my ranked
as
game?
G2 able to eat the pressure towards the top side as well.
I mean, it feels as though FlyQuest is just getting these very small advantages that are turning into bigger ones. As for
They
example, on the
are,
bottom side of the map, Whippo
but,
getting
like,
a flash out from Broken Blade, on the
this
top
is
side,
such a
Quad getting
slow
a flash out
game.
from Hans, and that ultimately led Lebrov thinking, oh, I can still stick around. My magical journey should be off cooldown any minute
Why
now.
is
But
Broken
then he
Blade
gets
the
punished
best
by
Rek'Sai
Busio.
we've
A
seen,
really
and
quick
LPA been
flash
playing
to
that
set up for the
champ?
play gives
Well,
FlyQuest another kill.
Can we collectively
4-2
agree that
now, the
LPA
advantage.
hasn't,
2K
or
the gold
LPA,
lead, Dragon
LPL
spawning in
has
9
not had the
seconds.
best
Look at the
display
TPs.
of
G2 have a
skill
clear
this
game plan in
world?
mind, and there is to force a fight around this objective.
Well, I guess it's really just their number 1 seed and number 4 seed. Top esports hasn't looked too horrible, and anyone's legend
Nature's Grasp for holding on to control as well is so
but
incredibly good.
BLG and IG,
X-Flash going to get channeled here as Busio looking for an angle towards Caps perhaps as he gets taken down so incredibly
okay,
well.
Inspired going in, ulting,
Whippo trying to make the difference.
Dragon down to 1600.
Hans Sommer in so much trouble, and he does get get taken down. Inspired to grab
No
first blood in the
Hansama.
fight. Busio is going to be the answering kill. And Broken Blade takes down Busio as well. It's FlyQuest that can actually answer back. As
FlyQuest also got the
some of
dragon.
damage, but doesn't quite manage to do so. And it's a big win here for FlyQuest.
Yeah, huge engage there. Busio threatens around the top side. Inspire just goes straight in through the dragon.
Yeah,
pit.
they really
Look at
are,
Inspire
Holy.
go straight onto
really are.
Hansama. They put so much pressure on this Caitlyn. Busio's threatening around the outside, but there goes the flash. Inspired is in. He ults and then clones away from the gravity
I
field
don't
to stay
know
on the Caitlyn.
how.
And I just
I'm
love the
trying to
target
look for
focus, 'cause
Inspired
Bwipo was right there
here.
with him as Busio
He
sends
goes
his sights
in,
onto Caps,
ults,
trying to
kills the
mitigate
Caitlyn,
other damage
and then he
dealer
just
from
comes
doing
back
what he
and
can.
takes the
As
dragon.
mentioned in
Because the
draft,
dragon was
once the
sitting at
Caitlyn
like
is gone,
1600
the fight really
HP
doesn't
for a
have that
while.
much to worry about. So Caps is forced to disengage, and FlyQuest find a beautiful fight. And crucially, they take away that Dragon Soul point from G2.
Yeah, after Inspired was able to finish off the Caitlyn, he then had a Q come up and he just Q smited the dragon right in front of Skumon to yoink that objective as well. So FlyQuest, this is something they're so well known for in
Would you
North
say
America.
that's a
give
Smurf
up the
team
first couple
fight or
of
not
dragons,
quite?
invest all of your money into this third dragon fight, and they really pulled that one off quite well.
I did put an
bring the game
Inspired
under their control.
Smurfs a team fight.
And Hansama didn't have the Infinity Edge for that last fight, right? We hit like the perfect
Not really,
two-item spike
honestly.
that we talk about for Corki all the time.
Like, he
Romano was
did
in
do
there,
well.
Masu
I'm
was
thinking, like,
able to stay alive, keep
Inspired
doing that
goes
DPS, and him and
in,
Quad,
kills a couple
been able to do a lot.
people,
Quad especially, man.
does
This
the
guy has
Dougie
looked
and
so
4
good in this game
backflips
on this
and
Talia
comes
thus
out with
far,
2
and two
HP.
items have
Like,
now been
I want to be
completed, as
blown
Leandris is
away.
now done as well. They'll grab themselves another turret.
That was
They
a
are
good
starting
fight, though.
to really roll this snowball down the hill.
Yeah, I
Like,
that
he
you're
did
going,
well,
wait a
but
second,
did he
this one's
Smurf
just for
it?
fun.
Nah.
It's a bit of an exciting one here, as we do get a bit of a stun onto Skumon, but he gets himself out. That's a
Like, you
headshot.
feel
That's
me?
A lot of damage on
So you
Masu.
hate
Does
me?
need to be a
Not
little
at all,
bit careful.
bestie.
The Infinity Edge is
Not
done.
at all.
I like that you're, really complimenting Quad there, though, because he's
I
been
love
so
you
aggressive
down,
with all these
actually.
seismic shove chunks, has opened up
Okay,
a lot
we
of,
get
like,
mid-turret.
small opportunities for FlyQuest
Nice.
so far, and he's able to finish off that mid tower. So that's all 3 outer towers.
But this
down
is
now,
only game 1.
for G2. They have no
There are many
longer
more
any
fights
outer
for
defenses,
Inspired to
and FlyQuest
Smurf, not
immediately
gonna
pulled the
lie.
trigger on the Otacon.
Yeah,
Like,
there
I
is a
do
ward still here,
fully
though, for G2, so they know
predict
the size
him
of this health
smurfing
bar. As you can
a
see,
team
Bwipo
fight.
just trying to
It
stand
looks
in
like they
front
want
of
to fight
them.
for Otacon.
He's
This
taking
might be
care out of
it.
This one is, my goodness, he's so incredibly tanky at the same time. Is G2 going to have to deal with him first? The wall goes down just to try and keep him alive. There's a Pulverize as well as Broken Blade. Gets himself out of there. Now the Nature's Grasp does
Bar
fly
just
past.
ulted.
The
Nobody.
Otacon will just turn its sights onto G2
Not a
this
soul.
time. Down to about 4K as FlyQuest possibly out of this. There's a flash forward from Busio, but I don't know about it. The flick back, though, is gorgeous.
Okay,
and
we
Skumon
got
put
the
in
objective.
position, but unable to get the smite. That one's going to go to Inspired. As the gravity field goes down, the Arcane Storm doing nothing. Masu going to take down Caps, who cannot get it done. Now Broken Blade buying some
Is
space. They
there
only lose one, but
reduced movement
Otacon, such
speed
a
while
big deal.
Wukong is in ulti
FlyQuest play
form?
with such patience. Quad with a fantastic ultimate to start that fight off because it isolates Broken Blade. It looked like Bwipo was the one that was caught out of position. He was so far up the river without the support of his team, but then Quad's ulti completely changed that dynamic.
How does that
And
make
the
sense
reason why
that
it's
he
important
started the
is 'cause it
objective
forces
and
the
stole
ulti
it?
out from the Brav. So here you're
Like,
thinking, wow,
FlyQuest
Bwipo,
did the
you're
most
way
amount
too
of
deep,
damage
but look on
to the
left.
objective.
A beautiful ultimate comes
Like,
through.
it's basically
Then the
at half
Brav
health right
reactively
here.
uses his ultimate, but to no effect. Now the Maokai ultimate is gone.
How is that
The Brav's ultimate is
stolen?
gone, and it makes it easy for Fly for the re-engage.
And then it still comes down to a clutch
Oh, I
smite
guess
fight
right here.
Maokai gets knocked in, tries to go for the Q smite, but Inspired clutches out the smite
Interesting.
on the Otacon to get that one, and it
Yeah,
is
you can mark it
huge.
off as
Then
stolen.
Caps just gets jumped on. Masu voucks forward,
said
and since
stolen.
Bwipo teleported in, Bwipo's back to help him out.
I mean, just great patience being demonstrated by FlyQuest as now Broken Blade in a lot of danger.
Or is he? I
Yeah,
mean,
it
this is
said
the
that he
Rek'Sai
stole it, so
situation, right?
who
It
am
always
I to
looks like
argue
he's
with
in
the League of
danger, and then
Legends?
I do that play-by-play thing where it's like, oh yeah, he's gonna die, and then he never does. Well, let's see whether he does here. See that thing? Let's see whether he. No, it just doesn't happen, as he has just eaten a whole lot of pressure in this game.
I gotta be honest, Vedius, it's looking a lot like MSI to me.
I mean, right now, yeah, we haven't really seen any proactivity from G2, and again, one of the big question marks for this team is seeing Skumon and Labrov work together. But when Skumon is on a champion like Maokai, well, he has been playing it extensively throughout the year. In summer, that's really not been their motif. Things like the Wukong, the Xin Zhao, the Pantheon, things
I like the 2-man for Broken Blade. They made him risk going in because the passive shows him he will get jumped if he does facts.
FlyQuest have just found
I feel like Rek'Sai passive is so fire. Like, it's so unique. I really like it. I really like it.
The timings and punishes from FlyQuest have been fantastic.
And the desk was talking about it, right?
Aced or thrown.
The fact that Inspired has been a little bit quiet.
There's still possibly
I'm looking at this game, I'm feeling like
2 more games.
3-0-2 currently.
I think there's plenty of room for an Otacon ace or throw.
Standing in front, he's a bouncer this game. And that is going to mean that we've evened out the
Don't you worry.
between the two squads. A quad stack Chemtech Soul would be a lot of healing and shielding power.
It certainly would. Busio is ghosting again.
Oh dear.
To Hex Flash over. Do they actually make a catch here though? That's pretty far. Yeah.
It's a dangerous one. Whippo not going to be getting over the wall. They just clear out vision. And it's all going to be fine. But FlyQuest have not been giving up space. They've been playing slowly, but they've been just constantly encroaching on G2. It's like creep spread or something like that, to use a StarCraft reference.
And something that FlyQuest are just so ultimately confident in is always their team fighting ability and choosing the correct timers here. And they have just out-executed in these fights over and over again. It's not quite a blowout or anything, but they do feel very much in control.
Absolutely, and what was a massive advantage between the two AD carries in favor of Hansama now has shriveled into nothing. The item advantage is in favor of Masu. He has the gold advantage, he has the experience advantage, and you can understand why throughout his career he is 9-0 on the champion, and he's looking to make it 10, as right now FlyQuest holds on to a 4.9k gold lead here in Game 1.
This Baron certainly looking like something that could try and get a blowout as far as that gold advantage is concerned, put themselves into a winning position. But G2, we mentioned it already, right? Like, if this composition can just stick around, right? Then it does have a lot of options later on in the game. Like, you get to max
We're
items on
slowly
Caitlyn,
building
she has
a
so much
gold
range.
lead.
It's really, really hard to get to her, and she does so much damage, but they have to get there. As Ace in the Hole comes through, Whippo ignores it. It bounces off him or something like that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and I think so far, the problem for G2 is that, yeah, you know, you've got Caitlyn and Victor range for later, but FlyQuest engagers are supremely confident. Inspired and Busio are the best players on the team and constantly will look for these super hard engages really quick. So it's like, they have to have really good, like,
that's
Maokai
what it's looking like.
and Bard ultimates in
Only
order to
fighting when they
navigate
have
that team
to.
fight.
And they were picked together, right? Like, this was part of that Wombo combo that you're trying to set up. We haven't quite seen it just yet.
It's a really important purchase for Hansama there. The LDR going to help get through some of the resistances that
Inspired literally the LTA MVP.
I feel like even items, though, between Corki and Caitlyn, you're still feeling like Corki's fine. I think 4 items.
But I do think it's nice that a support player is getting his flowers.
So a bit more time
because I feel like support players are normally overshadowed by their ADC. Even though like the support normally makes like a lot of the plays. I am very glad that a support player is getting their flowers. But yeah, Inspired definitely is like,
does look like Whippo isn't too worried about it though.
You know?
Man, it's such a wet noodle fight, isn't it?
They are farming the damage stat right now.
This is just, it's just grass.
Let's pump those numbers up.
Yeah. And look, they did get a bunch of stacks, so nicely done there, guys. But not really too much going to come of it. So I think like maybe as nothing happens, it's G2 favored. But it still feels like the game is very much in control of FlyQuest, and as they get more and more vision control, the Baron becomes easier and easier. It's hard to work it out, guys.
The Baron is very scary against the Maokai, of course.
Low-key landfills, like...
the Bard can
let's go in.
The dynamic of the fight, whether that be maybe hitting onto your backline so that no longer you have any
I think it really does.
Or even if it's just hitting the Baron to stall and now you're just trapped
I don't think that they're necessarily scared. I think that they're like they don't want to mess around. But I feel like confident players know like when they can go in and really get kills.
Have an item power spike. then we go
Like,
for
I feel
our
like
fight. They
both
got
teams
Guardian
are
Angel
playing
now
so
uninspired.
freaking
This
safe
completely
and like
changes how you are
textbook.
able to play a team fight as Wukong. You know, you can just actually turbo into the center of the enemy
HLE
team,
versus
even if they are able to
CFO
delay,
was
has the Guardian Angel to get back up.
scrappy. We were really treated a treat.
Plays as well for Inspired. So, you know, that's a big break point. And then if that death cap does get completed by Quad, you will see FlyQuest be the ones to force the issue.
Yep, that is massive damage prepared here, and he might actually have it on this back right now. And it's a Talia, so even if he didn't have teleport up, he would still have the ability to wall over
Sky.
there. And also, if he didn't have wall, he'd just go
Both teams
fast.
are like,
It's very
actually.
unfair. So he's not going to have any issues making his way back out, but does decide to use the teleport to bring him in here.
Yeah, man.
So with that cool new hat, double
I feel like they know like what they're doing is
this going to be
working,
enough
and they'll
for FlyQuest
eventually
to
like
look for a
win.
team fight angle because it's also soul point for both teams.
All right.
Whippo goes forward,
It's
but
not
isn't
soul
going to be able to find
point.
too much more.
They'll
Inspired,
be on
look
soul
at that
point.
flank angle. As the knockup does come through there on Navusio, the explosive damage is massive. The wall comes through just to make sure that Caps cannot get in. Hansama not able to find
wow,
Navusio, but now
Hansama
the
kinda does
unbreakable wall's worn
damage.
off. Is this just going to be soul point over to G2?
Yeah, I think they get it. You know, FlyQuest, basically Busio's out of the fight now. An Alistar low health with no ultimate doesn't get to do much at all. They just call it off. Yeah, FlyQuest,
Okay,
after they
so
see
G2
that,
gets the
they
dragon.
call off the play, and
They are now
G2
on soul
win
point.
the objective with their burst damage on the Alistar.
My goodness, that headshot
This
definitely, definitely hurts.
It kind of epitomizes this game, though,
No.
because it was a team fight. No one died. One team walked away, and another team got a Drake that wasn't even a soul. So it's not even really going to change the next 5 minutes. But if G2 are able to get
All right,
the soul,
Caitlin's
that could be a big
build
deal.
is
Now
more
FlyQuest
standard.
looking
The
for
RFC
this
early
Baron.
from Viper kind of
G2 in
confused me,
position,
but
though. They still have a
Hansama's
lot of
like
buttons up and available. It's only the ace in the
very
hole that they
textbook
really
build.
used. And so Inspired going to back away. They're not going to go for any 50-50s. It's Broken Blade in an uncomfortable position, but the seismic shove isn't going to find the mark. As they all get themselves out. There's the Nature's Grasp as G2 are actually looking for it here, but it's a clone, that eats that up. One of the benefits of being Wukong into
Inspired.
the Maokai, of course.
Such a big ultimate used when Baron is being threatened. Oh, and look at these waves. Bot is now bouncing back in favor of FlyQuest. Top is pushing in favor of FlyQuest. FlyQuest are also going to get to the midway first, which means that G2 have pressure really starting to build up.
Whippo is really on Broken Blade's forehead, bro.
Control around the objective. That control ward in the back of the pit is really the only thing that's giving
Hansama
G2
was up
vision,
30
and Inspired is gonna take
CS,
that
and
one
now
away,
the
start
CS is
objective up
even.
once again.
Yeah, Megacone is going to be denied here at the same time as Whippo just patrolling the edge of this Baron pit. They do pull off, though. As you can see, Quad's in that mid lane. And the wall is going to come down. Caps is going to be separated from the rest of the team. Ace in the hole comes in. Inspired going to eat that one for Quad to keep him in the fight. Whippo now taking some real damage here from this
Victor.
Caitlyn.
I was like,
Right,
I heard
Caps
the flash
is for sure
sound.
the target here for FlyQuest. No flash on
What's
the
up,
Victor.
Saint? How are you
Lucio
doing?
and Inspired will look to target him, and he's getting chunked as well.
These rockets really starting to hurt. As, man, this is so incredibly intense.
Look at the waves, though, again. We talked about them earlier. FlyQuest have pressure everywhere on the map. They're going to quickly go for the reset. G2 doing what they can, but finally Caps will have that opportunity to go back to base, spend what gold he can. And impressively, G2 managed to hold the line. I really thought that that was going to be the moment where they lost the whole fight because FlyQuest was just navigating everything so well. They just barely get away with the skin of their teeth. And FlyQuest, as they should, turn their attention back towards the Baron. It's really the objective that they're going to need to close out the game. And this is the only scary part for FlyQuest. The later into the game you go, obviously the gold just matters less. And so once this Caitlyn and Victor get to 5 items, obviously, like, the fights are going to be a lot scarier for them. They need to leverage the advantage that they have right now.
Well, this could be certainly leveraged as Caps walks a little bit too far away from his turret and will just be taken out by Busio. Beautifully done.
That is the name of this game.
Hey,
It has
Caps,
been Kill
I just
Caps.
want
It's
you to
either
be
burn his
aware,
flash
I don't know
or
if you know,
repeat
but you're
attack
currently
and just
1 in
kill him
5.
again. Busio finds the Victor wandering through the jungle.
You're currently
again.
1
What can
in
FlyQuest do with the
5.
timer?
Well, perfect position. Great sidesteps there from Broken Blade, though, to make sure that he's not knocked
Previous
back there
to
from
this
the
game, they called you
Topo
the
strikes.
best
Inspired, though,
EU
already
player
right on
ever.
top of this Baron.
Blocking, brother.
It's going to be so difficult to stop this.
It's embarrassing at this point. Oh my gosh, Lucio.
Splash is now on cooldown. Redemption for a bit of extra damage at the same time as FlyQuest, they kept
Lucio
the Baron
is
leash.
kinda...
All of this vision getting taken away over and over again. And this Baron down to 4,000. Do they opt in for it? Because Cumon can't get over the wall. It's going to be impossible for them to stop this, and the Baron will be taken by FlyQuest. The discipline in this game is obscene by FlyQuest.
It is. It is.
FlyQuest, I gotta say as well, we warned you, there might be a support diff. Bucio is cracked, man. This guy is just doing so much. He found the victor. He set up the play onto Caps. Then he goes around, sets up another play. They get Scumon's flash. He goes over the back of the red buff wall, and FlyQuest just claim their objective without technically winning a team fight, but just picking apart G2 beforehand.
And the craziest thing about it was he was spotted thanks to the Rek'Sai, and it looked like he was the one that was going to get caught, but he was so quick with it. He didn't hesitate. He just flashes in, targets Scumon.
I need to see FlyQuest beat a real team.
That Maokai with no flash, he's got no way into the pit.
What do you mean by beat a real team?
Beautifully done by FlyQuest. 30 seconds until the Dragon spawns. I mean, ideally, I think that they should just abandon it and just focus on sieging. They want to get as much out of this Baron as possible.
We also need to delay Elder Drake for as much as possible as well, because we want this game to go for about 70 minutes if possible.
For G2's credit, it is hard to push on these Caitlyn trap lines, but never mind.
Flash is going forward here as the wall comes down, and Han Sama
just
blows up. The inner turret is going to go down.
Wrap this up, y'all.
And Scumon is running the wrong direction. Bit of a jungle v jungle here as he gets the Teemo thumbs up.
Wrap it up.
I think Scumon's going to feel okay about it. Nimbus Strike comes forward. Inspired finishes him off, and I think this is the end of the game as FlyQuest will slowly but surely, methodically tear G2 apart.
Wrap this one
here
up.
In game one. Bucio going forward one more time. The Tempered Fate comes down for a bit of fun as the Nexus turrets, one already down, the second one to follow. Masu.
Don't be 1 and 5 next game, okay? Wrap this one up.
Much of anything, and the Nexus will now go down. Trading places here is Masu and Broken Blade, but down goes the Nexus, and it's FlyQuest up 1-0.
We are one game away from quarterfinals.
Flash over the Caitlyn traps. Like, no, we all just flash forward. Masu flashes forward with the rest of them.
We are one game away
before Caps could even get back to the fight. He had been recalling from split pushing, but FlyQuest just end the game.
Maybe they were just waiting the entire game for a Caster Curse, and it finally came in, but now it's time to hear from the analysts about that game number one.
One game away.
FlyQuest said, do you think it's going to be any different than MSI? No, and we're going to show you exactly why. A sovereign victory. And I think, and I'll go directly into Azael with this one, a game that FlyQuest likes to play. With a draft, they like to play. I feel like G2 played into their hands completely.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really put any pressure on them. Obviously, they got the Caitlyn CS advantage, but the way that FlyQuest generally likes to play with these scaling compositions is Bucio is acting essentially as the jungler, covering his lanes, let Inspire just power farm.
The only time I'm patriotic is Olympics and Worlds. No, I get that.
And they're going to have a really big power spike. He's on 2 items. He's ready to fight. And their objective setups, I think, are the best of Western teams.
And I think it was really nice of Caps to give them that extra camp in the top lane a lot of the time as well, because every time it felt like
the famed 7th camp.
Exactly. And it was, to be honest, well orchestrated by FlyQuest, because we constantly saw them moving up into the lanes, finding the picks, and it was very reminiscent of their game 1 in MSI, where it was very close until they were catching Caps and side lanes on the Cassiopeia, finding moments to get these picks that slowed down the game, put it in their favor, and then they were able to play towards those objectives.
And I'm a bit of a Victor hater in the LCK. I think in the current meta, the champion just doesn't hit the mark for me. There's a lot of champions that could have had this issue, but for me, so much of the games are decided in early to mid game. And I think that Victor just doesn't really have the pressure, especially Victor Maokai. By the time you start doing damage, we saw Fly had already taken over the game.
I will say that, and allow me to criticize G2 just a little bit. I think there's hubris at play here, because you come to the table against BLG. Of course, they hadn't been playing that well, but they're the first seed from the LPL. You know that they should be better. You craft a plan. You are proactive. You take them to these skirmishes. Why aren't you giving that respect to Fly? Why do you think you can just play standard? Why do you think you can pick the red side and come up with this comp and not do enough to put the game in your favor? I'm sorry, but this is incredibly, incredibly frustrating. frustrating to watch.
It was, and I think a lot of that is they had a plan, but they weren't able to execute because the things that they brought to the table, they weren't practiced on. Labrov did not look good on the Bard, barely hit any of his Qs. The Bard ultimates weren't that strong, and it meant that every time
They were
got
horrible,
to the team
actually.
fights, FlyQuest got to basically do whatever the hell they want because they were practiced.
I don't think I saw one valid Bard ult.
Everything was going in their favor.
They just wanted to take it away from Bucio.
It is FlyQuest that
And
can just
then
make their plan come to fruition. We'll get to it in a second.
Dance on their forehead with
This is what I was
Alistar.
talking about, where if you allow FlyQuest to play their game and, you know, they build an early lead, they're going to show up to the next objective, they're going to fight you. Their objective setups are the best in the West. It's not close, in my opinion. They just don't lose in those spots. Obviously, that's not against LCK, that's not against LPL, but it's insanely impressive.
I want to highlight 33-0.
Yep.
I feel like it's the level of consistency, right? Because like
that's like every game in our schedule. That's
free.
That's like 3 years of LCM. No,
it's crazy, but also it also builds confidence in your team when you get to games and you feel that you're not being challenged. You know that you can play out the plan, and we saw it in this one thanks to the reliable Cisco network. It is FlyQuest who arrived just on time at the Dragon, and they had it planned.
And on one end, while this is happening, you have Bucio creating space, but it's inspired, had been playing for himself, has hit that crucial breakpoint, and actually gotten a hand on the Wukong, and he starts up the fight, and it's basically won in the first couple of seconds because Hans has taken out the fight.
Yeah, I mean, their setups are just so good, right? Inspired is coming out of the pit, Whippo's coming in from behind you, Bucio's pincering from the left. Like, it's 3 divers all on top of the Caitlyn instantaneously. Everyone piles in. FlyQuest are
And I love the way we saw Inspired playing around the Rek'Sai specifically in these fights. Like, consistently, that time it was a blast cone. The times before it was, oh, I'm going to just stand in the pit and not move for the next 30 seconds so then I can bait people in. And it almost was G2 trying to rely on that overly much as they try to play into the fights.
Yeah, just don't play into them. Don't give them everything they want. I think that's important. I don't know if we have side selection next, but now G2 is really up against it. I got to remind people, this is a position to qualify into knockouts. You would get another chance if you lose here, but honestly, if you lose to a team that's as good as FlyQuest, there are maybe even better teams waiting in the other side.
Just in the water.
So, Rob, give me a little bit of the
just
rundown
absolutely
of how G2 could
took over my ears, bro.
I want to get back to Alistar, back to Leona, set up through that.
I was having a stroke.
Find that magic that worked for G2 all summer long and brought them to the
And
win.
then I realized, I looked at chat.
Just win. Whatever. How do we, is this an alternate
And I
time
realized it was not just
discombobulating.
Throwing up our
but when we come back, it is game 2 between G2 from the LEC and FlyQuest from the LTA.
Oh my gosh.
LCS, who knows? They beat us no matter where they're from.
Like, my brain couldn't comprehend.
You can't say welcome to the LCS, Surdy. I mean, it's great that he's in the LCS, but now he's playing Draven in a show match.
Of course you can't say welcome to the LCS. It's the LTA. Welcome to the LTA, Surdy.
This is going to be a struggle.
Show what he got in LCS or like LTA now.
It's just LCS. I almost beat Gen G, or LTA, excuse me. That's gonna happen.
XU, welcome back to the LCS, man.
A lot of LCS fans could be all LCS teams.
There's some rivalries this year in the LCS.
LCS pros need to work on their signatures. This is honestly the best plug I've ever seen for an LCS player.
Last game of LEC we'll watch, and then we'll go into LCS, obviously.
It's going to be really exciting to see on the LCS.
Coming into top lane as an LCS player. So I was thinking ahead, and I was like, LCS, nope. LTA,
Big brain.
Not gonna make that mistake on air for sure.
Of the LCS or LTA.
After their LCS game, you know, flaming the other LCS teams.
The second best at the time.
Said that.
Support in the LCS.
The return of the LCS, but smiling face.
Oh, that's
hell
yeah.
You know, when you're playing against LCS teams,
fantastic.
This is an LCS thing now, isn't it?
We want to do a check-in for Fantasy LCS as well. Just wants that LCS trophy. I don't think I said LCS unintentionally.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I didn't.
But I'll have to check the tape.
God bless. LCS coming back in 2026.
So slow. I told you I was done with basic browsers. Your setup wants Opera GX, and you're holding it back.
2x KO!
Up Upgrade to the gaming browser. Download Opera GX.
Every moment of your journey.
Get a mod of hoodie, show. Let me see what we can lock in.
Landscapes, absolutely stunning. Close-ups, sharp and full of vibe. Group shots, packed with detail. Zoom in on one face, still flawless. Colors so real, every scene, every smile, unforgettable. Oppo Find X9 series, Hasselblad telephoto, zoom into detail.
Slay.
Hi. Got
Slay,
this old
Oppo.
thing and the bill from the store where I got it. Figured you could beat it with a better deal on one of these big boys.
It doesn't work that way.
Guess you're not as cool as Verizon.
Bring in your AT&T or T-Mobile bill for a better deal.
You don't know that?
Can you buy that phone in the US?
Red Bull
Can
gives
you?
you wings.
Let me see. Oppo. Oppo. Does Oppo sell in the US? Oppo doesn't have any retail partners in the United States and doesn't operate its own US storefront either.
The greatest players in the world are here.
So no.
They can just burn this one down. Oh my God, forward by 9. You are going to see them like you've never seen them before. Rocket Will as the Arcane Storm doing so much work, and Genji, they are just going to ace them.
누구 만나도 이길 수 있다는 자신감 정도로만 생각하고 있습니다.
Yeah. What about the other things? Did I get any fire pictures at Worlds this past, or not year Worlds? I meant which one? They try to take me down with their violence.
Oh, they go back in. Bishop flashes in, and down goes Knight.
Oh, y'all want to see a pic of me, Stunt, and Saber? We just had so much fun at Worlds this year. I keep saying Worlds. By Worlds, I mean TwitchCon. This was not the night that I was stalked by the random man, though. This was the night before. Or the random men, actually. We were just having such a blast. We had such a blast. Good clarification. Yeah. Just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page. Do I have any other? Oh. So I did a meet and greet at TwitchCon. My first ever meet and greet at TwitchCon. Show you the picture of that. This was our meet and greet day. We had such a fun time. So many people showed up. Also, shout out to the person who brought me a T1 hat and a T1 pin and a T1 pin set. Literally made my weekend with that. Let's see. What else I got? It was just a fun weekend, man. All around. Is Stunt really tall? Will is 6 feet tall, if I remember correctly. Look at her at a towering 6'3". Facts. Did you go to the TwitchCon in Vegas? I did. What an iconic. Oh, y'all, I still got this just like up. What the heck? What do you mean infant faces? Baby faces?
Welcome back, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
yo, low key. I see it.
I'm Alice, joined by Kobe and Vedius, and I said at the beginning of the game that I had
I see it, low
being
key.
a play-by-play caster
That's crazy.
and started being a mediator, and the
What the
teams
heck,
took me
he?
very seriously. So I'm hoping that this time around, if I say that no, the mediation
That's
is
kinda
unnecessary, we've all just agreed that we're going to commentate some video games, and it's going to be brilliant. We can get some more action.
No.
Hey, listen.
Yo, I am always so freaking happy to like meet y'all and say hi. So if that ever happens again, please say hi. Please, please, please.
I know you're not a
I did see what happened to Imaru at TwitchCon. These people out here are scary.
We're game 2 now. We're game 2.
Scary.
And we're gonna believe in Steve.
And then Twitch didn't even like really do anything.
I think I might start using that one from now on. I like it a lot. I think Andy does get a lot of attention.
Crazy work,
and you do not
know.
need more attention.
Crazy work.
That's what I would say.
True. He's already got big enough ego.
We're doing our very best to mitigate it as we can.
Absolutely, Solar.
Let's see what Steve has for us, though, in game number 2 as far as draft. Because
Wait,
there were
who's
certain
got
things
pink
that I
hair?
personally felt strongly about, tried to pipe down about it. I just don't like Victor. I just don't like it.
I want to know how that man just like walked past the line, walked past security.
As Chronicle walked down the stairs when he was going backstage after the game, he was like, that was pretty good as far as that Victor watch was concerned. I'm like, yes, it felt pretty good on this
All
side
right.
as well.
Hey,
But we're
Masu,
here,
hear me
game
out.
2,
Lock in
Steve, so
Samira.
let's get into it already. A couple of things banned out on the site. We're not changing your name. We're changing.
No, I'm gonna call him
Ansama, if you want me to root for you,
All game long, we call
lock in Samira.
Kind of like I'm casting with Kobe and Steve.
Yeah.
Oh man, it feels good actually. That's brilliant.
Okay,
All right.
the point Steve wants to get across is
in the
that
third person. Oh, that's so
G2
cool.
is on the red side. They chose to stay on the red side, which is a little surprising.
Yep, JT, crazy
I'm
work.
wondering if they utilized this counter
It's
pick
so
more effectively
crazy.
than they were able to in the previous game, because picking the Rek'Sai into Pupos Casante really didn't amount into anything too significant. The volley bear bans, they've been doing their research. They know that
So if we
Skimon, when
win
he wants
this,
to be
we
a little bit more
advance out of
active on
Swiss
the map,
stage.
he will
Correct,
usually go
Munchie.
towards this volley bear, so they want to take that away from him.
Yeah, no,
The Siren
actually,
with the
Death Ray.
Orianna ban away. I wonder what is left to
Because
take
that's
away.
insane.
Maybe they target junglers. Xin Zhao could be a possibility. We've seen be a super high priority jungler this tournament.
Rise is also.
Don't worry, Sky. They banned him on Twitch.
You have to be careful if you
Don't
pick
worry.
Rise, Quad is going to slam a Cassiopeia.
Justice hath been served.
You would love it if you slammed a Rise.
It was 30 days, but now he's indefinitely banned on Twitch. Yeah, no, fixes everything.
High priority pick that will now not be in the
Fixes
hands of
everything.
Lucio, and that actually means that he has to play a third champion, which is very
Who
cool.
got banned?
So far as I
The
played
man
Alistair
who
and,
like
Nico.
tried to kiss Imaru during her meet and greet.
He has even played a support Azir game.
No, literally, holy, like, how did they not think that that was not okay?
I mean, I've had experience with top.
Like, how did they give that man a 30-day
Play
ban
that one a lot. Supporters here haven't seen that one. It's
and
kinda
think like,
Well, the Rise is open.
we ate
but
that?
as you
Like,
rightly
how?
called, they could
How?
wait until third pick, then lock the Rise, then ban out the potential counters to it. Trundle right
Like
now
how?
could be the direction. This is a lot more in the direction of what we traditionally see from Skewmon, and again, just a little bit more self-agency, a little bit more playmaking, a little bit more skirmishing power from what we've been seeing from him, especially.
Like insane
And
work.
I always love it into Xin. You know, you can pillar Xin in bad spots, and you can usually put a lot of pressure on the champion. And a lot of pro players, you know, like that matchup. But we've seen at this tournament.
Why did it
people
take
even
so
pick
long
Xin
for them
after Trundle's already
to
been taken, you know, and
to
kind
make
of
it
like
indefinite?
soft,
Not even that like
people would say
a ban on the website like is enough. Like why was that man not escorted out of the convention immediately and into the hands of police?
Action going.
I'm confused.
The Aurora coming in could be a flex pick theoretically, but likely to be going into Caps' hands. FlyQuest
Like
will be able to
immediately
answer it,
should have been
see what
escorted
Quad is
out
going to be playing. Whether maybe
and
they
waited
lock in
for the
bottom lane,
police.
You could actually save your solo lanes until after the next round of bans, but it could be dangerous as you will
Crazy
lose
work.
opportunities to pick things.
Would you say that Quad has
Is
a
that Seraphine?
common answer, or is it something a little bit more generic, like the Annie is a possibility we've seen a bunch of times into the Aurora as well?
I would say Quad is very straightforward in his champion Australian picks.
Hit the Cassiopeia, babes. Just go ahead and lock it in.
Annie is, in the group as well. And so it probably won't be anything too fancy. Unless they've been saving it the whole time.
Unless they've been saving it. Rumble going to come through from Whipper. We talked about how we
You
didn't
still
really
gotta
expect
attend.
Rumble
I
to be
still
a
need to
super
meet
high
you
priority
IRL. Not I gotta keep
this series, but it looks
going.
like that it's already going to come through from
I do
FlyQuest.
think that this past TwitchCon was one of the best TwitchCons I've been to, but it's not necessarily because of the convention. It's because of the people I went with and like the stuff that I like did.
2 damage threats. It depends on how much of a damage threat you consider Trundle to be.
TwitchCon is like 20% TwitchCon and 80% after parties, functions, meetups, like hanging with your friends. Like the con really is only 20%. Are you still coming to DreamHack, by the way? I am. I will be in Atlanta, Georgia next week for DreamHack. I got invited as a creator, Holy. So it's literally, you are the reason that I'll be at DreamHack. I filled out the form that you sent me with like 12 hours left.
It's just about as straightforward.
And yeah,
as you can
I'll be
get.
there. So
And
thank
we'll
you,
do what
Holy.
it
Thank
says
you.
on the tin. But now going to be banning away a few things. The Karma ban is kind of intriguing.
I guess they're worried about Ezreal.
Yeah, in a game
Are we
where
counting any as potential unconventional? I don't think so. We've had some Annie picks already.
Yeah, because I guess they're less worried about Ezreal in isolation. But
And she is also a mid laner.
Exactly.
I think like an unconventional pick would be like the Varus top that IG ran, I think it was. Like that, even though Varus is a conventional pick, the fact that it was Varus top is unconventional. You see what I'm saying?
Remember about Labrov is Thresh and Blitzcrank are very much up his alley.
Let's
These
go
are the type of champions that he loves to
LTA.
play. When he was on BDS, Rel was like his go-to. There was one split where he played something like
I feel like Annie support is like strong. I don't know why more people don't play it.
To the wayside a little bit more. With the Braum ban, it definitely suggests that G2 is looking a little bit more engaged on the bot side of the Rift.
Yeah, those ones looking a lot better now. Karma and
Yeah,
Braum
G2
both
stayed red.
Definitely thinking about that.
All right, see what the final
There
ban
are
is going to be
0
here
girly
from
pops
FlyQuest.
on pro
It's
teams.
probably going to be sticking towards some of these supports, like you were talking about, a lot of engagement.
That's what I'm saying, Captain. Like, I'm
Not going to be
confused.
available. They do need a lot of damage from that bottom side of the map, so it does make a fair bit of sense.
All right, let's see some good ADCs. Let's see some good ADCs. Let's see
Does also
some good
kind of dissuade you from going towards the
ADCs.
Kai'Sa, which would kind of work out with this composition if you
I want to see some fire
And we
ADC
were talking
picks.
about some of the safe AD carries. But yeah, you mentioned the Kai'Sa as well. You could go the dive option and get in there. Plus, Kai'Sa,
You can
like,
feel it in your what?
especially if you have a lot of people on your team that can apply plasma,
do what,
then
yo?
you can use it very safely as well. You don't always have to kind of dive bomb into the back line.
Sky, I was talking the other day about how I think that me and Virtual Diva, Miss Carlotta, should start a like all-female, all-pro team, like the first ever. I think that would be so tea. However, that's a lot of money. So I don't know if that is in our future, but I think that would be so tea.
A little bit more generic, maybe like Renata. I was expecting more along the lines of Leona.
Hello, 50kg.
Okay. Soraka.
I hope you're having a great day.
Common bot lane?
Honestly, I kind of
Wait.
like it though. Soraka heal battery for
Soraka?
this team. Keeping up the Xin
Let's
on the front line,
freaking
making
go!
a lot of space. It's a very short range.
All right, we're rooting for FlyQuest. Unless
so
they
to have
can
the sustain
out,
of Soraka, as long as
you
Lucio can
have to
some
pick
good
Samira
space.
if you
I
want me to
kinda
root
like
for
it
you.
for the
Yeah,
team.
bro. Like y'all just lose.
Xayah is the most obvious thing ever, so that is just going to be locked in here to round out the G2 composition. But
All in favor for rooting for the Soraka and the Soraka alone, please type 1 in my
I'm
chat.
pretty open-minded because Soraka
All
also
for
can
rooting for
poke
Soraka
pretty
and
effectively.
Soraka
So everyone's always
alone. 1 in
focused on the
chat.
heals,
1 in
but
chat.
the lane can have some decent amount of poke, so maybe they can also get a lot of poke damage on Xayah
I am
lane,
also typing
which
1.
is something that
Let me
Xayah
put my
usually
1 in
struggles
there.
with sometimes.
And I'm also friends with LS.
Yeah.
He's a huge Soraka fan. So
Yeah.
I'm like trying to check my bias here because I'm normally used to saying, oh, wow, what
We
an
root
incredible
for
Soraka angle. But I don't know.
We root for FlyQuest here.
I have to just default to it because otherwise, like, I'm wrong. He's like, I like that, but you're wrong. Or he's like, no, Atlas, you idiot. It's definitely a Soraka record.
For me, when I think about Soraka, like, there's the old school memes of her being the ambulance, right?
Yep.
But if a champion survives an Aurora burst, like, you're then out. You know what I mean? Like, that champion no longer provides the same value that it did. And Soraka
I can't root for Soraka because I need 3 games for bingo. Oh, shoot.
So even if Aurora drops this huge 5-man ulti down on top of
okay,
you,
we'll root for Soraka, but also root for G2 then in that case.
And almost reset the team fight. So I see the value, especially against these burstier champions. The biggest weakness for Soraka has historically been
please
that she is a low mobility support that is easy to catch out. So positioning
I have 5 things. I'm
and also,
dead.
it doesn't limit Busio's just ability to roam. What I think
wish Faker was playing.
That early game gap. I don't know if he can
I wish Faker was playing. I do miss my baby daddy. I do miss just looking at my cute petite little face.
Speed ambulance. Also, I've got a theoretical combo for you.
Okay.
If you
look at her, she's gorgeous.
And layer the silence under it really easily,
gorgeous.
Then it just further extends this really big engage.
I was thinking as well that it could work quite effectively into a Galio when you know
No,
that
I'm
he's
not
going
rooting
to be
for
coming
G2.
down in a certain
I'm rooting for
location.
FlyQuest.
You can greet him with a few of those circles that you're capable of putting down. You
And
can see
one
already
crossed
looking
off. I got you,
majestic
boo.
in that bottom lane.
You're a fan of labeling new names for circles. How about a silent circle? Have you done that one before?
The Silurcle is one of my all-time favorites. Oh, that's a beautiful...
It's kind of rare. There are not very many silences in the game.
And if they ever did exist, like the Silorb, which is Malzahar's one, that's now gone. The Sigil of Silence that then became Malice from LeBlanc, also another one that is
What
taken
Soraka
away.
skin is that? I don't think it tells me. Dude, they've never had a Soraka, so much so that her picture doesn't even show up, bro. It doesn't show what skin it is. I told them the girlies want to know what skin they're running.
Don't do that. We'll have
and
to
they have not put it in yet.
Here's the poke I was talking
about. We need the skin.
So we'll see how effective this is.
We need the skin.
Han's already chugging a potion here as Busio landed the first Q and the second.
And when
this isn't balanced at all. Okay.
The poke. Soraka, attack Soraka is very powerful.
This is working pretty effectively. Maybe the best thing against all this healing is to keep them at full health so they can't heal.
Boom.
There you go. Counted.
I mean, so
he hit every Q.
Two wards were thrown bot lane by G2, one from the Galio and then one from Hansama. Both have now been cleared out.
Immortal Journey.
Notice as well, Inspired pathing towards the bot side of the map. I wasn't expecting the threat of a dive from a Soraka, but now I'm a little bit more inclined by the idea.
Nice little stun to come through here from Quad is just preparing himself or trying to
I have a question. Does anybody in chat guasha?
This is at 5 CS.
I'm liking it. You know, the poke damage.
Does anybody in chat guasha or do like any lymphatic exercises or drainage for their face?
As we are really focused on this champion.
Do you guys notice that it works well in like
on each other as well,
chiseling
so you
your
can just
face?
The timing will be fairly similar, and there's already the pre-existing pixel brush ward for FlyQuest.
Lymph
so
issues. What lymph issues?
Nice silence. So the knockup comes through, the silence immediately drops. That means Hansama can't respond with a Q. So the ability to Q into auto into root was effectively mitigated just by dropping a silence. Well played there by Busio.
Nicely done. Taunt comes through here as well towards his top side as the Galio
I used to, but it actually started causing more acne. See, that's why I don't want to use the gua sha specifically, because I feel like if you're not cleansing it correctly, it can like
is going to come on through.
End up messing up your face.
Gets that ward in, so Inspired starting this fight off already. Quad's roaming over at the same time as Human is so incredibly low. Busio gets on in here, heals them up, and they're not going to be able to quite find first blood just yet, but it will mean they get the crab.
Yeah,
that's the most important thing.
And Inspired jumps in on the fight because he knows Qmon is queuing the ward. So Qmon uses Chomp, Inspired goes in.
I like that Qmon. That's a
Qmon.
Death ray.
he did get the ward.
Yeah.
Qmon's got the ward.
Personally, I only noticed a difference with my face is already puffy. Other than that, I haven't seen a change.
And it's really
anything significant.
It's a yes from me. It's flash out from Bwipo.
You can do it wrong and mess up your lymph nodes.
Was put in the perfect position to make sure that flash was needed.
The wave now in an awkward spot, but I don't think it's
I feel like using your hand in an oil cleanser is just as effective. Exactly.
Bwipo's tower.
Exactly.
Bot lane, though, going so well for Marsu and Busio.
But like you have to use your hands correctly, you know.
Hansama was really bullying Marsu out on the Corki. But now with this Soraka, they have all the sustain that they need. They're trying to quickly shove this underneath the tower so that they can go back to bases. Hans is going to come back out with a Cull. I feel like
an oil cleanser makes it so easy. Because then you're like cleansing your face as you're doing it, you know? And then you can just do your skincare afterwards.
Maybe this flash down on Bwipo could result in
Blonde, thank you so much for the bitty bitty bit, love. Hope you're having a good day today.
Galio definitely has the ability to lock him down, so we'll see if it makes it more difficult for Bwipo to play his lane. On that top side, of course, it is top-down clears.
I do feel like everybody at least once a week should have like a self-care day where you do like do that, you do your skincare, you do a little facial, hair mask. Like at least once a week you should. You deserve it, you know? You made it to the end of the week, or you're starting a new week. You deserve it.
Which synergizes with her quite nicely as the game goes on.
I will also say that I know coming into the series there were some concerns about this mid lane matchup, and even though
are you talking about the globes, Kay?
His use of the Talia ores were fantastic, and in this laning phase, he's really been out trading Caps, like sidestepping the skill shots coming out from Caps and then trading back in kind, and you can see he's built up a pretty healthy CS lead.
Luna, I am back at my setup, so don't you worry.
As he sets his sights towards bot lane.
Yeah, well and truly overloading this one. As wards go down, it looks like G2 doesn't have much of an idea of what's happening here, but they are
green tea.
Not going to be attacked just yet.
And Quad has gone for the electrocute version of Annie this time around for the extra burst damage, not the safety
green
of the
tea
phase
like
rush.
on your skin,
so sometimes
Death Ray?
You can get into a tight spot when Trundle comes over for pillars. You don't have the phase
Wait,
rush
that's
to easily get away from the slow, but it just means you have to have really good usage of your
my
shield
old
speed.
like eyebrow artist
shield speed right there.
would use globes on my face after like waxing my eyebrows
to be continuing as Caps will
to reduce the like redness or whatever. I used to feel so good.
A couple last hits going wide. And again, like these Qs from Caps just aren't connecting, and Quad just keeps getting these HP advantages, so he's really getting the better of Caps in the 1v1. Inspired, knowing that he has push on the bot side, and the fact that his mid lane
They're playing very textbook again, y'all.
But Skewmont doing what he can elsewhere on the map as he looks to steal away this blue buff. But already off to a strong start from FlyQuest as they have control over bot mid.
Yeah, there's also a minute until the grubs are up as well, so it does give FlyQuest the ability to reset for that one. As the blue buff is taken, Bwipo does get the information that it is gone. There's some more fighting here towards the bottom side. The snare is going to come through, but not much of a follow-up here as FlyQuest are looking to relocate this bottom lane, likely towards the top side, and to welcome the grubs.
So next thing that FlyQuest have to look at and be a little bit cognizant of is the big like pincer movement with the double solo lanes from G2. You know, Galio you know, has the ability to walk like halfway up and then use ultimate to close the rest of the distance. So even though Broken Blade and Bwipo both use their teleports, Galio is a little bit different. And could turn the tides towards a grub fight.
Yo, Tricky, thank you so much for the rose and the heart.
FlyQuest do have to keep that in mind. You know, they have some champions that can get caught out.
Hope you've been enjoying Worlds.
Inspired, at least he is up to his level 6 now on the Xin, so he has the ultimate, the extra safety there. He's going to pull pretty early, and they do see Galio all the way in the bottom on that lane, and nice little chunk.
Ow. Yeah, Caps taken down to about 100 here, as Tibbers is just going to usher him out of the lane. Hansama does have now the help of Labrov, but this should mean that FlyQuest get full control of these grubs. But Skewmon comes on around. Busio is going to face check, but once again, getting a bit of a speed up, and it looks like he's able to make his way back towards his fight. Teleport comes in as Caps, making his way towards the fight. The grubs are going to reset.
And Galio is making the roam I was talking about. He's about to mid lane now, so he is within ult range. FlyQuest have to evacuate.
They are going to be able to get themselves out of there. Busio was...
Are we giving?
I mean, he's so incredibly
Inspired's going to his chicken,
so anyone on G2 gets
I think we are.
This Soraka is going to go down as the grubs will go G2's way, and a trade of objectives here to start this one off.
Genuinely impressed that G2 got away with that because FlyQuest did exactly what they needed to. Quad dropped his burst in mid lane to force Caps to be way too low. And on the top side, they also forced a trade against Hansama, so the AD carries also had a health advantage in favor
I might have
FlyQuest.
to
but that TP from Caps
get on
really
the
changed
ginger
the dynamic.
turmeric.
TPing into the top river actually allowed him to group faster with his team. And then as Kobe highlighted, the Galio row meant that he could also arrive earlier. And the fact that Bwipo didn't have his TP meant that what was initially a really
like
good setup
them getting
for
Void
FlyQuest,
Grubs is not the worst thing ever,
went the favor of G2.
because they traded objectives, so it's not like one team is stacking objectives.
He pushed the wave so far. Bwipo probably told his team, sorry guys, you're out of luck. I got to deal with these minions. I need this money. You know, Galio's going to roam up and threaten it. And so the Grubs, an interesting price. It ends up being, you know, 1-for-1 on objectives since FlyQuest took the Dragon a long time ago. But they would have
We have yet again made it to 10 minutes, and not a singular death
and we even saw
has been death in this game.
Coming on down here, as a fair bit of poke damage is going to be done, but it's not going to really solidify any sort of big lead or advantage here, as it was only able to get them down to about half.
I've really come to like the NA Lucian over the years. I feel like it's
grown on me too.
Yeah.
We were traumatized for a long time. We had a lot of failures with this champion, but we have had a lot of successes.
Jan was another one I remember.
Well. Yeah.
Tibbers playing some defense here for Quad. Meanwhile, towards the top side of the map, some aggression as Masu going down very low. Battle Bustio here on the Soraka is just pushing them away. And Masu will be alive for now. Very, very low on mana and health, though, so it does need to be a little careful, although Hansama also in a similar situation.
I didn't quite see from the start, but I think Labrov had Ignite, which makes it so much scarier against the Soraka, just because of the grievous wounds that it does apply. Masu...
Yeah, but her ulti removes Grievous.
But he ends up walking away just fine. Oh, I apologize. Masu is the one that ended up getting very low. The bases will now come through from the bot lane of G2. And we find ourselves with another very even early game.
Yeah, even and not necessarily finding too much action.
Even and boring.
More, but there's also
Be frank with us.
So you can fight as much as you like, and then
even and boring.
That can happen. So I'm going to let them off the hook. Probably still trying to be more aggressive than the last game, but not necessarily working here. Is the gold incredibly even, and the next Drake going to be up in 30 seconds time. We might get a team fight over that one.
Wait, her ult.
The Grubs.
Trinity
Wait, I thought they added it back.
Trinity Force here for Skewmon.
They took it away?
Is definitely going to be a large threat for Inspired now. For the small window where Inspired still trying to cobble together.
Oh, I think it is Sundered Sky timing though.
Is it too OP?
Gonna get it.
Inspired, but can he
but
actually
isn't
get
that basically Melio ult?
5 seconds until this dragon is up and available.
Okay.
And FlyQuest not quite in position to fight for it, with only Bustio and Masu in the area.
You made her too strong. Dang.
The objective out. He's just going to melt through it. Inspired saying, nah, not worth it. I'm just going to go clear my topside camp.
Melio ult doesn't remove Grievous?
G2 with a slight advantage in that department.
I thought it removed all debuffs.
Really going the way of FlyQuest pretty much everywhere around the map.
And this is something that from game number 1, there was only one real small hiccup for FlyQuest, and that was the fight around Dragon 3 where Bustio got chunked so heavily with the headshot. But FlyQuest clear, they were like, okay, we call it off, fine, you chunked us, we're not going to fight this fight. This time around, they're like, you know what, okay, Inspired missed the timing on the first item, you've got Trinity Force Trundle, whatever, we're not going to fight this fight. Inspired just immediately walks towards topside camps. Bwipo just keeps on pushing, we're just going to go for gold instead. And so they're fine giving it up the Dragon. FlyQuest do not opt into fights if they don't have strong conditions ready.
Hey guys, it's 13 minutes and no one has died. Can somebody please run it down? Please.
What is happening as Labrov makes his way over? They're looking for the dive. Knockup does come on through as Bustio
and by someone I really meant G2. I'm not gonna lie, I was just really hoping for it to be G2.
Might even be in trouble himself. As G2 do decide to back away.
Yeah, really good Trundle pillar here. And Bustio does not want to flash early. So
my bad, guys.
Goes down.
That one's on me. That one was on me. That was on me. I'm sorry, y'all. I did get what I wanted. That wasn't what I wanted, though. You're throwing, to be honest. I am so sorry.
I don't think they're going to be able to kill them, but he does at least
I am so sorry.
G2 away. Stands his ground.
My bad, y'all.
Very far up here in this lane.
This is my formal apology to FlyQuest.
Skewmon was an optimistic one at best.
But I'm really impressed with how much he is outplaying Caps in the 1v1. Now,
I needed to specify who I wanted to run it down.
of farm over his lane opposition, a 400 gold lead just simply from farm and the plate that he was able to get. It's like Caps is having a bit of an uncharacteristic series. The man that Europe often
the fact that happened
these high pressure situations
immediately
caught off a lot in the side
was kind of insane. No, like that was
1v1 against Quad.
That was actually insane.
Not something I was expecting.
That was actually kind of insane. Speaking of jerseys, they sent me another package.
You always can just drop it there and get an AoE stun, and it's very valuable. This Annie's kind of accelerated. With that Malignance now done, going to be able to drop a lot of bears. And we do now have 12 seconds on the Rift Herald, so we'll see who's going to be able to get set up for that one. Boostio here in mid lane for now. Looks like Fly
it's
do want to fight for it, but
years.
also in trouble. Equalizer goes down, flashes
oh my gosh,
away,
not 2x.
and just gets chomped down by Skewmon. That's 2-0 for the Troll.
It's been 28 years, and I have not had $1 million simultaneously in my bank account. Can somebody please wire me $1 million?
Skewmon makes the gank on bottom side, Vedius. Then he makes the gank on top side, and a repeat gank as well.
I'll settle for 100,000.
Top side, good flash out there as the wish comes through as well, but it's not going to work. It's 3-0.
And now you get done for fraud. GG.
Of warfare and FlyQuest. They need to do something about this Troll.
Yeah, the Troll
and by
is
her, she means
the game.
me.
Where the Troll goes, G2 wins. And now there is a teleport back out for Whippo. He has been able to wait out his death timer. And so that's going to put a little bit of a pause on things. Quad being down, though, and Quad does not have teleport when he gets back up. Still a few seconds left on that one.
Not linked to the mob,
is coming on through, but the rest of his team moving on up at the same time. Audacious charge there from Inspired to try and close the gap momentarily. G2 in position to try and fight for this, but
here we go.
Is a little further away from everyone else. We have a reset now coming on through, but FlyQuest.
Oh, nobody's gonna do it.
It's too dangerous. Not going to commit to this, and Shelly just getting bothered over and over again by both teams.
So to go back a little bit, my main criticism of the play from G2 was that I think Caps was just a little too itchy to TP. He had a completely uncontested wave in bot lane. That tower was completely open, and he TP'd top to what felt like an already secured play. I felt like that if they'd immediately converted that into a Rift Herald, it would have been fine, but they didn't. Instead, Broken Blade actually goes back to base. Hans Summer's a little bit too low on HP, so he also backs off. And now this objective that G2 initially had position on, they're forced to concede it. Now, does it mean a huge amount? Not necessarily, because Dragon spawning in 30 seconds, and I imagine that's G2's bigger prize.
Infernal Soul,
now they don't have that
FlyQuest. We need to lock that down.
Well, Rift Herald is just
we need to lock that down.
Here in this mid lane, that could be first turret. Going on over
pillar,
to FlyQuest.
Pillar.
Yeah, let's see whether it is going to come through, and there it is. Skewmon able to lock that one down as we have the ulti from Caps towards the top side. Whippo in trouble, but he's just kept alive by the ambulance. And now Quad, an awkward position for him as well, as Caps finds some damage there. Into the backline goes Broken Blade. They're kind of taking it in turns to annoy FlyQuest, and it's working very nicely as G2 keeping these health bars
who would be fun to see?
up there.
Briar.
FlyQuest starting to look a little worse for wear. Caps taking some damage. The Witch comes down yet again. The Equalizer not quite doing that much as Inspired goes in. Looking for LeBron, but he gets himself out. The Crescent Guard comes through as well as Broken Blade comes down from the heavens. Inspired's just looking unkillable.
Dude, they're all 200 HP.
Yeah, G2, they all live. Are FlyQuest going to try and rush the objective? I don't think that's possible here.
They all live with 200 HP.
In the end, the flash away keeps Caps alive.
Dude, if somebody was playing Jinx, they put Rocket down mid lane. It's a triple kill.
Yeah. There is the Galio in there as well, as Master does get that flash off. Winds of War not
like
quite doing too much
literally would have been a triple kill. Why is no one playing
big flash now down
Jinx?
On FlyQuest 80 carry.
All right, well, G2's getting scrappy with it. But we look back at this fight, it's Whippo that's isolated. Broken Blade and Skewmon see an angle, but this Rumble ultimate actually does so much damage. Skewmon gets forced incredibly low. LeBron the same. Inspired sees an angle.
Look at that Lucian ult, bro.
But then this disengage comes through from G2. Hans puts the feathers down. He roots up his opposition. And as FlyQuest is chasing this little heal that comes through from the Brav, just giving them enough HP to get them to safety, they're forced to back away.
Nice,
but it ends up being a 1-for-0, no objective.
Everyone is full HP, I think, and they burst someone. So any poke we get without dying is so strong for us. It's so good for us.
Yeah, well, not a lot of dying has been happening here in this game as Papa, not looking too happy there. But
I mean, it was still a positive play for
Inspired highlighting
FlyQuest,
how they want to use Soraka, you know? They're like, okay, if they get a little poke or whatever, we need to utilize that extra regeneration.
They don't want a fast fight at all. FlyQuest definitely prefer the kind of war of attrition, especially when they know they'll have the HP advantage.
Yeah. And it's such a tightrope as well when you're playing with a Soraka, because you're really good into burst that doesn't kill you. But as soon as the burst kills you, Soraka is useless.
Suddenly, she loses value.
Yes. So as Caps gets more and more items, is able to do that big damage. Doesn't necessarily have a huge burst build right now. That could be happening as we get later in into this game. And especially if it's Lucio that immediately dies, Soraka is going to have no value at all.
Yeah. My main thing is that FlyQuest...
And we lose the dragon.
Well, hold on a second.
Rip.
Yeah, Skimon once again making his presence known as in goes Inspired. He is difficult to kill as we do have a lot of damage coming down. Caps finding the angle for the ulti, but look at this! This Soraka is ludicrous! Making sure that he throws band-aids to everyone, and they are all just gonna be okay. FlyQuest now moving on towards this Otacon. As Lebrov eating some honey fruit, but it looks like they'll be able to use these lower health bars to push them away. And now Bwipo is just burning him down. Might be a little bit of a bridge too far, but it doesn't actually happen. Equalizer is confusing. And I'll leave it at that. But the Otacon down to 50%. Broken Blade teleports in, but isn't going to be able to do too much more because the map is dark and full of terrors and bananas.
Yeah, the Bwipo Rumble is not looking the best, but his teleport down to the bottom side does mean that they're full committing to Otacon, and they do get the Otacon. G2 make them pay for it, though.
I mean, I think the FlyQuest punish was just so good, and as you rightly said, the use of the Soraka there. Like, I don't really understand how Hansama just lost all his HP. But all I can say is FlyQuest was full. Like, they walked into that Otacon feeling very comfy, and G2 do their best to cross-map by securing that mid-adder tower. There's still a lot of standing gold for both sides, as we're 21 minutes in and only a single tower has fallen.
This has been such a slow and methodical series for both of these teams. There has been some whoopsies left and right, but it does feel like FlyQuest got the better of that last moment and do get the Otacon for it as we have another engage.
G2 is winning right now. The lead isn't
found Inspired yet again, but this is how the last fight started. Quad comes on over and just drops a bear on them. The Galio will be the answer. The knock-up, he's still alive, but Skimon will finally get the chomp. And down goes the
iconic. Thank you so much for the 10 roses and the 10 pumpkins.
But now G2 with some control on this map, and
the 10 TikToks.
All of this division from
Thank
G2
you so
in
much,
the blue quadrant of the jungle.
You.
We even saw before the play took
Thank
off,
you for supporting
there were FlyQuest
the
question mark pings there. They did kind of expect.
Oh, Skimon is just going to get flashed on here, tries to flash the wall, misses. And now you've got the Feather Storm needing to be employed. Another
have a great day at
equalizer
work.
to come down, but Bwipo not going to be able to follow up on that one.
Thank you, Molasses.
So the answer does come through, and finally FlyQuest are on the board. They've discovered how to get kills in this game. Could be dangerous here for G2.
That's interesting as well. There is a teleport on Caps ready if they want to answer the bottom side, because Bwipo, after the kill there, flashing onto Rumble, Bwipo could just push out bottom lane.
Iconic,
Galio
thank
looks
you for
like
the perfume.
Broken Blade is going to head down there, so not very much time for them to try and take the tower.
I'm trying to understand how Caps went from being
is it updating, Pookie?
20 CS down to now 30 CS up. I haven't been tracking what he's been doing throughout the game, but he now has a full level over quad. And, I mean, at the very least, Bwipo being able to secure this tower, it's such an interesting game because even though G2 find themselves with about a 2k gold lead, it still feels very close. And I think it's just because...
Jinx and Masu's champ
I think it's because every time we see a fight, the Soraka can offer so much
I don't
value.
really
And as
think
Inspired said, it
so.
very much determines, or it's determined by how quickly G2 can find an initial kill. If they find that initial pick,
He might be able to make it work, but I haven't seen him play it.
This might be that initial pick that you were talking about. Outer turret is going to be taken here. Bottom lane to follow suit immediately. The rest of FlyQuest moving on over. They accept the turret, and they just move on.
Thank you for the
That is going to expand that gold
crescendo.
advantage to about 3.2k. And I feel like last game, it was FlyQuest slowly building on their advantage, and this game is G2 slowly building on their advantage.
it does feel that way. I'm still kind of mind blown that Caps now has like a 1k gold lead over Quad. The fact that you could build this up in the side lane, I guess that's what I get for underestimating the EU GOAT. In any case, 35 seconds until the next dragon. And
I can imagine it was because Quad was too busy doing damage.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of damage, and I expect him to
We're
continue
reading
to
for
do that.
FlyQuest as they are
Both these AD carries.
a North
A
American
single
team.
ultimate away from both these mid laners to losing a lot of HP.
Masu's also going
T1
for Black
will play
Cleaver,
on
Lucian
Friday though,
here as well,
so
to remain in the scrap.
and they're playing
So
against an NA
FlyQuest
team.
gonna
They're
have
playing
these
against 100 Thieves,
4
so
combat members,
it'll
and then
be
the
a good
heal
day to
bot
tune
on the
in.
outside, trying to stay out of the Galio ult, trying to stay away from the Rakan as well. G2, they're the ones with the priority on engages because Rakan and Galio is such a good combo in trying to stick on that back line.
See, Whippo always
It'll be
ready
a
to
good
start
day.
fighting back whenever G2 move in, but it's getting a little bit scary as they're moving into the fog of war. Equalizer
Ooh,
goes down
that's a
once
good
again.
equalizer, no?
That's very
Trying
I
to
guess
get the
not.
poke in there. As soon as
Never mind.
FlyQuest do take damage, though,
Was a
damage
deterrent.
Very
Lucio there
little
to
as
keep
well.
them up. This is sole point, remember, guys. This is not something that FlyQuest really feel comfortable giving up, but they're not going to be able to move in here into the fog of war to try and deny it. So they're going to have to try and get this middle outer turret instead. Baron just spawning now. FlyQuest moving towards this top side with that mid outer turret falling.
Okay, so only the top tier 1 left for FlyQuest. I imagine that they're going to want to try and secure that one when they can. It's just a decent amount of standing gold. That should be pretty easy to secure. It's a bit risky for Whippo to go for it now, and quite wisely, he's going to go back to base instead. The risk of a collapse is very real as G2 address some of their side lanes. They're going to have Han Summer go and catch that mid wave so that he can tick over to level 13. Meanwhile, on the bot side of the map, Caps is mainly just covering Broken Blade, knowing that it's not the safest place to clear that wave, as Masu also very cautious about what he can't see on the map right now. A lot of control wards and just a lot of vision in general in favor of G2.
Yeah.
Makes it very difficult for him to approach
He
that
had to
mid wave.
save himself.
And G2, they've got, their 3 sources of heal cutting with the double Bramble Vest on both Skumond and Lebrov, as well as the orb on Broken Blade. So everybody
It's
with the
International Wombat
possibilities
Day.
here, of cutting down on that Soraka sustain. I want to see what FlyQuest can actually do about the Trundle, though, because Skumond actually had such a good kind of mid game that
It's
it did
super
result in
zoomed
this
out.
Trundle being really hard to take down now. And Trundle kind of thrives in these scrappy fights.
Well, he's going to have to try and book it over here. It is Broken Blade with a lot of CC, keeping Whippo busy. Equalizer goes down. The Wish comes in, but he just dies before FlyQuest could get in there. Still, they're going to look for the fight, though. Crescent Guard comes down. Lebrov just explodes in an instant as the taunt is fantastic. The flash out from Inspire, but he still dies. Not enough in the tank here for Busio. And G2 finding the
Are we
advantage
going
here.
game
Redemption
3,
comes
dude?
down. They've got healing of their own.
What's happening?
It moves to a 3,000 gold lead, and they might have Baron on the mind as they push this lane in.
Do we not want to promote? Do we not want to? Do we not want to be in quarterfinals?
Whippo's flash just came up as well, but unfortunately too little
Whippo's
too
doing
late.
the cap
And
special
now
from
G2
last
know
game.
they have the numbers advantage. There's no smite available for FlyQuest. With Annie around, they might try and contest this still. Masu in the area. Let's see
Masu,
what
can you
Poke
ult
get
it
down.
maybe?
It is a
I
pretty
don't
early
know.
Baron, but it's going down very, very quickly. A teleport is available here as soon as this Rumble does spawn, and he's teleporting in now, but the Baron is going to go down. Quad immediately explodes as Whippo cannot get anything done. Flash over the wall there from Busio as Whippo decides he wants to go aggressive.
Masu does
I'm not sure about
damage,
that one, but
but
Masu tries to get the kill on Skumond, and it doesn't quite work. All of these Barons still up and available, and the Justice Punch to bring Broken Blade forward. He will find his mark as Busio's still
Heal
alive and getting this
him,
healing down, but the
Busio,
problem is
heal
they're not
him.
doing enough damage to G2. And they're just going to back
I was
up.
about
The
to say,
culling
when is
working
Lucian
as
ult
intended,
up?
but
That was kinda
unfortunately,
weak, though.
it's just a little too late.
The Soraka healing is just way too monstrous. It feels like G2 find a pick, but then can't convert it into a kill. They still get themselves the Baron, though. That was the objective that they wanted, and they
we stand
ballooned the gold
Soraka in
lead
this
to
household
5.7K.
personally.
And they re-killed that Rumble
Personally,
again.
I believe.
And the Rumble did flash in this time. So here's the original pick. They find Whippo again. Broken Blade immediately onto
Again
him, locks him
is
up.
the correct
long enough for
wording.
the rest of the team to come. Caps teleports over, and they burst him down despite the Soraka trying to heal, trying to keep him alive. So FlyQuest then still
Albino
try and fight it
Oompa
out.
Loompa
They
is
burst
in
down
this
Lebrov,
game.
But this kill, as Inspired flashes over, still going down to the last bit of damage there from Hansama was
Who are you
huge.
talking about? Like I low-key don't even know who
It looked a
you
little
mean.
sketchy. I saw Masu near the pit.
Are you talking about Soraka? Oh, hashtag ban Soraka. I'm freaking dead.
Once the taunt came down onto Quad, it became an easy cleanup affair. I'm not quite sure what Whippo's plan was in this situation. Maybe he thought that he could catch someone off guard. But he's not able to do it. He loses his life and he loses the flash. Masu, if Soraka wasn't in the game, this Lucian would have fallen. But just look at the healing coming through. Busio doing exactly what he needs to keep his
Yeah,
AD
no,
carry alive.
Busio.
I can hear the Soraka hate in your voice.
Oh, yeah.
Not quite able to get it.
Soraka's so
but
annoying.
Still, I think that means G2 are going to have control of the entire map right now. This fight just blew it wide open. They've got Baron buff. They got a bunch of extra kills off it too.
Okay, well, we're looking for a bit more of a fight here as the heroic entrance comes down. Quad takes a large chunk. FlyQuest still in it, though, as we can see. Masu is going so aggressive. I don't know whether it's a good idea, as there is the ulti out from Caps to get so much AoE damage. But Masu still alive. The ambulance is working, but Skumon finally gets the jump down. And there goes the AD carry. G2 are a freight train. They'll break the
We're going game 3, guys. We're going game 3.
Game number 3.
G2 will finally get a bit of revenge against FlyQuest as they finally get a big... Wow, I suppose they'll get a big inhibitor.
They do get a big inhibitor push. It's still good. It's still big.
Back away, they can get themselves the Infernal
A lot of
Soul,
enters in this series,
as they look to bring us to game 3.
It certainly is.
A lot of enters in this series.
I was about to say, what's his
Last
name
game, it was Caps. This game, it's Grippo.
If I knew it was game 3 Gary before, I'd be so G2 biased in this game. Oh my god, I'm really glad you saved that until now.
Infernal Soul.
As the priceless moment of the game does come on through. Infernal Soul for G2. A Rebel Baron power play putting them at about 8.7k in the lead. And FlyQuest trying to get back out onto the map. You can see Inspired just wanting to keep this fight going, but Between Worlds comes out from Caps, and he's now on a rampage against Quad. And Masu feels like he just came out of the death chamber, but immediately they're looking to try and put him back in there as this siege. Baron or no Baron, G2 will be able to take down another inhibitor turret. And with Infernal Soul, I think they'll have the damage to burst down FlyQuest now. The culling comes through, but Skumon says what? As he just takes most of it. Equalizer in as well as they look for Whippo, but he does go gold and the quickness comes on through. The charm is fantastic. They try and keep him alive, but it does
is not
work.
taking damage.
It's a bit of a trade though, as this Rakan is going to be taken down, but man, these wallets, they are so heavy from G2. First Nexus turret to be taken down. Masu going to be next to be taken on this fountain, and G2 showing them that even though they did get swept at MSI, here at World's going to be a different story.
And I think it's just such a big difference.
I've been working on letting hate go. Can you see it's working? Oh, absolutely.
So much more agency.
100%.
He was having so much more impact on the map as well. And G2 successfully bring us to game 3.
And this is exactly what we wanted. Now, Analyst Desk, who's going to win the third one?
Do you think I'm gonna tell you immediately? We're gonna make you work for it. We gotta run through game 2 second, but it is 3 games here for us in this epic EU versus NA battle. And I gotta say, for a lot of the things we were questioning
no way
after
we
game
lose
1
this
for
next
G2,
game, right?
A lot of things were answered, Rob, and for me, one of the big ones was Skumon / Lebrov. How will they do? They are the 2 members that had the most on their shoulders because they came into the roster this year when G2 had their successes with other members, and Skumon really, really had a phenomenal game.
Yeah, and I think these were the 2 members that my eyes were on in playoffs for LEC, and they had the
We
performances
can't
there.
lose
and now we finally
this,
get to see the game
bro.
2. The mapping's
We
actually stepping up
can't.
once again, and Skumon, as a result, got so fed in the early stages that it actually became really, really difficult for
We're rooting
FlyQuest
for
to try and
FlyQuest.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think
They
a
are
lot
the
of the game
NA
was
team in
decided
this
off of these
series.
early plays here from Skumon, goes down bot,
Yeah,
goes
bro.
Busio, goes top,
And you know
kills
what,
Whippo,
Holy? I'm
then Quad
pissed that
overextends,
G2
you know, after
beat
going up to try to cover that
BLG
wave, he
because
dies
we
too.
had the
This point,
ability
Trundle
to
is such a
say
commanding
for
position
like
that Zinzo
ages
was
to
always
come
behind the pace,
that
and I
we
felt like
beat
FlyQuest
the
were kind of counting on,
LPL
like,
number
Andy
1
shielding up
seed.
the Zen,
But
Soraka healing
then
up the Zen, and the
BLG
Zen
went and
being
lost
this,
to
like, brick
G2
wall
as
in the middle.
well.
But Trundle
So
was just
then
straight
it's
up
like,
stronger,
bro.
would ultimate his own ult, and they would just
Now they
fan
get
fight,
to say
and he
it.
would get slapped down.
So it doesn't even matter. Like it
It's true.
makes that
I
win
wanted to see
feel less
this graphic because Inspired
good.
versus Skumon is, I think, a really big matchup in this. And for people that aren't aware, we kind of
Yeah, I really don't understand what BLG is doing.
Inspired a
The
few
KDA
years
is
ago.
flipped,
I think it's
yeah.
flipped. A couple of years ago, because you can see sometimes he likes to play where he has the game in his own hands. And I think we saw that with the Trundle.
And it's also, Trundle is one of the champions where if you are ahead, like, it feels amazing to
Bonk,
play.
bonk,
Because you can
bonk.
just go for every play. And we already, Rob already mentioned Lebrov a little bit, but to me, Rakan, when you also are always able to go for any play because you build up an early lead, it makes it so insanely oppressive. And with how reliant the current meta seems to be on going for objective fights, if your jungle and support are both doing well, you're in a great spot.
That's a great point, and it was fun to watch this game next to Azale, specifically in the mid-game skirmishes, because FlyQuest kind of had to come back in the palm of their hands.
Because you like to see the pain in my eyes.
It's been years. It's been years. But to that point, because you saw
yeah, I would love to see VKS eliminate them.
But they wouldn't die.
Not only would I love to see VKS get that win in a best of 3, but I would also love to see like all
a lot of different fights here,
like
getting out with like multiple
it's
people
not a
at
minor
low health bars,
region, but
and
you
that
know,
starts to snowball
not
to a point
LCK
where
or
even when FlyQuest plays a fight
LPL,
well,
take
they're
them
then too
out.
far behind
I
and they
think
can't
that would
actually finish off any
be
of these kills.
And I
fire.
think that is one of the risks you run when you have like this low engage style competition. You're kind of reliant on the Annie and the Zinzao.
The two on the left don't look familiar. Where are these normal people? Where's the normal people? So they invite casters and analysts from every region to do the English broadcast. So two of them are European, one of them is North American, and then the guy who is immediately to the left of Azale is from Korea.
For me, it did come down to execution. I think that both Scuman and Labrov played a really good game. There was
Thank
also
you,
the
Black
fact
Chef
that
J.
if
Taylor.
they
I
were
appreciate you,
able to
Pookie.
actually play on the spikes of Zinzao, who again was put behind early, I think this comp looks completely different. Like Standard Sky is a really big one, but it's actually, as Zil pointed out, I think it was the first skirmish. He didn't even have a second item yet.
Yeah, exactly. It was for this dragon where normally that's how Fly plays, right? They'll give up some early dragons, they'll come up, they'll be on this power spike, but he didn't even have a second item.
Game 1.
Exactly. He didn't have a second item for that.
Inspired.
That
what
so
happened, babes?
And also, they were so
What
far behind, I think, in gold a
happened?
lot of the time that no one felt like they had the space to buy heal cut. And if you have no heal cut against a Trundle that's ahead of you, this champion is just never going to die. Like, you saw in the damage done, Masu did the most by a lot, but it just never looked like it was actually impactful whatsoever.
Like tickling him.
I mean, there was a couple of cullings that really did change engages or fights that were in the bottom side to where he picked off Han Sama, but it's as you were saying, because Scumon was so far ahead,
Is
he was entering into
Gakkos
the Zinzao
legitimately
zone, was able to
playing
pick
a
off the
mobile
Zinzao
game
alongside
right
Broken
now?
Blade, and having those two with enough DPS to finish off the
Is
healed
this
up
man
Zinzao
locked
was
in on a
crucial to the
mobile
success.
game? Is he playing TFT?
Analyze this. Are they confident? Are they
Brother,
not? Are they
if you
shaking
don't
in their
lock the
boots? Because
frick
this was
in,
so easy. EU
like, I
doesn't
know you're not
matter.
about
We
to
wanna
play,
beat
but bro.
LPL in LCK. We don't even
wanna
We don't
watch?
even think about you, EU. But regardless, though, Game 3, everything is left to be played for, and I'm happy
There
we're getting
are
a Game
South
3. Let me do a
Korean
little
casters
temperature check across the line, then.
I'm feeling good
for
still. I mean, I
the
think,
Korean
honestly,
broadcast.
The Rumble was something that made me
You
a
see what
little
I'm
bit nervous.
saying?
It's not something
They
that
are
is a
doing
pick
the
that Bwipo normally
English
goes to.
Korean
I think he looked
broadcast.
pretty uncomfortable
Since
on it.
everybody likes to
And
watch
yes, I think Busio can play this
Korea,
Soraka well, but
like
also
in
he's
Korea's
so critical
games,
to their team fights.
they
Like, his engages
have
are so good. So I
other
think they maybe tried to cook a little
languages
bit too hard here.
cast
I'd like to see them just go back to comfort.
That's some
like
info.
Korean
Fly
games.
chose blue, so G2 is going to be on the red side for the 3rd time in a row.
You
When
see
it
what I'm
comes to
saying?
Fearless and kind of red side for this Game 3, how does that all make you feel?
That is interesting.
What's up?
'cause
It's King
I don't
Will.
think Game
How are you
3 is
doing, love?
necessarily the break point, but for me, Fearless does become better. If you have the champ people to support it, obviously, that's kind of a given.
Yeah.
And you can flex around a good amount. But I think you get higher value of counter picks because the big thing on blue side normally is champions are so good that you can't counter pick them. Orianna comes to mind, for example. But once you get deeper and deeper in, the champions that you do blind pick will just be more counterable.
And that's why I agreed. Like, I think having BB on a counter pick here could actually be huge. Like, he's liked to bring out the Kled. He's had these fancy picks that he enjoys playing. So if he has that opportunity to last pick that into that top side, it could work out well.
I'd like to see it because in the past we've had periods of time where I think Broken Blade was G2's best player at international
You as
events.
well,
and he kind of had a lull,
Will.
of course, and he's trying to get back to that level. I think the bin game was a confidence game as well. So I can see it. I think that could be a true win condition. So then the counterpoint, what's the true win condition here for FlyQuest in Game 3?
I mean, I think it's just play better straight up. I mean, I want to see Busio on Engage again. I want to see Bwipo on a pick that he's really comfortable on. And I want to see them play their game because I still do have a lot of confidence that if they're playing their style, they should be able to win.
Okay, well, that's it. We still have a couple of seconds left, so a little bit of excitement. I'm happy that it's going to 3.
Nervous. I'm
Me
so
too.
nervous.
I mean, the
Having
thing
a great
is,
time. Why are you guys so emotional?
you just
This
want to
is
see a great last game, but I think it's good
It's just a content game, you know.
to re-hit the stakes once again, right? If you win this next game, you find yourself in the quarterfinals of the World Championship. For FlyQuest, it would be huge once again. For G2, they have been starving for it with all of Europe since the introduction of the Swiss stage. There is so much on the line here for Game 3. And after the break, we will finally find out who is heading to those quarterfinals, G2 or FlyQuest.
Please, Fly, lock in. Please fly, lock in.
Have to try and book it over here.
If they lose this, they'll have another chance, but it'll be a lot harder because they'll probably end up going against a tougher team. So they'll either be going up against CFO or the two teams that lose tomorrow.
In the tank here for Busio. And G2 finding the advantage here. Redemption comes down. They've got healing of their own. It moves to a 3,000 gold lead, and they might have Baron on the mind.
It's about our American pride. Facts. We can't lose to EU. It's been 6 years since we have. 6. Yeah, my pick'ems are trashed. But I did say that FlyQuest will advance with a 3-2 record. And then I put that T1 will advance with a 3-1. But they did not. Wait, if FlyQuest advances today, then they won't advance with a 3-2 record. Okay, hear me out, guys.
We have a new mode for you that we're calling ARAM Mayhem. It's
I kind of need FlyQuest to lose.
All the fun augment fueled variations of Arena with 5v5 ARAM games.
Yeah, I think
we want every champion to feel special and get to explore some combinations and fantasies that they don't normally get.
I think I need them to lose.
It'll be live with patch 2521, so look forward to some mayhem coming to the bridge soon.
But yeah, I didn't predict EU would make it into finals. So my pick'ems are kind of screwed though. My pick'ems are pretty screwed. Yeah. Come on, Fly. Lock in, bro. Lock in, Fly. Please. Please, FlyQuest. Just lock in this one time. This one time, I need y'all to lock in. This one time. It would be so ginormous if FlyQuest not only won this game, but made it to semis. And then finals. Oh my gosh, if FlyQuest made it to finals, I'd cry. I'd be sad when they lose, but I'd cry. Does TPA even have a team still? Is that still a team? Oh yeah, they did release that they're releasing a Lux skin. Wasn't there another skin that they're releasing as well? And they lose and bring back 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves versus T1 is going to be the saddest game. Just so sad.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Worlds 2025. I'm Atlas, joined by Gary this time and Kobe, and we are ready to dive into this Game 3 draft.
All right, Game 3, Gary.
Yeah.
What are you feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling that we're getting pretty deep into the AD carry pool. I feel like Yanara naturally rises in priority, but we've been seeing G2 ban it away a lot, and okay, they're going to stick to that same strategy. I often like, domestically in Europe, we have a bit of a meme where, like, when your back's against the wall, you're really let into a series, just slam Jinx because she can never really go wrong. I'm curious as to whether or not she will be that present in the draft. And I'm really thinking about supports because I do feel like Game 1, the Labrov Bard didn't really do it for us here on the caster desk. And then Game 2, I think the Soraka had its value, but the way in which they utilize it and the deficit that they found themselves didn't quite have the impact that I think they were looking for. So I wonder if we'll now
love
get
to
those
see a
traditional
Jinx.
engaged supports with Leona, Rel, Nautilus, all up and available.
Yeah,
well, I'll tell you what, we
Fly
are going to
blue.
get either an Orianna or a Azir getting through in this game because both of them are not banned. So G2, they can go with the strategy of we'll leave them both up and then trade one on the other side.
I think they have to.
To try and get a 2-for-1.
My issue with that is that it feels like Orianna has had the better of that matchup throughout. We did see Zeka have a pop-off game earlier today, but in the laning phase especially, Orianna can have a good time.
But
as the Nico was the ban.
So the reason why teams hated giving it to Caps domestically was just because of how much of a nuisance he is, treating it as a split push champion. He loves sitting in side lanes and just being mega
I do like Masu's
Kaisa. It's the
Kaisa.
correct choice to take this one away from Caps just because of how confident and comfortable he is on the champion.
Ooh, could it be Orianna Nocturne? Do they play Orianna Nocturne? It's a lot of fun.
Hey. Do G2 play Orianna Nocturne? Oh, baby, have I got a story for you?
Hey. We can't do that anymore, okay? It's fearless now.
Okay, whatever you say, buddy.
I was low-key hoping that we'd get something like an Akali coming through, but it will be just the Orianna. Caps is going to keep it stock standard. I'm very interested. The Volley Bear is open. Something you just got to keep in mind for
Volley Bear?
champion that just gives him so much early game agency in particular.
They want to be Faker so bad.
Now, but
If they use his skin, Cupcake.
I will say it got nerfed a couple of times here leading into Worlds as well.
Ooh, that's
Varus, ew.
As a Volley Bear nowhere, got taken down a little bit. You can it still has good spots when you want to have aggressive lanes to gank for, though. And I am glad that Skumond has been representing. But we're just gonna get an early.
Oh my gosh! What if they're just building the T1 roster from last year's?
And is this going to be
Well,
just
I get to
a standard
both of them
jungle top
because
lane?
Varus
Do we
was
get, like,
last
an
year, but
Ornn or
Orianna
something
was
like
the
that,
year
or
before.
Renekton would be like the true Shurima combination here on the side of FlyQuest, keeping things pretty basic. The jungle pool is somewhat thinned though. As far as like the upper echelon of junglers, I think Pantheon is the last one that's kind of remaining.
Vi's banned as well, yeah.
Now lock in Nasus mid
kind of
for me.
feel like the Pantheon tier. But Nocturne, I feel like then Nocturne starts to creep in there, like you're saying too.
The Caps picture is diabolical. Oh my gosh, Sejuani.
This feels like very West. Like Sejuani, Renekton, Azir.
I'm snoozing.
This is, I mean, it's our meta. I don't
If
think it's
this
this
wasn't
meta.
for quarterfinals, I'd go to
West,
sleep.
It's just last year.
Yes, you're right. It's a combination we've seen so many times in Pro League, and now G2's kind of forced into a choice. Do you match the Renekton? Oh, so technically they can choose to match both. They've flexed this champion into
Guys,
both jungle and
I
top
am
lane.
a Dr. Mundo
so they're
fan.
keeping their options open
Ever
as they
since
lock in a window.
my
That's a bit of fun. This is a bit of a
my little
Blade
Dr.
special.
Mundo
So,
vibe.
excited to see how that one is going to look. Whether it is going to be his or whether Skumond's
I
going to be
am a Dr.
piloting
Mundo
it.
fan.
And now a bit more flexibility as far as the bottom lane is concerned with that.
It's
Varus
my
already
top
locked
lane
in, so just gonna be focusing
main.
on the opposite side AD carry options.
And I hope it is a jungle Mundo. Definitely would like it in the hands of Skumond into a Sejuani here. Would look pretty good for this G2 scaling. Let's see about the bottom lane though, as you're talking about. and you know, they want to break the full Shurima synergy and take out the third possible piece here to take away the Sivir. But what on top of it here for Masu? I mean, they do need another pretty big damage source, pretty big carry. So we are kind of thinking about the later ones. You know, Jinx does even start to be viable as well into a Varus.
Could be cropping up. We'll just have to see where they do decide to go. It does open the door.
Can you go 6 and 10? No.
I guess a Jhin or something like that. There is already a fair bit of consistent damage in the Azir, so it might be an option there theoretically. But
I wonder if Fly might consider banning something like a Blitzcrank. It depends
what if we did a little
just to remind people that LeBron does like those hook style champions, and given that, I wouldn't be surprised if they gave Lebrov counter pick as well, because he could also be thinking about something like Renata, a little bit more disengage with both the Sejuani and Renekton that's going to look to threaten that back line.
All right, well, Braum is going to be the decision. Get rid of that one. Now Hansama, will it be a rounding out of the bottom lane?
So they need to pick top lane and support.
It's a support lock in here.
Or possibly
honestly,
jungle.
Because it would have just been triple flex Poppy, and you'd be just still very
The Mundo is
confused
pretty flexible.
about where things are going. That's a cat. Not psyched about that one, but it's just going to be a hopper for now.
Okay, the Rel. So they're going to keep this Mundo as flexible as possible until the very last moment. They want to see what is rounded out, but G2 have gotten themselves a nice little wombo combo at the very least. Varus ultimate, Orianna ultimate, Rel ultimate.
I also don't think Masu plays Draven.
They can just press in combination with one another. FlyQuest thinking about their bot lane. There aren't many AD carries left that can really match up against the Varus. They want a little bit more utility, so they're hovering over the Nautilus, and I expect that to be locked in.
I really would have loved to see like Jinx Lulu, Jinx Thresh.
A ban throughout this series, I feel like, in the second round. Couple of times, so going to get his hands on it this time is Busio, but now we'll have to get the information as to what Masu is going to be playing.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like it so far as you know, you're playing into two low mobility carries, Orianna and the Varus here, so you have point and click, you have a lot of good like fishing options with Sejuani ult, with Nautilus hooks as well. I personally want something with higher damage than a Jhin, but like you said, Jhin does provide the CC.
I willed it into the universe, didn't I?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just staring at the Mundo, so maybe
you will be staring at the Mundo for a long time because he is not going to die.
As he said, you know, Azir can shoulder a lot of that, burden of killing the Mundo. So, not necessarily.
I feel like Jinx, Vayne, Ogma,
but now to round out this comp and decide where this Mundo is
like
going,
would have been so much better. Okay, so it's Mundo jungle,
which is likely not going to be happening. Lebrov to lock that one in. And so BB with a Jax towards the Renekton.
They want to be useless so bad.
Do like because you can nullify the W, but could still be a difficult one.
We win late game though, right?
Good in the early to mid game.
Oh yeah, I mean early on, Renekton should definitely have the advantage in this.
I don't know if Masu's champ pool
domestically, it's one of his highest win rate champions, and it's just something
like
that a lot of teams
is suited
were
for
very
this.
afraid to give to him, but then the champion kind of fell out of meta. Of course, it did get some buffs coming into this championship. We already saw Mirwin bringing out to not so much great success, but Broken Blade feeling confident as Skewmon going to be taking his hands with the Mundo. I do think G2 have decent range thanks to the Varus. I'm expecting him to go for lethality once again to try and have some poke back against both the Azir and the Jhin. The question becomes, how confident are you with what FlyQuest have drafted? I do like the Azir, especially with the front line of the Sejuani, but as you mentioned, that Jhin does concern me a little bit.
Yeah, honestly, I feel pretty decent about it. They have got a lot of tools that FlyQuest do rely on a lot as far as creating their team fights. And I do feel more comfortable with Busio having engage options.
Yeah, I'm foreseeing Mundo like out-sustaining most of the fights in late game, not gonna lie.
More like, you know, Whipple getting caught out and stuff.
Mundo's so freaking ugly,
but I
bro.
still just feel more comfortable when Busio can like make more
that man has
plays.
a blue tongue, dude.
Certainly can
he has
do that.
blue tongue and purple
when,
eyes.
Again, G2 are running Orianna and Varus as their carries. Those are two carries that can be pressured pretty
Who actually kills him? No one.
You've got Azir in the
like, why are we not Jinx? Why are we not Vayne? Why are we not Kog'Maw?
Sort of support roams towards mid or Sejuani.
Like, who's going to tank Shred?
Burn flashes and create some pressure.
We'll see if they can get that one done as we are.
Don't worry, Jin will build Bork.
Here at Skewmon and
don't worry, guys. Jin's going to rush Bork and LDR, and it's going to be lit.
And also, some keystones that are worth noting is the fact that we do see a lethal tempo.
Yeah, Sky. Well, so Bork, LDR, Kraken
this time.
is going to be the core build for this
I'm
gen.
excited about this top lane matchup because for those that don't know, there is actually quite an extensive history between both Bwipo and Broken Blade, given the various organizations that both of these teams have been on.
Yeah, Bork
I wouldn't
is
say
criminal.
that it's necessarily a rivalry, but kind of Bwipo has had that advantage over Broken Blade kind of throughout his career. It only really shifted around that 2021 mark, but given that they both played in Europe for a fair amount of time, the matchup between the two got quite heated, and it's cool to see them back on the Rift, especially given that they're both on comfort picks, I would associate. Renekton, very well known for Bwipo, and the same for this Jax in favor of Broken Blade.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that it's so one-sided. But we're seeing here that BB's not feeling too worried about it.
Yeah, nice little empowered Q charge there from Bwipo for the trade. Usually you'll see that the Renekton look for the level 6 possible, like all-in versus Jax with the newly buffed Renekton ultimate. You get
it'd
so
go crazy,
much damage
Sky.
out of that, so I think we'll probably get like regular trading up there. Ooh.
Phenomenal anchor to come through here as Hansama will be able to use the cleanse, but does have to put that on cooldown. They trade it for the heal. As you can see, Busio takes so much burst damage back. Nicely played there from G2 after a good hook to land.
Jin, though, just showcasing how much damage he can bring to the laning phase. Varus is considered a pretty lane-dominant champion, but Jin one of the few champions that can kind of go blow for blow with him. But now that Masu doesn't have his support, he's being forced to play quite defensively.
Nice job. Snipe the minion and dodge the Q there from Hans.
Ooh, heal does come on down. Still gets the knock up even after the cleanse. As Masu makes his way out once again. Blighted Quiver not going to get procced.
Again, both junglers are pathing towards bottom side, so Skewmon going to be in position earlier. Mundo's clear is very, very quick. One of the big reasons you always want to pick it into junglers like Sejuani,
Why
who
didn't
rely
he use the
on
pink
CC
chroma?
and are not high damage. Mundo can clear very quickly and then ignore a lot of, whoa, okay,
Yeah.
getting a little deep there.
Not going to find too much more than that, but it was looking a little dicey. So they're fighting on that top side. Skewmon going to be able to grab himself some shellfish, and we'll just head back home.
That mana in the mid lane looking a little bit sketchy for Caps as Inspired makes his way
Did
towards
he
the top
say
side.
shellfish?
Blade has to be very defensive now. Kind of expected early on this matchup to go the way of Bwipo, and he's going to get a quick back as a result of the push that he's been able to get. So standards.
Ooh, look does come on through here as teleport in is an interesting one. Not able to hold them in position for long enough, but they're going for a lane swap anyway, so Bwipo wanted to be down here.
That's a really nice play, because not only do you interrupt the back, it was only Busio that interrupted his own back, allowing for Masu to get back to base, so he's already going to begin the swap, and he has that slight tempo advantage over his bot lane counterpart.
Yeah, delay them on their reset in matching the swap, so...
Are we looking at the
Masu
same
will
game?
get
What's
there
up?
first, and should get to most of the minions. Snipes one.
Beautiful use of this Deadly Flourish so far from Masu, as he doesn't hit all of the minions, but will be able to make it into experience range for most. As Busio moving around, looking for a bit of an angle under Caps. Does walk over vision at the time, but Lebrov's going to turn up as well, and so Busio just says, nope, I'm just going to turn around and leave.
Both supports just testing the water, providing cover for their mid laners as Bwipo looking to try and proxy. Some decent damage from Broken Blade, but there's not much that he can do to stop this, and this will give Bwipo a window to look for a roam if he wants to.
It's kind of dangerous, though, because both of them know jungler's cleared from top to bottom, so he should be expecting Skewmon to be over towards his area.
And he kind of was, so now just going to be vacating, moving back. Does have that tempo advantage, like you were saying, by being able to clear out the wave so early. But another crash going to come on through here as FlyQuest moves.
Yeah,
this
I feel like it's
minion
going to be
wave
a hard
towards
one.
the turret. And we do see it's about 100 gold, I guess, the lead, but that will be evened up as this wave is cleared out.
Ooh, the freeze is actually coming out from Broken Blade, so he's caught the wave that Bwipo tried to proxy, and now he's dragged it into the middle of the lane, and now he's going to start having that slow push go in his favor. The good news for Bwipo is he does have his jungler on the bot side of the map, so it should be pretty easy for them to break this freeze. In fact, Inspired might look for a wraparound, because there's no vision on the bot side, so Broken Blade in a lot of danger.
Yeah, looking a little bit dicey
Okay.
here as the
Flash,
comes in. The Flash
stun.
W is going to connect as the Grandmaster's might is not mighty enough, and first blood goes over to Whippo on this Crocodile.
And again, it's on the level 6 timing that you're always
America.
looking for the Renekton. As soon as you get that ultimate, you know you have good conditions, and it's even more favorable
And Dragon,
with all the setup that you're
delicious.
talking about. No vision around the bottom lane with the wave pushing. Broken Blade jumps right in, right into Inspired and Whippo's
Nice interrupt.
arms.
And the timing is fantastic as well, because Broken Blade has just used his TP, the Dragon is available to be secured, and the advantage that Whippo gains after Broken Blade loses all that farm as well, just beautifully done from FlyQuest, as they've now already built up about a 500 to 600 gold lead.
Yeah, got to be a little bit more cautious when you don't have any vision at all down there. And as you say, Inspired pretty happy to grab the objective, though Skewmond is going to take that opportunity to punish a bit. Your jungler shows getting Dragon. I will take your Cromp at least.
Oh, there's the sweep from Quad. Flash comes
Okay,
out from Caps.
Flash.
The Flash in trade
Ult.
there. As Quad avoids
So they both flash
the
each
shockwave.
other's
Nicely done, but
ultis.
there's a lot of summoner spells now missing in the mid lane, and both junglers can
Both
smell
junglers are here.
it. Skewmon moving on over. Quad does have that wave pushing into him. As now another fight in this bottom lane, top lane.
Nice
matchup that
getting
we've got
out
here.
of the stun.
Good spacing there from Whippo. He's
Yeah,
gonna feel
that
really
was
confident
very
now
good
after the
spacing.
extra money from the kill.
That was very
Goes for
good spacing.
Another proxy wave here. Every time you do this, you get an extra 30 seconds of move timer to be able to do whatever you want. Getting deep vision inside the Mundo jungle is also very helpful. So we'll see what he elects to do the next time around.
Yeah, I was talking about tempo vibes and things like that in the previous series. This is just actual tempo that he's building up for himself. It's real. It is a thing. And FlyQuest are utilizing it very, very well. Even though it hasn't necessarily translated into any big advantages, they're starting to stack up these objectives.
Yeah, and they use that tempo to have Whippo actually go towards mid. He reset after clearing the wave and is heading mid to rotate the Azir already into the side lane, even before getting first item Nashers.
Oriana gets first rotate, but the Varus is nowhere near. I mean, Skewmon's happy with one. He doesn't have to overcommit to anything else. They've denied the 3 grubs, and so small advantage that G2 will be happy with.
I mean, we still get a Void Grub,
It's going to be
though.
both of them picked up, so
Like,
FlyQuest do
even though
grab themselves 2 points of that those
Yeah.
feats of strength, which is certainly a big deal. But not going to be upgrading the shoes just yet. Still need a couple of kills and a first turret. They do want to get there, or of course.
Don't they still get the Void Grub with just 2, and you get the feat?
Slowly pushing towards him.
Am I
He's a little bit
tripping?
behind in gold against Caps, given the wave state.
Maybe they
I
only
think he's
get
too
1.
upset about this situation
They just
right
keep
now.
changing it so much. I do get confused
This is so much
sometimes.
value for FlyQuest down here in the bottom side. And remember, Whippo, he proxied the wave, then reset, goes out towards mid. They rotate over.
They
towards
just get the
bottom
feat. It
from,
doesn't give them the
Azir that
void.
now waits out the
Void
teleport. His
might.
teleport timer is coming up as well.
Oh my goodness, so much money just going to the wayside. And they need money on Quad. Not only is he going to be the most consistent damage
Thank
that
you
they
so much
have,
for
but
the
also
8
this guy's
months
like
of
18 and
support.
6
Hope you're having a
on
beautiful
this
day
champion.
today.
This is one of the
Thank you for
Quad
supporting
champions.
this stream.
And we'll see whether they can get some value out of it. Dominus here in this mid lane as Caps is
Yeah,
in
it's
trouble.
getting bright and
Remember, no
early
flash
now
the
for
Oriana, but the
everybody.
shockwave is back off cooldown. And he creates enough distance to get Whippo away from him. Still the Crocodile's scary. Caps now going to deal with this wave underneath the turret.
Yeah, I always love trading ults like that aggressively in the wave because Whippo, he can trade the cooldown and push the wave and get another early 30 seconds to work with. He teleports back out actually to keep that tempo up and shove the next wave while Caps is going for his reset and then force the Caps teleport in answer.
And what's happened, it's like a 30 CS advantage. It's kind of massive as Quad throws out the Emperor's Divide, but Broken Blade gonna be feeling okay with the fact that he did get an R button just for a leap strike.
Yeah, is he feeling okay as far as the entire game though? He's
no.
Yeah, he's getting a spear in the face
The game
now.
started at 1 a.m.
Like, okay,
Luna.
well, the
1
Renekton
a.m.
and the gank,
PST.
that was painful, but the Azir as well, even pre-first item, already going to apply extra pressure, and so Broken Blade is the one trying to scrap together some extra money in this game and having a pretty rough go at it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the advantage of being against the Azir is the kill threat is a lot lower when playing against the Azir, especially
You've been
when
up
you know that
all
the
night,
gone, so
bestie.
the possibility of a gank from Inspired is
All
that
night.
much lower. They are going to face check into Inspire, though. Busio is right by his side. Looks like they're going to send Bwipo actually up to top lane, and now that Jax is going to have to run into this Renekton once more.
Oh, decent interruption. Magnet Storm does nothing.
Tough, Labrov.
Labrov is left looking a little silly after that one. Just really
Just
well
a little
played
bit.
defensively there by FlyQuest.
And that's a big ulti gone now for the Dragon spawning in 25, so if G2 want to fight it, it's going to be that much tougher.
Counter-Strike just avoided there by Bwipo pretty comfortably here, as we've got to teleport in
That's
just to get
so
the Nautilus
embarrassing.
back in action.
Preemptive vision here laid by Labrov, setting up for the dragon fight, just lighting up this jungle and the approach angles for FlyQuest.
Hansama gets flashed on here.
Okay,
does have to use
flash
his
from
but now he's
Hansama.
embarrassed with no flash.
We're burning a
He
lot
has
of
to touch.
flashes.
Lucio, good value trade right there for Nautilus. He's got point and click.
Yeah.
And Varus, wait a second. They do
I guess
stop the
mid lane
recall, so
flashes
they know
are back
Inspired
up.
is around here. FlyQuest.
Quad is going to have his ultimate very, very soon. But
Oh, we're
they know
giving
the
it.
timer, and it looks like G2 are just going to be able to burn this one down. So evening up the Dragons, grabbing themselves their first neutral objective of the game as well. And it's a Cloud Soul.
We just gave
Personal
it.
favorite, no bias, but Dancing Grenade doing a lot of work here, actually. As it's just a serrated Dirk. We're not quite at first items just yet. Masu here in this early to mid-game feeling all right on the Jhin.
So this side lane down there that has Azir in it, it's troublesome for G2 because Hansama no longer has flash, so that's kind of dangerous. Caps on Orianna is still pre-first item breakpoint because you have to start off with tier as well. And so you're facing this Nashor's Azir in the side lane, and that's just, it's so problematic. Broken Blade, meanwhile, as you can see on screen, they're going for the 2v1.
Yeah, Bwipo, this is going to be a difficult one to deal with, especially with the Brov turning up. That flash, not going to help, and Bwipo is going to be taken down.
Here we go.
It's a lot of money removed from the Rift.
The other side lane, though, is looking juicy. They just attack the other side laner, take down Bwipo for the free money.
The way you said the free money. I mean, it's much needed gold for Broken Blade. He has really been struggling, regardless of who he's been playing against in the side lane. In his attempt to push out the lane, though, Inspired is looking for a kill.
Yeah, Winter's Wrath does tag him, and there's not a lot of mana, but still.
Come on, hard steal.
That wave is now quite awkward once again, but Scumon's here to fix it.
Oh dear, throwing the first briefcase. As we've got a bit of a problem for Caps as the depth charge comes through, flash comes down, but the answering anchor is fantastic. Busio will be traded though, gorgeously played by Caps to make sure it's a 1-for-1.
And that is worth for FlyQuest for sure. They're going to push afterwards. How much? I mean, is he going to actually interrupt? Okay, he is. Quad could just go greed and farm another turret plate then.
See whether he does actually do that. He might also farm a Rel. Instead, he will settle for the plate.
And Caps doing the best of a bad situation, but it's FlyQuest that's continuing to mount leads where they can. That was one of the few areas that G2 had a pretty sizable gold advantage, but because of the sheer amount of time that Quad has been spending in a side lane, the fact that he's gotten himself another play and a kill has now swung the gold in his favor. And while it's still very even
Hey,
between the
Bwipo,
two
no more
mid
dying
laners,
for you,
can see that
babes.
it's just FlyQuest building advantages pretty much everywhere across the board.
And Bwipo's done a lot of it through minion waves. And, you know, all of his proxying has really benefited them.
Oh.
He's denying another
How did
bunch
she know?
of minions under this tower. He's
Like,
playing
she
the blocker
immediately
to
farsighted.
this lane. And that was like 2 full minion waves worth stacked up that he just denied.
Yeah, only one of them goes over as far as money.
He's been doing a fantastic job in this early game, and it all comes off the back of that gank from Inspired towards the bot side. The moment that he got a slight lead against Broken Blade, you just really see the power of this Renekton. He spikes so hard in that 1 to 2 item range where it feels like very few champions can really contest against him, and now Broken Blade is kind of forced to go up against the Azir once again.
Masu might need to make a bit of a break for it here in this mid lane, but does have Ghost Blade and Swifties. It's going to be very hard to stick on
I think
top
we're
of
going to
him.
fight for Herald.
Scumon's health bar is starting to look very, very large, as we can see.
We don't
Inspired
have
in the area,
TP advantage,
Glacial
though,
Prison
so
in
maybe we
hand.
shouldn't.
So we have a look at the comparison here between our top laners. Speaking of top laners, it's going to be Quad playing defensively here, getting rid of Broken Blade yet again, means Emperor's Divide is going to be off cooldown for any potential fights. As he
Quad.
just leaps back in once more. This is a little dicey. There's the counter-strike to come on through. Decent stun coming on in there as Broken Blade does at least get the flash out from Quad. And he makes it to the safety of his turret.
I do feel like Trinity Force on Jax is kind of the point at which Jax really starts to feel confident on a side lane, and that's what we're starting to see. Quad now has to be a lot more respectful.
You gain hyper awareness from trauma.
Exactly. It took him a while to get there, but he did in fact get there.
Yep, teleport is available here from Broken Blade, so it can be a 5v5. As there's the anchor connecting. Glacial Prison goes down as well. Decent chain CC as the shockwave is decent.
I would love it if we won this fight
it's
afterwards,
damage,
but
it's G2
I
coming
think
out on top.
they didn't realize we don't have TP advantage.
G2 get a massive fight around the Herald and secure the objective. Taking out the front line, securing the Herald. They've swung the momentum massively in their favor. Let's have a look back.
Yeah, FlyQuest, they make the call, hey, we don't have Quad joining because he's so low on Azir, but we're going to try and make a fast play.
And
so
he doesn't have TP.
But they couldn't quite do it.
We're not going to have him join because he can't even TP up.
Through that double front line
I called that there's no TP like a minute before it even happened.
Comes through, and
Masu
Masu will be able to nail it, evening out the kills. Still, that last play putting G2 back into touching distance once more.
I mean, FlyQuest don't waste any time. They get back out on the map.
Quad
they
didn't
find
have
a big pick, and now
TP.
Skewmon sets
Jax
aside
had
the bot.
TP.
Yeah, Quad actually grading a little bit to
And
make sure
Orianna was there. That means they have 5, bro.
There is a spell shield, and Skewmon says what? And once again, it is going to be Quad going down.
What the freaky is happening?
Beautifully played. They did manage to get the turret, of course. He kind of knew that he was going to be in a little bit of trouble. But good cleanup.
Yeah, G2, they use the Feats turret as like a little bait. So they know, okay, this guy is definitely going to stick around for the tower. Let's go trap him there. And so G2, they get a kill off of it. But that is going to be the Feats for FlyQuest.
It was a really nice interrupt from Lebrov as well, because it looked like Quad was going to get away to safety.
Not my wake-up alarm is going off.
So FlyQuest will hold on to the gold
It's
lead.
5:30, guys.
Look at the bottom of our screen. All of the gold lead really is sitting on Bwipo. And so far, in that last fight, he got shut down so quickly. Hans Summer's continuing to ramp up in terms of
5:30, everybody wake up.
Okay, we'll go
Time
down
to
as
start
the
our
minions
day.
do deal with it. Hans Summer holding Inspired in place as he procs that Blighted Quiver. Starting to do a fair bit of work here as 1.5 items are completed
Rise
for the
and
Varus.
grind.
The Dragon was started, but
Look
not
mid lane,
actually
look
committed
mid
to
lane.
just yet. It's exactly. Shockwave pulls Whippo back. Does have the dominance to get that extra health, but Caps, he will be able to push away this Renekton, and now without all of that power and money in this fight, it could be difficult here for FlyQuest as G2 still going to be pressured away, and it will be the Dragon going down. Whippo going to be stopped as well. That back not going to come through. We'll see whether they can get a dent onto this turret.
All right, so we got the drag. My bad, y'all. I just smacked my mic.
One, and this time the Magnustorm comes in. Whippo has to flash, gets himself out of there. Shelly gets a headache.
At least he
and we'll be
didn't
able to
die.
take this one down. Skewmon stands in front of the hook, and Busio has to cleanse, gets himself out of the way. Oh, the Empress Divine
Oh,
moves
they
Skewmon
actually
away from
killed
him,
the Mundo.
still able to get the kill, but now the
Okay,
curtains are being
Masu.
called. First
Land a
bullet, second
Masu.
bullet, third going to
Masu.
miss. The fourth one lands, but it's eaten by Lebrov, and he's going to be just fine. G2 limp away.
A crazy back and forth as Masu
The W's?
6-6.
The W's are eating. The ultis could use some work, but the W's are
Meanwhile,
eating.
on the top lane,
The W's
Broken
are
Blade
win-
was just
are
pushing. Normally that's Mundo's thing, but the fact that Broken Blade was able to get so much gold, he's going to go back to base, complete a massive item in the Sundered Sky. And it feels, and for the first time this game, G2 have swung the gold in their favor.
Yeah, with the secondary power there, that actually catches Broken Blade completely up. 2 items on Jax. Now he is an actual champion,
baked
an
potato
actual threat
salty?
here
That sounds
back in the
amazing.
game.
Make sure you dress it up.
G2's kind of scramble there around mid lane does allow him to do that because the rest of the 4 members of G2 have to take care of themselves.
I mean, this is quite a deep
Put a little
commitment.
salt,
They
a
think
little
they can
pepper,
catch
a little sour
Bwipo off
cream, a
guard, but
little
a nice
bacon.
flash from him gets him to safety.
A little butter.
Busio finds what I thought wasn't an ideal angle. I thought he'd overcommitted, but then Skewmon overcommits himself. Flashing in to get that kill was way too deep. Quad with a really
what's going on,
nice
Aiden? Thank you so much for the Twitch
ends up being a 1-for-1. And then FlyQuest chased
and the
down
2 months of support. I hope you're having a beautiful day today. So the first series of the day was a best of 3, and it was CFO versus HLE. HLE did 2-0. This is the second series of the day. It is G2 versus FlyQuest.
Every single
also
one of
a
these
best
games
of
has been
3,
too close.
and it is
Way
currently
too close.
1-1. So whoever wins this game wins the series and promotes out of Swiss stage into quarterfinals, which means a lot is on the line because whoever loses is officially up and at risk for elimination.
What's going on, but it is burning down so incredibly quickly. Mundo is very, very good at doing a lot of extra
Oh my
damage.
gosh, Lando, get to work. How far is the drive? Oh no, they got
Whippo taking a
Otacon.
fair bit of damage. This Broken Blade is now so dangerous, but Whippo still able to get that work done with this dominance. But
Okay,
it's in
cleanse.
fact the redemption that helps out. And down
Save
goes
Masu,
Quad as
let him
well.
auto,
And it
let him
looks like
auto.
FlyQuest not quite making
Save
this one
Masu,
happen
let him auto.
as G2 just moved forward. Mundo is indeed doing exactly what he pleases.
Inspired kind of
That
left
cleanse, that ain't
Masu
gonna
to
help
die.
your body, as Skumond does have a lot of paperwork to do, and he's in the way.
G2 win a massive fight around the Otacon, an objective that has become so
4
scary
dead.
in domestic
They
for
lose
throwing
Otacon.
games. G2 play flawlessly. Broken Blade finally gets revenge on the side lane.
Guys,
The
I
mid
think
tower
we're
is
going to be
gonna
up
fall,
for
and this game
elimination
is
after
getting
this
out
game.
of control as G2 grow the gold lead.
G2 just take over at the Otacon, grabbing it and all of this gold. What a massive, massive swing.
This is pretty amazing. We have to remember as well, this game, you go to top 8, and it was looking like FlyQuest had a fair bit of control. You know, that slow but steady in game number 1, the answer back from G2 in game 2, but this is the first decisive lead we found coming out of the mid game.
Jhin versus Tanks is so diabolical. Like, why are we not Vayne? Why are we not Kog'Maw? Why are we not Jinx?
Let's get back to live.
Yeah, we got another
I
battle
need an
here.
answer,
Broken Blade will find
and
another counter
quickly.
strike. It only hits onto 1, but it's so difficult to kill this. Jax, he just dives on top of Masu. I think he's gone too far though. Does get the redemption, and what the heck is this? Jax still gets shut down. And that was looking frightening, and he was very alone.
Shutdown on Jhin
Broken Blade
is good.
showcasing his comfort on the champion. Definitely a little too comfortable as he dived into many members of
ISO
FlyQuest, ends
was
up trading his
open.
life for Busio, which debatable if that was really worth it. But right now, we set our sights on the next objective. Dragon spawning 35 seconds away. FlyQuest, if they can get that objective, they can put themselves on soul point. They still have avenues to turn this game around, and it's important to remember, with Quad in the position that he's in, there are ways for
It's
FlyQuest to
1-1
still
right
win
now,
these
Dan.
fights.
Again,
So
props
whoever
to
wins
G2
this
because for a lot of
advances.
the objective fights from the previous game, we had seen FlyQuest having way better setup, being there ahead of time. But this time around, G2, they pulled the trigger so quickly that the front lines wasn't set for FlyQuest. Now going for a little exchange as well.
Yeah, looking for a little bit of an angle, but no full commitment onto any of these fights. Skumon just standing in that front line. There's the flash forward, and where did he go? Masu just explodes thanks to the shockwave, and now an exhausted Quad is just going to fly his way out. But now, without their Jhin, this should mean that G2 can get themselves this Dragon that has just cropped up to even the scoreline there, even able to deny some backs.
The combo is clean, and G2 are playing with confidence. It feels like this game is slipping so far away from FlyQuest. Their options are becoming limited, and the first question they ask is how do they get through this Skumon? But Masu, he barely steps up. Labrov sees the angle, Caps is quick to follow up, and it ends up being a one-shot.
Yeah, don't think there's much outplaying that one.
Yeah, nice arrow from Hans right at the beginning too. Everything hitting at once. Masu down, and G2 are primed to make it into quarterfinals, and they're doing it with Skumond on his Mundo. Well, the rest of the team here going at Busio again.
Yeah, looking for a bit of an angle there, but Leap Strike does get Broken Blade over the wall. They will be okay, as never mind. Inspired, looking for an angle. Deadly Flourish comes down. Another curtain call to come in here as Skumon flashes himself away. Busio's dead once again, though. The last bullet not quite enough, but Quad does have the follow-up damage. It's a trade of supports. For now, the flash forward from Inspired. He thinks he's found the angle.
Impress me.
Just flashes on top. Hans is going to fall down for the first time in this game, and now this Crocodile is doing what he wants instead of the Mundo as they escort G2 out of the river.
FlyQuest are fighting back. They flash, they get the kills onto Hansama. 2 down though is not enough to rush an early game Baron. So
why are both squishies on the left and away from the front line? Answer me, Chum, bestie.
G2 only have 3 members alive.
Skewmond is going to come over here as, yeah, if Quad's doing damage to this, it's going down very, very quickly. And so is Skewmond, as we can see here. He's just a health bar.
Because, you know, Jin just does Baron just so fast. Just so fast.
Here, but this Baron is going down so incredibly quickly. They have vision, but they have no one in the area. And it's FlyQuest that take the first Baron.
And they actually get out. It is enough to get the Baron.
We're still in this.
This game is going to be a banger.
By the grace of God.
FlyQuest find a way
By the
to
grace
fight
of God.
back. They find an important pick in their topside jungle. They force the fight. They're forcing G2 to retreat, but they overstay their welcome.
By the grace of God.
As you can see Hansam on the right-hand side of your screen, he's thinking, how do I get involved in this fight? He steps up towards the rest of the team. Busio drops initially, but a nice fourth shot connects onto Lebrov.
Not
Quad feels like he has the damage,
allegations.
and with Bwipo coming in from the flank, great target focus on Hansam means that he is shut down, and a Baron opens up.
Critically, both Inspired and Bwipo have flashes.
Wait, Jin is actually the fastest to clear Baron? Is he actually?
Take down the on-hit Varus.
It's not
enough to keep them in the
Jinx,
game
Vayne,
with a Baron.
Kog'Maw?
And you can see the win
Kaisa?
expectancy is looking right in the middle at
That
this
man
point,
did Baron
even though it
so
has been
slow.
looking a little like a heart monitor this game.
Los Ratones is
As you
not
said,
at
Cody,
Worlds.
We might be in for a bit of a banger here as FlyQuest, with this Baron, what can they actually get?
I will say, too, even though the gold is much closer now, G2 had the Otacon, and so with all of the kills that have gone on this game, look at the flower petal difference. 38 over on G2 to the single petal that FlyQuest were able to grab early on in the game. That is a massive gold difference in just pure stats that you're getting, as well as experience.
Ultimately, though,
I was about to say,
has
like,
put
there's
himself
just
in
no
such a
way.
Fantastic position. He's about to take over to level 16. Inspired is in the area to cover as G2 know the threat. They want to eliminate it. But Quad will get away to
My
safety.
boyfriend's a
There
Jin
is
main,
that
and
level
even
16.
he's like, hey, you know Jin takes Baron terribly, right? No,
I can
truly.
actually have a quick look. He is 200 gold off it.
Slowest Baron possible.
Like, do you see that damage just from one soldier auto attack onto Skewmond?
Oh, yeah.
He's built, you know, 3 items already, but still this Azir is doing so much work.
This game could still very much go either way. The Baron has bought a lot of time for FlyQuest to hook.
Yeah, hook to come on through there as Busio starts off the fight. Glacial Prison is good as well to hold down this front line. The last bullet this time is not going to land. As we have fights on multiple fronts, the counter-strike
He stopped the TP.
Will be able to get himself to relative safety. Now it's G2 trying to turn this one around because Bwipo is so much of what allows FlyQuest to win these fights, and he was denied.
FlyQuest try and engage on Skewmond and Lebrov, and they get neither of them. Lebrov gets the counter engage. They turn back around. Hansama hit the Varus ultimate onto Quad, and they kill the Azir, the heart of the FlyQuest comp.
The problem for G2 is there's no objective for them to really convert it into. A siege isn't easy as long as FlyQuest still hold on to the Baron. There's no Dragon available just yet, and both Quad and Busio will be back alive ahead of the Cloud Dragon spawning. Means that FlyQuest continue to buy a little bit of time. It's a mistake that's not going to cost them too much, except a little bit of gold. And as I mentioned, there's that death cap now available for caps.
And it basically cost them their entire Rebel Baron power play. Like, it was 300 at the end, and that is not very much in the grand scheme of things. But still, just nullifying, that does put G2 back in a decent advantage. And now Soul Point on the line. Cloud Soul could be a big deal for either of these teams. And man, this goes down fast. 3 items now completed here for Hansama.
All right,
with this
now.
one-hit Varus build. And I was thinking like it was going to be dangerous because you saw what happened. It's just a flash forward from the Crocodile, and Hans dies if he doesn't have the cleanse. And so it can be dangerous, but the way they've navigated around him, if he lands the Chains of Corruption, there is definitely some angles.
Yep, definitely true. Quad still has flash for the next play, so there's possibilities of big Azir moments, but this Mundo is fully scaled here. 3 items plus for Skewmond. Large gold lead to him, you know, on a champion that he just jumped on so early on and really put a lot of work into.
It's such a tense game state. Europe, they can see a quarterfinals in their eyes, and it's been so long since we've been there. But North America wanting to shut that down. FlyQuest have fought back valiantly, and they are by no
FlyQuest
means
is the
out of
NA
this
team,
game
the
just
people
yet.
on the left.
The Infinity Edge
blue
finish
side.
for Marsu could be such a massive item break point for him. He's isolated in the mid lane. He will respect the engage possibility. A quarterfinal spot. The Baron spawning a minute away. We are getting to the late game. and it's all going to come down to a massive team fight.
The tension is building here. A full minute away. The vision work needs to be done early, though. We have seen the impact of these engages, especially from this rel. Labrov got multiple big ones on Masu in the mid lane.
I'm terrified, bro. I'm terrified. This next team fight is gonna basically decide the game. I feel like
Baron arrival. 47 seconds here, and
this next team fight is going to decide the game.
It is dangerous for FlyQuest.
They have one flank wall, which is kind of interesting, but you can see Caps may have found Inspired. He just Arctic Assaults over the wall.
Took very little damage.
Got a Kennick Rooker.
Yeah.
So I don't think Caps even broke through his shield. One tanky Sejuani. Both the front lines on both sides are very scary. Quad's going to be the individual responsible for melting those tanks. For Hans Sama, he's going to be the guy for G2. And obviously these are both the targets for either side.
The Baron is up basically now. 5 seconds time, and that one will get there. And so G2.
They have so much vision control on top side of the map.
And they might be able to start this one up. We'll just have to see. As Whippo in position on this blast cone, they do get an engage onto Inspired.
Protect your carries.
And Broken Blade with that flank angle is
Protect
spotted.
your carries.
Thankfully there for FlyQuest fans.
Whippo, though, he's sitting on a control ward. They haven't seen him come through. They're trying to ward for the flank, but they don't know where he is. Hans has to be extremely careful because Whippo could be the game changer. It's Broken Blade.
If Hans Sama dies,
top laners with their flanks could be the thing that defines
look
the
at
game.
the top laners, bro.
Flank is going to work out.
Look at the top laners.
Finding the priority
both
target,
looking for the flank.
Instead, as Labrov gets into that brush, clears out the control ward. And G2 now with the upper hand.
Both of them on opposite sides of the map.
Again, Whippo slices to get out of there, and Quad has to get out as well. Boostio starting off the fight, gets the double knockup, but Skewmon is so tanky.
Okay, Mundo's dead, Mundo's dead, Mundo's dead, Mundo's dead.
To back, as now Broken Blade with the counter strike is going to be able to help take
Can we finish it? Can we finish the drill? Huge ulti onto Masu. Or not Masu, onto Busio. Come on, you gotta land these, Masu. There you go. Finish it, finish it.
To slow down Labrov. G2 still with some players alive, but these health bars are so low, and FlyQuest come out on top.
And Skewmon goes down without activating his ultimate. He just gets popped in the CC.
Just absolutely
they turn on Baron.
dookied.
A second Baron, almost like back-to-back after it spawned.
It's almost like Jin has the slowest Baron in history.
Get another go with the Rebel Baron power play.
That is absolutely insane. The fact that Skewmon died so quickly, the front line just disappears. Broken Blade threatening the flank. It looked like that he was going to commit onto Mazu, but he didn't want to go in too deep. Whippo takes a chunk of damage right at the start of the fight. Look at the positioning of Broken Blade. A hook and great ulti comes in from Busio to buy some time. The shockwave is held onto, and the ulti connects on the quad, but then it's not followed up on. G2 turn their attention onto Whippo, thinking they can get the damage down.
This right here, the Labrov,
but it's not
the Labrov engage scared the frick out of me. But luckily Jin was safe. I thought Jin was in there, but it was Busio.
Just gorgeous from Quad. We're right into another team fight as now Whippo having to use that Q to try and get his health bar back, but Hans Sama's just going to shut him down. The Deadly Flourish as well is trying to...
Oh, that's game.
Is gigantic.
Oh, that's game.
Will go down. The Azir is taken as well.
Lost.
G2 straight out of the replay, straight putting
we lost.
into the death chamber.
Caps goes on a rampage. He finds such a huge shockwave with the help of Labrov. G2 may well have done it.
What the
There's only Inspired left to try and defend the base, but after 3 long
Inspired's
years,
trying to stall, but he can't stall 20-second death timers, man.
Like it was going to happen again. It was going to look like North America could deny them one more time, but it's the top 8 in the eyes of G2 as they look to take down these Nexus turrets. The Nexus, the next to go down, and the Baron curse for North America is their bane, and G2 say thank you very much.
Caps, the Western Goat, finds the shockwave to take down FlyQuest.
Oh my God!
I need to know what happened before that fight.
Stressful fight.
The lead up to that fight, yeah.
Yeah. How did we get to that position? Because it felt like FlyQuest had, you know, it was a beautiful Baron, but maybe the analyst test will have more answers than us, because that game was insane. Take it away.
They made it. It's been so many years, and G2 is finally back in the top 8 at the World Championship after falling to NRG in 2023 at the start of the Swiss stage, into not being able to make it after losing the FlyQuest this year also already at MSI. The fact that they needed to put it all on the line, the fact that they lost 2 Barons, the fact that they stared death in the eye, and Cap said, not today.
I am shaking. The fact that that game was so incredibly close. We come back after one huge team fight win for FlyQuest, and I'm looking at Skewmon in that player cam and going, "Oh my God, is this the moment?"
Can we get a replay?
To G2 finding the fight that they needed to carry.
Bro, we could have been in quarterfinals.
Yeah,
like, there's no reason that we should have lost today.
I thought that might have been, you know, the throw that actually cost them the game.
There's no reason we should have lost today.
Massive shockwave on that re-engage from G2 in that final fight. They completely wiped FlyQuest, and honestly, congratulations. Like, this is the first time finally Europe has made it out of Swiss stage. It's got to feel so good for G2.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Isel, that I'm being so excited, but it is, very cathartic.
You never have to apologize for that. Like, that is the beauty of sport, of esports, is like the joy of victory and the agony of defeat, right? Like, you have to have both.
And can I say, I think we both felt the joy of victory and the despair of defeat at many different times in that game. That was one hell of a final game, you know. Where do you think FlyQuest left it? Of course, that shockwave.
Because they did put up a fight, yeah. Azale is such a good sport.
I think some misexecution in some of the team fights. I also, you know, really just felt like I didn't love the draft. Like, it was so on quad, I think, to be,
so what happened here? Okay, so not this fight, but the fight that happened immediately after. What happened? Like, I want to know what led up to this moment.
It's so hard to actually get through the front line. Once they hit the later stages of the game, FlyQuest should
How did Bwipo get caught?
And I think G2, you know, just played it out better, played towards their comp strengths in the late game.
Like, I need to know, like,
members that stood out to me individually. I think there was
like, they didn't even show it.
Best of series overall, but was so clutch when it came to those sniping quad in those fights with the shockwave. We saw it over and over where he just managed to pick him off. But also Lebrov, back on comfort on the rel. His engages, even when the team got caught, the flash in, finding multiple people, it set up G2 for so many of these fights.
And this is what I like to see in the way that they're qualifying, right? Because this was a hard opponent to beat, a very hard one that you couldn't even beat at MSI a couple of months ago. And that I think speaks to the growth specifically of Lebrov and Skewmon. Also to go for this window, it's been like 13 years since we've seen that. So it's at Worlds, I gotta say. At Worlds.
Because it has been a bit of a Skewmon BB special, and Skewmon has looked really strong in the LEC. He finds these moments where it's very difficult to try and take it down, and it just means that it's kind of that pocket pick specialty that we know for G2 for.
Skewmon is our Oppo player of the series. I just have to tag off there.
No, absolutely. I mean, congratulations to him. And I just feel like this is something we talked about, you know, before this series started, where this is something that I was worried about G2, their creativity in drafting, right? Like, I felt like it was a similar advantage that they gained against BLG when they brought out the Poppy and Nivea. I felt very similar about this draft coming into it. Like, you can attest that after the draft, I was quite 100%. Concerned about their ability to actually deal with that front line. And Mundo is a genuine flex here. Like, it could have gone top. It's a great matchup into the Renekton as well. You can
I really wish they would show what happened.
In jungle, you can kind of free farm, and as long as FlyQuest wasn't really able to push the pace,
because we were coming back.
The harsh reality is Quad just didn't play well enough to be able to actually get the job done in this final game. Skewmon was farming. He was big in the fights, but I think for me, it was more about, you know, his Trundle game, and I think that's what really is kind of pushing him over the edge for player of the series.
But it's not only just this series. Again, like, I want to echo what Shox was saying. It's the fact that this has been this year-long growth for this man to find a way he can integrate with the team, how he can work on, hey, I'm going to farm up a little bit in the early game, but how can we enable him when it gets to these mid-game points? And you get to see picks like this Mundo, where he's able to pop off
FlyQuest
those resources
being our #1 seed.
We'll have to ask them, of course. I think Broken Blade is coming up as well, because for me, it was always, you know, the management makes decisions because they stand behind them and they believe in the players that they field. And those players,
they really did picture-in-picture during replay.
Really lived up to that expectation, right? But I feel like that finals in Madrid possibly did unlock a little something in them where they could turn that switch. And as we all know, Azale, momentum is very
They
important.
said that Quad wasn't able to do enough to win this game.
Yeah,
Literally
absolutely.
most
And, I mean,
damage in the entire game.
People's years are distilled down to like a couple games,
yeah.
right? You know,
FlyQuest was coming back.
A bad team is often down to a couple key moments, and
that's what they said. They said that Quad wasn't doing enough.
Is such a big part of it. It's really about having that belief in yourself and being able to get it done when it matters most.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what has been exemplified on G2. The fact that we can have these players that had struggled over the course of the year now show up on an international stage. And it's no longer about
me coming into Worlds, like,
your home and find that
hoping that
it's being able to
NA
show up and show
would
your
like
best on that international stage, and finally, after so long,
not troll
make it back to that playoff
the
stage.
nation.
Welcome, Blade. Welcome to the desk. Congratulations. Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You know what, man? You don't have to apologize. You played great. Congrats. I'm really happy for you guys. It's a well-deserved win. And I tried to bribe
Yo,
him
they need to move the box or something.
He turned me down.
Put him in the middle.
I thought I convinced him for sure.
Hey, Broccoli,
and get him away from the
tell us
6'3" Azale.
Specifically game 3 where you go for
Like,
the comfort pick, then you get solo killed early.
This is diabolical.
No, they ganked you.
It's jungle diff. What are you talking about?
I mean, the game 3 was definitely the most intense. Probably
How
also
tall
the
is
most fun
he?
to watch.
Yeah.
A lot of back and forth. When Mundo got one shot on the mid-wave, I was like, oh shit, you know, it's like, what's going on? Are we going to win?
Is
but
Broken
we found
Blade?
a very nice combo in the end. It was beautiful to see. I think it's very important to stay calm. Flag was actually a team that they will just spit on you if you let them.
Yeah.
Like they play very fearless, very aggressive, and I think that's why game 1 was very hard for us. I think they played great. But yeah, game 3 was very, very cool. I think we just outscaled them, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, what do you think that difference was between MSI and now that you could actually find that break point to actually take down FlyQuest here?
I mean, I think we just worked on each other, you know. Like I think many teams fail when things
I like
go
his glasses.
south, and I think we use that very well. Very, very happy. It's my first time making it out.
Congratulations, man.
After 5 tries.
Yeah.
5 times the charm, they say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And EU's first time making it out of Swiss?
Yeah, ever.
That's a big dub.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, actually. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Believable. But
Talk to me about the draft a little bit, because like coming out of draft, you know, I was thinking from the G2 perspective, you guys just have to play a slow, controlled game, and like Jin is really going to struggle to actually punch through your front line. So
He's
it kind of becomes
5'4".
all about Azir. You know, was the thought process to kind of like put pressure on Azir, make sure he's not comfortable, and then you guys can kind of just like win out the fights?
I mean, exactly as you said, Ori is strong in the early game against Azir, so we put some...
No, the angle is diabolical.
One time to a gank where I got put really far behind, then I had to lane against the mid laner, which also was really hard for me. But if the Azir, I think it's all on Azir in this draft. I think Jin is like facilitating Azir as well. But once they don't find the engage, once we find the engage, it's very hard for him to play, I think. I think up until level 16, Mundo is killable, and then once it hits 16, it's like a bit hard, to be honest. And I have Jax with the E, and Jin only has 4 auto attacks, so it's a bit hard for him.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about an insight into your psyche, rather, because we've been following your story in EU this year, where you felt, I've not really played the way I want to play, and I feel like the Jax pick in this game 3, but also your game versus Bin, like how are you feeling?
Both NA teams are up for elimination now.
I mean, I have my confidence back,
and
that is because of how much preparation and work I've put into my play. I think there has been a lot of international tournaments where I haven't performed very well, and I wasn't proud of myself. Reflecting on it, and I think this time
I think he's also Turkish.
Because I prepared more.
It says he's also
so
Turkish.
I'm very happy right now, to be honest, but I will take things step by step.
Yeah.
Next opponent, I don't know who it is yet, but
he's a little cutie patootie for sure.
I want Genji.
Whoa!
Oh. I want Genji.
Okay.
That'd be a banger.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how it feels to
Why
kind
does he want to play against Genji to get
because I feel
immediately
like
eliminated?
Talking to my EU compatriots here, and a lot of EU fans and stuff, everyone is like Fnatic screwed, MKOI's screwed.
Whoa!
G2's
Don't put words in my mouth.
Well, not you guys, but just the fans in general. A lot of people have really kind of put it all on G2 has to do it. Like, do you guys feel that external pressure? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Because it's kind of like I feel like the public expectation
ahead,
is
let
it's
him have
G2 or
GG.
bust. So you got a good draw. You got
Lyquest has one more chance.
You have to win.
But they have to win.
Every year I was in G2. It was always G2 or bust, but we always busted anyway. Which I was very sad about that for the fans as well, especially because the fans will lose hope at some point. It is natural if you don't make it. If you don't make it, now we made it. So now the hope. You remember my saying, as long as there's delusion, there's hope. The delusion is very high right now, I'm sure, for a lot of people. So a lot of hope as well. I hope.
No, this was an elimination. It was a promotion match.
Yeah, I mean, it feels amazing. You know, I mean, obviously, if everyone puts your trust in you, it just feels great, especially if you can back it up.
I never doubted you.
I mean, I've got so
Maybe
much
a little in game one.
I've got so much respect for the fact that you're saying it's like this is your 5th try and you're finally making it out. So many pros don't even have a career where they get, you know, multiple opportunities. So to be able to actually keep at it, like that has to just be on a personal level, so gratifying.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first time I came in with TSM. I was playing for the NA region.
Back when you were playing for the good guys.
also busted 0-6.
How could you?
0-6.
But I'm a very different player and human. I learned a lot thanks to my previous teammates, current teammates.
Correct, JT.
In the casters, man.
T1,
what did you learn
100 Thieves, CLG, VKS.
We got a lot of insight going on. Anyways,
what not to do.
We don't want to disclose that. But yeah, I was happy. I was happy we won.
Yeah. Well,
very exciting.
It's super exciting. From all of us, we're really happy that we don't have to listen to it one more year. Best in the West.
I just don't understand what happened with Blippo, and they still haven't shown it.
In a few. Well, after all the games in 2 days, right? I don't know. There you go. We'll let you go, Broken Blade. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, wonderful performance for BB, as we see the stats also over there, and just really good from G2 overall. But where there are victors, there are also people who come out on the flip side of the coin, and Dracos is now standing by with Inspired for thoughts on that series, or sitting rather.
Thank you very much, Shox. I am joined by Inspired. I won't miss words, man. You look pissed off. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm very pissed off because it was 3-0 in my book. I feel like I don't understand how we could be losing games like that. It's just very disappointing. Yeah.
What do you actually like take from this? I know right now you're probably just angry, but what's the process for learning from this, for moving on? Because you're not out, right? It's not an elimination match.
Yeah. I mean, process. I don't know. Like our scrim's been really bad. But at the end of the day, I knew that laning phase doesn't matter as much on stage as it does in scrims, because in scrims we are usually falling behind very hard before 15 minutes, and the game is kind of hard to play. I think today it was pretty fine. I think even though we made some errors in lanes, I think it was not really that big of a difference and that big of a lead for enemy team, and I felt like our drafts actually made some sense, and I think we had a way better approach to what we wanted to do. And it seemed pretty free to play, honestly. I felt like whenever we're stepping somewhere, it felt easy. I'm not sure how is it possible that we lost. I guess during the game it just felt like we were driving the game and it felt fine, and then something random happens and the game becomes
what happened?
Lost. Yeah, it feels very weird because yeah, I don't know. It just didn't feel like we were meant to lose.
Do you have an idea of like what the focal point is then for that improvement? You're saying right now I don't know, but I can't tell if you mean I don't know, or I don't know, like I'm not trying to flame anybody, I'm not trying to get into it here.
I don't know. I think we are really impatient as a team. I think we were in a really good spot to play both games that we lost, and yeah, we just make mistakes out of nowhere because we are impatient when not much is happening. And I don't know if it comes from the fact that practice is going bad, and obviously if practice is going bad, you kind of feel like you need to do unnecessary stuff in order to win. But I think if you have that mentality, you are already a loser. Like, you shouldn't think that you have to do unnecessary stuff in order to win. I think you should keep calm in the game and just try to stick to the plan as you have as your team. To me, it seems like we have different plans and we are trying to do different things, and that's why we are not connected well together, I guess.
Last question about the series before we look forward a little bit. Game 3 especially. Felt like you guys were on the ropes. You mounted a huge comeback. You found a couple angles for good fights. and then kind of all came.
I wanted the interviewer to be like, "Who is we specifically?
What led to the initial comeback?
Who is we?
You found that creative angle with Whippo. You found this dive on.
What's name?
Felt like you rested it back in your hands.
Who makes up we?
In those kind of final moments to lead to some of the catches, some of those team fights that turned back against you.
I'm not sure, honestly. I don't remember that well right now. Felt like our champs were spiking really hard. That in mid game, I felt like we were in a really good position because I don't really think Mundo is a good champ in the jungle, especially if we are playing Azir mid. It felt like Quad did a really good job of not falling behind to caps. I think Alan did, Busio did so many good plays in order to put Azir in a good spot, and all we had to do was just group and play out the team fights well. But
I'm gonna have to go back and look at these eyebrows.
I'm not sure
that y'all are talking about.
What's the outlook coming in? You have a 2-2 matchup. There's a lot of potential opponents you could draw from. Is there
right, holy.
You want to face, or are you just mostly focused on recovering from this loss?
Honestly, I didn't really think about it yet because I wasn't expecting us to lose. Because I think GT is probably the weakest team that we could have faced. I think right now all the teams are gonna be stronger. So yeah, I don't really mind who we're gonna face. I think as long as we play better than we did now, we can win. But if we play to a similar level, I think it doesn't matter who we draw. We are gonna.
Thank you so much for the subscription, fam.
Right. Well, hoping that level steps up. Thanks for taking
Welcome
the time.
Welcome to the Mother Redacted Turnip Squad.
Appropriate word. You gave an interview anyway, so I really appreciate it. We're gonna send things back over to the desk.
I want to see these eyebrows that y'all are talking about.
Thank you very much, Drake Ghost, in the Verizon post-game interview. Very honest with Inspired there, and obviously.
I want to see these eyebrows that y'all are talking about. Let me go to the VOD.
Thank you very much, Shox. I am joined by Inspired. I won't miss words, man. You look pissed off. How you feeling?
Yeah. Even though we made some errors in lanes, I think it was not really. I guess during the game, it just felt like we were driving the game and it felt fine. And
where did he say it?
Something random happens and the game becomes lost. Yeah, it feels very weird because, yeah, I don't know. It just didn't feel like we were meant to lose.
Do you have an idea of like what the focal point is then for that improvement? You're saying right now I don't know, but I can't tell if you mean I don't know, or I don't know. Like I'm not trying to flame anybody. I'm not trying to get into it here.
I don't know. I think we are really impatient as a team. I think we were in a really good spot to play both games.
When he asked about the third game, okay.
And obviously practice unnecessary,
especially.
And we are trying to do different things, and that's why we are not connected well together, I guess.
Last question about the series before we look forward a little bit. Game 3 especially. Felt like you guys were on the ropes. You mounted a huge comeback. You found a couple angles for good fights. And then kind of all came crashing down once again. How do you reflect on that Game 3? What led to the initial comeback? You found that creative angle with Whippo. You found this dive onto Hansama. Felt like you rested it back in your hands. What went wrong in those kind of final moments to lead to some of the catches, some of those team fights that turned back against you?
He heard Whippo and he said, definitely eyes widened. Definitely.
Felt like you rested it back in your hands. What went wrong? And then once again, how do you reflect on that Game 3? What led to the initial comeback? You found that creative angle with Whippo. You found this dive onto Hansama. Felt like you
immediately, bro. Immediately it happened. What a involuntary response. Wow. The tongue in his cheek too.
Kind of all came crashing down once again. How do you reflect on that Game 3? What led to the initial comeback? You found that creative angle with Whippo. You found this dive onto Hansama. Felt like you rested it back in your hands. What went wrong in those kind of final moments to lead to some of the catches, some of those team fights?
I don't see the tongue in cheek, not gonna lie. Dang. That's crazy.
That turned back against you.
I'm not sure, honestly. I don't remember that well right now.
Also, I can just tell that he's like, bro, I don't want to answer these questions, bro.
You don't want to read too much.
I'm not trying to answer these questions, man.
But definitely, you know.
All right, guys. So this, what the freaky is happening? Okay. So this is where we're at. Anyone's Legends, KT, have automatically advanced. They went 3-0 in Swiss stage. Today, we saw G2 versus FlyQuest, with G2 being triumphant and moving on to quarterfinals alongside HLE for today when they beat CFO. Tomorrow, we will see Gen G versus Top Esports, as well as the third elimination match, which is MKOI versus TSW. If MKOI loses or TSW loses, they will go home. If whoever wins will not automatically advance, they still have to play. So they will be in the pool with FlyQuest as well as CFO, who have lost today. So FlyQuest is now 2-2. CFO is now 2-2. Whoever loses versus MKOI versus TSW will be 2-2 and be in that pool. We also will have to see BLG versus VKS and 100 Thieves versus T1. Whoever loses those games, automatically eliminated, they go home. But whoever wins does not automatically advance. They will join that 2-2 bubble and have to face either FlyQuest, CFO, whoever wins MKOI versus TW or TSW, and whoever wins BLG versus VKS and 100 Thieves versus T1. So that is who we are going to be seeing over the next couple of days. The games are going to be fire. Gen G versus Top Esports is definitely going to be a fire series tomorrow. Personally, I feel like that's the top team from LPL because BLG has had a horrible show of skill thus far. Gen G only dropping the one game versus anyone's Legend, which has led them to be in the 2-1 bracket, but still top team from LCK. So tomorrow, going to be a fire game. We're also going to see MKOI versus TSW. Now, MKOI, y'all know, has Jojo Pyun on it, a former NA player, as well as TSW got a player who loves to do some TikTok dances. Honestly, might root for him just for that. BLG versus VKS and 100 Thieves versus T1 is going to be taking place on Friday. Very, very good games going to be happening. Honestly, with the way that BLG has been playing, I do think that VKS has a chance. And I would honestly love to see VKS advance to the next round, just because so many people are doubting them. Y'all have seen Trimby be an absolute sweetheart, and you've seen Bull sometimes just putting it down in the top lane. I'd absolutely love to see them pop off. 100 Thieves versus T1. I might actually cry during Friday's best of 3. I do not want to see T1 get eliminated, and I do not want to see NA get eliminated. But if I had to choose one, I think I would root for T1. I'm not gonna lie. I can't sit here and say that I want to see a Worlds without T1 in it. If 100 Thieves advance to the next round, like, I just think they would get their cheeks taken. The only way I'd root for 100 Thieves is if they like actually curb stomped T1. That's the only way I would root for them, because I don't think they have what it takes to make it out of that 2-2 bracket. Like, I'm truly a doubter right now. But if they knocked out T1, I would root for them, because it would show like, oh, they're serious. Right now, I don't really know if they're serious. Who have they lost to though? They beat BLG. That's their one win, but they lost to, what was it? Gen G? Let's see. Who did they lose to? They lost to Top Esports, which is a pretty freaking hard team to go up against, and HLE. So both very hard teams. But if they're losing to them, granted, it's a best of 1, but if they're losing to them and those two teams are about to advance. HLE has already advanced. Top Esports might advance. Top Esports might be in this bottom 2-2 bracket if they lose to Gen G. So 100 Thieves might have to play them again. I don't know if they get repeats. Like, I don't know if that's not allowed or not. So if they're here, they might have to get their cheeks taken again. 100 Thieves is really going to have no repeats. Okay, so if no rematch is allowed, then that might actually be in their favor. Not gonna lie, that might actually be in their favor. Oh my gosh, what if it's FlyQuest versus 100 Thieves? That'd be insane. Regardless, the games, there's so many things that could happen. There's so much going on. You're definitely gonna want to be here. If you haven't heard the announcements for Bingo, Riot Games has expressed interest in sponsoring Bingo now. So from now on, we will be sponsored with Riot Games pricing for Bingo. One of the biggest things is, as y'all know, I like to start up Bingo an hour before the games start. So you can come in, you can get your Bingo card, and then you can leave if you want to, but make sure you're back before the first game starts, because I am locking all of the Bingo cards after the first champion select. So once I see Summoner's Rift, Bingo is closed. You must have your Bingo card before then. And that's when Bingo will officially start. The reason why you want to make sure you get your Bingo card is because League of Legends has stated they are supplying one Worlds 2025 box for a Bingo winner. So if you are able to complete Blackout Bingo, then you will be able to win a Worlds 2025 box. So shout out to Riot Games. There's a lot of goodies in there, so that's freaking fire. Make sure you're here tomorrow for Bingo. Make sure you're here to Friday for Bingo. There's so many days that you can win Bingo. All right, guys, I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow. I'm gonna go get some sleep. I love y'all so much. Until the next time, I wish you nothing but W's in your games, bountiful LP, and the lowest ping you could ever imagine. Good night. See you tomorrow.